And gang, have we got a show for you tonight?
Yes.
Recently, the White House have put out a January 6th page where it claims that the Democrats are the real insurrectionists. And it goes through a timeline of events that a lot of people contest. Dev and Destiny have agreed to take on all comers on this and to talk about whether or not it was appropriate for the White House to make these updates, whether these updates were accurate or not. And we have a whole host of people to talk about it with us, including Enrique Tarrio, Gibbs, we got Grid, we got Kung Fu Joe, all sorts of people. We're going to get into it. I guess, yeah, that's the first question for you guys, and we'll just kind of get into it. Was the White House's portrayal of January 6th on their website accurate? Why or why not? Anyone can start. Go ahead.
I guess just on some basic language stuff, can we all agree that Trump never, in any part of that ellipse speech, he never called for peace or told people to be peaceful. He never said any of those words because he used explicitly at least once, and he never explicitly said, "You guys need to be peaceful. You need to."
But like
go
Twitter
march
did
peaceful."
stop him from saying "be peaceful." As soon as he said we need to be peaceful, then they deleted his tweet, canceled his account, whatever, and made it impossible for him to actually proclaim "please go be peaceful." So that's one thing that I think we can agree happened.
Well, that's cool. So I'm going to ask my question again. So on this speech in the ellipse, the hour speech or whatever, he never told people to be peaceful. That was never a command he gave. That was never a thing that he explicitly said ever. That was just never a thing that was said. But for some reason, people repeat this. I just want to make sure we all agree on that at the ellipse speech, he never told people you need to be peaceful. You guys should be peaceful. He never said anything. He didn't say that.
Yeah, you're being really narrow with that. Yep, that's true.
Well, I mean, like afterwards, people went to the Capitol and they, at the very least, rioted, so they weren't peaceful. So yeah, I would like to. I think if we're going to make a
you're talking about his rhetoric, though.
Website,
You're changing the where we're looking. You're
well,
saying,
no,
this one part of the one speech that he gave this one day.
Are you asking if he said specifically the word peaceful? Like, are
no. If he told
nitpicking
people,
one word?
So on the WhiteHouse.gov website, they claim, they claim that. Hold on, let me look for it explicitly. So it says
just to the host. I'm sorry. To the host, I can cuss here, right? Is there certain words I can't say?
Just no, nothing that would get me demonetized.
No
so no
slurs,
F-slurs, no hard R's, nothing like that. Okay,
cool.
Okay.
So
other than that, I'll retard, fuck, all that shit. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
So on the White House website, it's Save America Rallies, their second timestamp. It says he stresses the need to fight for the country through strength and determination, explicitly calling for peaceful protest. I just want to be clear, that never happened. That part is a lie on the side. At the very least, we can agree.
So he never said the words peacefully and patriotically during that speech. Is that what?
No,
he never told people to go do that. He said that I know you'll go marching peacefully and patriotic or whatever, but he never explicitly said. He never called for. That was never explicitly called for.
That's super nuanced, dude. If he says like peacefully and patriotically, I think that's the key. And I think there was a lot of people, including myself, pissed off that day. And to kind of hit what the question for the host, for 4 years, we've been fed nothing but like bullshit and slop from the Biden administration about what happened on January 6th. Now that January 6ers are actually out, we get to say our piece, and I think people get to see both sides of the story, and they get to not make a binary choice. Maybe they agree with me on some things, maybe they agree with Destiny on other things, or other liberals. And I find it fascinating now that like we're nitpicking words when he's explicitly said that peacefully and patriotically make your way over to the Capitol, and then on top of that,
he didn't say that.
Somebody else went ahead.
I don't know if you know what explicitly means, but that
what he said.
One fact at a time.
Right.
Just one fact at a time.
So right? he goes ahead and on top of that, his tweets got deleted, and you silence the president of the United States right after that. I don't think it was ever his intention to tell anybody. I sat through courts through 6 months. I don't think at any point did he think people were going to storm into the Capitol and storm the building or do anything. I think he wanted people to protest outside. And as somebody that, again, was planning on being there.
I'm going to read the sentence here, okay? I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. He didn't tell them you need to be peaceful. You need to go and be peaceful. You need to go and not commit. He didn't explicitly say that ever. He just said, "I know you'll be
Looks
marching
like you're
over soon."
Well, who
completely full
cares?
of
Like,
something.
what is he? What is he supposed to
You
say?
can say it's not a
Hey,
big deal.
don't
You can
shoot!
say it's not a
Don't
big
shoot
deal.
it!
You can say it's not a big deal.
Don't
That's
do
fine.
this.
Can I give you the
guess
exact
I'm
quote?
negative.
Can I give you the
You can't prove a
hold on, one at a
negative.
time. One at a time. Destiny, finish your question. Then Enrique can answer it. And I know Tim wants in here too. Is that your name? I'm sorry, Tim.
Yeah.
The full quote is, at the ellipse, President Trump speaks to hundreds of thousands of supporters, detailing evidence of election fraud and urging the crowd to march to the Capitol to, quote, peacefully and patriotically make their voices heard, end quote. There is no urging the crowd there. He just says he'll know they'll do it. There is no urging. It's about an hour-long speech where he talks about voter fraud. He says we need to fight like hell or we're going to lose our country. He calls everybody in Congress weak. He's here to protest the results of the election. So I just think it's a little bit rich to pretend that there were explicit calls for peace in this. There wasn't. And this was like one thing he said almost at the beginning of the speech. Yeah.
Hey, every time you leave the house, like when you were a kid and you just got your driver's license, does your mom say, "Oh, don't crash"? Like it's retarded to even think that he has to say that every time that he comes out. He said, "You guys are going to peacefully and patriotically
every time he
march
comes out, but
towards."
maybe
So,
he
like,
should say it when
if
he's
we're
called
going
a
to
bunch
play
of
on
people for
words, I
Washington,
mean,
D.C. to protest the results of the election. Maybe that would be a good thing to say when he's kind of gotten everybody riled up and he's also saying you need to fight like hell or you're going to lose your country. Maybe it would be a good idea to really stress the peaceful part, especially considering what happened afterwards, right?
Like he did. He said, I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. That's his speech.
Yeah, that is a line that he said, yes. But
Isn't you saying he just didn't say don't be peaceful? He
I'm
says,
saying he
I know
didn't
everyone's going to be
explicitly call
peaceful.
to do it. And I would argue there's stronger calls for explicitly for violence when he says, and we fight like hell. And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore. That seems a little bit more of a command. And it's at the end of the speech as opposed to the other thing that was towards the beginning of the speech. It's an hour-long speech. I'm just saying there weren't all these explicit calls for peace. He didn't say, you guys need to remain peaceful. Nothing like that. He just said, I know you'll be marching over there peacefully and patriotically, make your voice heard. That's it. It's not a huge point. You don't lose the whole argument by giving this. I want to make sure we're all
do you think that he knew?
Hold on.
Do you think that he knew that he was that the crowd was going to peacefully and patriotically march over there? Like, he didn't give a marching order like, "Hey, go storm the Capitol. Hey, go stop the certification election." It's a self-fulfilling prophecy is what he's saying. Like, you don't expect the crowd. I didn't expect the crowd to do that. I know a lot of people, a lot of liberals think that I went over there to go stop the certification election. I wasn't going to do that. And I didn't need the president to tell me to be peaceful and patriotically. I was already both of those things.
Well, so you did know that the Capitol was going to be broken into. It had already happened by the time that speech was over, right? The Proud Boys had literally organized to do this. You guys were involved in breaking through all three of the outer barriers, and then finally with Dominic to break into the actual Capitol with the riot shield. So you did know that was going to happen in advance, right? You were in the Capitol the night before and you left because there was an arrest. So yeah.
I'll ask you, like I asked the prosecutors and defense team, what evidence do you have that I knew that was going to happen? Because you said it as an absolute. So what evidence do you have that I thought that was going to happen? Because my messages in court, even given by the prosecution, doesn't show that. It shows that I'm like, holy shit, this is happening. I probably, actually, as a matter of fact, Destiny, you probably found out about the storming of the Capitol before I did.
I thought that you were convicted for this. Didn't you lose in front of a jury on this?
If you consider a jury that during their questioning, right, and said that
I do. So we can vote. Yeah, I do consider that a legitimate jury. Yes, and you did.
Okay, yeah, you could consider it. But
so okay, so what's the
I mean, I
next
hope one day when you face any assault charges or anything or sexual assault charges that you're convicted of a jury that hates your guts. Then they put me in the jury because the first thing I'm going to do is find you guilty.
Okay. I want to hear from some other people here. I want to hear from
Just
Tim.
to be clear, also real quick. So everything in the indictment, all of your messages about your plans.
What
to
messages? Can you point one message? Just show me one message, please.
Do you want me to read down the indictment to have you reject?
I mean,
yes,
please.
Is that what you
go
want?
Ahead. We got all night here.
While he's getting that up,
I don't got nothing to do here, bro.
While
if you want to look at the indictment, go ahead.
Yeah, while he's getting that up, I do want to hear from some other people in the crowd. I want to hear from Tim.
Yeah, tell me about my 6-month trial.
Right,
I'd love
and
for you
we'll
to
get
be a
into
professional.
there, right? So go ahead, Tim, then Dev, and then we'll get you Kung Fu Joe and Gibbs and Grit. Go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted clarification. The first thing I was going to do was with the speech, because that was the prelude to this. But Destiny, I think he wanted to limit it to specifically saying, for after the fact. But I mean, are we ignoring the tweets that he gave at 2:38 and 3:13? He specifically does use the words peaceful. He said, "Stay peaceful for the first one and remain peaceful, or peaceful for the second one." So what is the contention about the word peaceful and when it was used specifically?
Yeah, so he made those tweets when there was already violence breaking out. So when he says remain peaceful, that's nonsense. And people were begging him to call people to go home. So like people like Ashley Babbitt got killed because he refused to make that call for people to go home because he was hoping that Congress would break down and give in to the desire for him to have the vote switch.
Congress had already been removed at that point. So that's a stupid thing to say. You know better than that.
Yeah,
Did they
Congress
not
already
come
adjourned.
back that night?
Yeah, they came back later that night, but that
Yeah, so I think the
after
point
all
was
of the
that-
rioters had
yeah.
been removed, sir. I mean, that's a dumb
Yes,
thing to
that's
say.
correct. Yes, after they
That's a
removed the
dumb thing for
rioters,
you to
which people
say.
wanted to happen, they came back and they re-adjourned in order to finish the count. Correct. Thank you for doing the logical order of events. So Tario,
Oh,
when you
That's
were
not
saying
the
things,
hold on, but that
when you,
does
wait,
support
wait,
what
so
you
Tario,
said.
I just want to see.
Hold on.
I'm just checking to see if these messages are real. So when you posted a message that said "fuck unity, no quarter, raise the black flag," was that a message that you posted in a group chat
I
on November
posted
12th,
it on
2020?
social media, yeah, and I'm 100%. I said that I celebrated it.
Okay.
If I'm
When you
guilty of
said,
celebrating
if
it,
Biden
then
steals
yes,
this election,
and that was
the
in
Proud
social
Boys will be
media.
political prisoners. We won't go quietly. I promise. Is that a thing that you posted?
Yeah, that was in November.
Okay.
That was in November.
You need
Yes.
to remember we're at war with a virus, not with each other. No,
Yeah.
you need to remember the American people are at war with you. No Trump, no peace, no quarter. Right? These are your
When
messages,
when
right?
did those tweets? When did those tweets happen? Remind me when those tweets happened.
In November of
It
2020.
was in November of 2020. Was January 6th an event? Did it
Was
even
January
get? Did it
6th
even?
an event?
Did January 6th? The event at January 6th. Did that ever get announced before November of 2020? Can you tell me the day that it got announced that was going to be a rally?
I'm just making sure that that so far in the indictment you agree to
I'm
these.
just
You agree to
like,
these things, right?
unless I'm fucking Nostradamus and I know that some rally's going to happen in the future, do you expect me in November to be tweeting about some shit that I didn't even know was going to happen? An event that I didn't even know was going to happen.
We know that on January, I'm pretty sure the Electoral Count Act literally calls out the date of the certification of the election. So we all knew in advance.
That's December
when the
12th.
certification of
That's a month before I tweeted that. So yeah.
December
Wait, are
12th
we-
was on the election certification.
No,
I
go
thought it
ahead.
was January 6th.
automatically creating.
No,
a
it's not
nexus
January
between
6th. As a matter of fact, you got that
and the
wrong.
rally.
The certification of Congress, the
Yeah, just-
counting of it happens on December 12th.
Just real quick, I do want to make sure that Tim gets a chance to get in here. He's been
Okay,
trying.
sorry,
Go
Tim.
ahead. No, it's fine. Then Tim.
No,
and
it's
then
fine.
I want to hear from Dev. Go ahead.
Yeah, we knew when the certification was going to be, but that doesn't necessarily mean people knew that the rally was going to happen, in which case you still have to create the nexus between the rally and his supposed urging people to riot, which, that didn't actually happen. But I'm just trying to understand, you're dismissing the tweets that happened in after 2 o'clock and after 3 o'clock because they happened after the speech, but in the speech he also says peaceful, but you're saying he didn't direct people to be peaceful, he just acknowledged it. Isn't that inferred?
He should have told people to go home because it had already gotten violent.
So you're unhappy that he didn't say specific words?
No, he should. Well, at that point, people should have gone home. He should have said, "You need to leave." It wasn't peaceful. It was a riot at that point.
If he says
So
to
you wanted him
be peaceful,
the
that
initial contention, my understanding. I'm sorry,
you're,
Grid.
you're
I thought
like
the initial
beyond
contention-
splitting hairs.
I thought the
I'm
initial
not beyond
contention
splitting
was
hairs.
that
It's
he
very
didn't
easy.
do it.
So if there's a riot happening at the Capitol and you have the ability to tell your people to go home, you should probably tell your people to go home.
You wanted him to tell people to go home in the middle of the speech when he says to be peaceful.
You were just
Because I
talking about his
thought the
tweets that he
contention-
made hours later at 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock. Which one do you want to talk about?
But I thought you were complaining about the fact that he didn't direct people to be peaceful in the speech when he said, "I know you will be peaceful."
Well, yes,
So I
but that's
just wanna
because
clarify.
I'm just going through the whitehouse.gov J6 site
bunch
and I'm
of
going
stupid
through
thing
the
to argue about.
timeline on the claim thing, right? And the second claim for the Save America rally is President Trump delivers powerful speech. That was just the very first one I was looking at.
I don't even think it's.
I was starting with that one.
I don't even think it's worth getting in the weeds of what he
Okay,
said. He
that's
said
fine.
peacefully and patriotically. Like we don't need a 10-minute discussion on what those words mean and how he meant it.
Well, can
I
I?
mean,
He also did say, just to be clear, he said we have to fight like hell or we're going to lose our country, right?
Yeah.
How would you
Yeah,
describe the
I
events?
think so.
How would you
Yeah,
describe the
yeah.
events
Use the words
that
fight like
unfolded
hell all
agree.
day.
over the next 4 hours? How would you describe the events that unfolded? What did it seem was more happening? That people were fighting like hell because they thought they were going to lose their country, or that they were marching peacefully and patriotically?
Mostly
I think
that.
95% of the
Both things are true
people,
at the same
I
time.
believe 95% of the people that were there on J6, all they did was walk in. They didn't touch a fucking cop. They didn't break a window. They didn't do any of that. If you want to talk about the 5%, look, I don't agree. I don't agree with the assaults. I've said this. I said this on January 6th in the evening after seeing it. I said it on national television. I said it on CNN and I said it on Univision. I can't vibe with people assaulting police officers. I think that they should have been arrested. I don't think that the problem was, I still think that they should be pardoned, not for their actions, but because of how justice
Why do we care about
was
any of this? I don't know what we're
administered.
talking about now. This doesn't do anything.
Well, no, I
Enrique,
really don't care about you talking about
I heard that
the
you said
president's words.
95% were peaceful. So that means
95%
5%
were
were.
peaceful.
Okay, so then 5,000, 10,000 people were rioting then, if the president's own words are to be believed.
Is that the number of people? Do you
It was
believe
about
100,000
100,000
they say-
people there.
walked into the Capitol that day?
Yeah,
On
there was
the-
about 100,000 people, I believe, is the number of protesters.
On the site, they say hundreds of thousands, so 5,000 to 10,000 violent rioters.
No. I'm asking you, is that the number? Are you citing the number of people that went inside the Capitol or the number of people that attended the rally?
I'm giving what they had as attended the rally on the White House.
I'm not asking what they give you. I'm asking what you know.
I know that around 1,600 people were charged. I don't know how many people went into the building altogether. I don't have the count on that, so I don't know.
So you don't know what the 5? We could just say 5%. We don't got to go with the number because it wasn't tens of thousands of people that went in.
It could have been 1.5%, but it was a small number. I mean,
well, because only a small number of people even got to the building, right? That's how it works. Like in any riot, it's probably like 1 to 5% of people that are being violent, right?
There were probably thousands of people in the building. I was one of them, and like Enrique, I think this is, like you said. Well, I would say it's beside the point because if you want to address the violence, it happened in very select areas, and there was a context behind it, such as the Lower West Terrace Tunnel. It actually, one of the biggest reasons it wasn't an insurrection is that it got less violent when people got inside the building. If they were going to, become violent and overthrow the government, we would have been more violent in the building than out. But what you see is that when you review the video, it actually was at very select locations because people were incited. There were provocateurs. I agree with Enrique. Not everybody who was there was a good person.
Yeah, so to be clear, the incitement was you trying to break through where cops were. When people were inside the building, they weren't violent because they didn't even know what they were supposed to do.
What do you mean by you? What do you mean by you? Are you talking to me or are you talking to
the general you? Because he's talking about the protesters not being violent once they got inside the building because they didn't have much to be violent against because all of the Congress.
So you're agreeing with me and Tim and saying that some protesters were violent. Yeah, I agree with you. Some protesters were violent.
I never even
I
brought
believe
this
that
up.
they should. I believe that they should be arrested, and I believe that they
riot,
should have gotten some time in prison. Yes, I don't believe that they should have gotten 10, 20 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I do.
And I don't believe it's like you said.
Before anyone else goes, hold on, just real quick. Before anyone else goes, I do want to make sure that Dev gets a chance to have his say.
Okay,
and come in and give us what he's got. And I do see Gibbs, Kung Fu Joe over there, and we're gonna get you in here in a second. Dev, go ahead, give us what you think.
I've just been listening. This is kind of crazy. Just because I don't know who you are, the guy with the green background, but you were talking about Trump's tweets, and I mean, while the riot was happening, you expect a decent, competent, good leader to try to calm people down. That's what you expect them to say. But I mean, at 2:24 p.m., Donald Trump tweeted, "Mike Pence didn't have the courage to do what should have been done to protect our country and our Constitution, giving states a chance to certify a corrected set of facts, not the fraudulent or inaccurate ones which they were asked to previously certify." Now, that statement, is that going to calm people down or rile people up, do you think?
Well, I could tell you from my own experience, it didn't rile me up. I actually, at that point, wrongfully assumed when I read that tweet, I was already in the crypt.
Why is he answering from his own personal experience? What are we doing?
Because he was there.
I'm offering a perspective because I was asked, "What do you think?"
Okay, fair enough. How about everyone else's perspective then?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think most people.
You're asking to give other people's perspective that's not here.
He can give his own
perspective. That's kind of how reality works. We kind of speak for how we think people are generally like motivated by things or what might cause people to do things. Are we incapable here?
He's a people.
Here, you know what? I'm going to tell you exactly what people thought. I'm going to tell you exactly
how about let's not generalize to some bullshit. Just stay on the specific things.
No, I'm going to give you exactly what people thought.
And I'm going
to give you my specific thought.
That Pence had failed. What did Pence fail? What did that?
So anybody who thinks that the only reason, I think anybody who thinks that the only reason that people went into the Capitol is because Trump told them that the election was stolen is a retard. I think they weren't looking backwards. And it started with Hillary Clinton in September of 2016 calling
at the Capitol
Trump supporters as a basket of deplorables. Then you
in
take us off social
2016, how
media.
many people
Then
invaded
you
the
go ahead
Capitol?
and you
The answer is zero.
definance
The
us.
answer is
You
zero. Yeah,
deplatform
none.
us. You shut down our businesses during
It's zero.
COVID,
Yep,
right?
yeah.
You allow
Zero.
the summer of
Who
love
shut
to
down the
happen
businesses during
unchecked.
COVID? Wasn't Trump the president
And
for that? Who was
the
the
straw
president
that
for the
broke
summer
the
of love?
camel's
Wasn't Trump
back.
the
Okay.
president for that?
One at a
That is all.
time. One at
straw
a
that
time.
broke the
Hold on.
camel's
One at a
back
time. Both of you,
is
please. Let
somebody stole
Enrique
the
finish.
fucking election.
Yeah,
So
let
yeah, we
Enrique
were
finish.
pissed off about
Trump
a
tried
million
to, but he
fucking
failed.
things. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there's a
I
million things that we're pissed off about. It wasn't
So
just a
for
fucking
January
stolen
6th, why were people at the Capitol? What were they there for?
we were there to fucking peacefully protest
Who
the
called them
stolen
there?
election.
Who called them
Yeah.
there?
Hold on,
President
Destiny.
Trump called us
I need to
there.
ask
There
a
you go.
question.
At the ellipse.
I gotta
Thank
ask
you.
this. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because do you truly believe that people, absent Trump, absent his speech, that they wouldn't have been people like showing up angry at the Capitol that day? Is that your claim?
Absent him inviting them there? Nah, maybe 1,000, maybe, I don't know. If
Well,
that.
hold on. So you don't believe that there are other factors leading up to that day from the time of the election, not including Trump, that would have motivated enough angry people to show up that day?
Well, I can tell you what the other factors are. It's actually really easy. There was a whole bunch of people online who were posting. There's a whole bunch of people online.
No, hold on.
No. I'm going to
answer your question.
I'm going to answer you.
Please,
There's a whole bunch of people online who are posting about how Mike Pence has the power to send back the electors so that Trump can steal the election, and everyone was hyping themselves up for this bullshit. That's why you guys went there. It was retarded.
No. That's not the only thing I'm talking about. Like, I have a list of things that factually happened, and whether or not you can observe them through 2020, vision, like from now, doesn't matter because we had so little time to analyze these things. So, expanded mail-in voting due to COVID-19, late night vote count pauses and updates in key states, changes to the election procedures.
So every single
hold on. I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
They had their day in court. You lost on every single one of these.
Buddy.
All of them.
Did you not just
Every
hear
single
what
one.
I just said?
It's cute. He believes
not
in the
hear what I
justice
just
system.
said?
Have litigated all of these. You lost.
Hold on. No. That you obviously weren't listening. If you listen, you could hear me better. What I said was, what happened by the time January 6th rolled around, we didn't have the time and like 8 hours a day for years on end. No, we didn't have years you did. No, we didn't.
You did.
Between January 6th and the election, the determination of the election, how much time was there?
A few months, but there was enough time that almost every single
Hold
claim
on,
that
I'm not
Donald
even
Trump
done yet.
brought up in his speech had already been debunked thoroughly, and none of them,
hold on.
absolutely zero
I
of
would
them,
like to-
have held up today. So
No, that's
apparently
not
there was
true.
enough time.
Hold on. So like,
Democrats
completely true.
That's not true.
Democrats were saying that mail-in voting is the most unreliable form of voting. Democrats said that. That's something that's not going to change.
Well,
Who asked?
we sit here.
It doesn't have to do with anything. It's not relevant.
So the White House posted this
How is
thing.
it not relevant?
I want to hear from Gibbs. Gibbs,
Yeah,
go ahead.
so the White House posted this thing, and I really feel it's important that we kind of like analyze it in the 2026 light, actually. What did they say? It says, in truth, it was the Democrats who staged the real insurrection by certifying a fraud-ridden election, including widespread irregularities and weaponizing federal agencies, all right? So we're sitting and look at this. Now we're looking at right now what's happening.
Who are you even quoting? Wait, who was that even a quote from?
That is the White House page, whitehouse.gov, the whole thing that we're here. Y'all literally posted and said, this is what we're debating today. I don't know. Sorry, anyway.
What's the point?
Well, I would like to get to it. Thank you. 1 second, please. Anyway, and so when we look at it in 2026 and we see all the fraud and we see places like Minnesota where we now have evidence that 197 duplicate ballots were posted. Yes, we do. We do have that. It was just by the Congress just a couple days ago. Maybe keep up to date. We have that. We see evidence of the fraud. We see evidence of this NGOs paying for it. The Trump administration has been saying from day one when this went down that they're basically having some sort of system in place to rig the election. So they're the real insurrectionists by subverting the will of the voters, and that's what we're seeing has happened. They use the fraud system and they use the illegal voters, the duplicate voters.
They had 4 years to find it. Why did Trump not find it?
Oh yeah, because Biden's going to be investigating himself whenever he gets put in power, huh? Does that make sense? Give me a break. Come on, man.
No, Trump said there was rampant voter fraud in the 2016 election. He was in office for 4 years after. They found nothing. He put together a commission to find it. They found nothing.
Now we're finding all sorts of stuff, though. So crazy how it works now. Now we've cleaned up more stuff. Well, I'm talking about now, though. We can talk about 4 years ago. It's not mattering.
You weren't talking about now. You
I am talking
about
from
2016.
I just brought up the quote from today. From 3 days ago, I brought the quote. Hold on. The quote is from 3 days ago. You understand that, right? The quote I just read is from 3 days ago. You realize that, right?
I'm asking you, where is the evidence of the voter fraud? The rampant voter fraud in 2016.
But we literally have evidence right now that 197 duplicates votes were cast in Minnesota's election, and 137,000 is what it cost to beat him, right? And so, yeah, clearly something was going on when we have billions in fraud and 197,000 duplicate votes in a state where they won, and it's a state where, guess what? Timmy Walls was the VP candidate. Votes? Come on, bro. There's some kind of collusion here. That's the real insurrection.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, I am curious. Something Enrique said at the beginning of the show, that people have been fed a lie about January 6th. If you could have, if there is one lie you could point to that the Biden administration or the Democrats or whoever has been saying about January 6th, what would you say that lie is? And then we can see if Dev and Destiny, what they think about that. What do you think, Enrique?
So to say something that I don't want to argue about, but just saying it's an insurrection was all bullshit. But to be more specific, and specific to my case, that we decided to plan to commit an act of sedition, which is one step on the treason for people that don't know that, to overthrow by force the United States government is bullshit. And they ran with this narrative, and they ran with this Tom Clancy novel. Because if you read not only my indictment, if you sat through the 6 months of my trial and you read all the bullshit that went on in the trial and how they wanted to paint it, I think that's one of the biggest miscarriages of justice and the biggest miscarriage of a PR campaign by the DOJ. So much so that I think I'm happy that I got 22 years, because it opened people's eyes and was like, well, you know what? I don't like this guy, but he doesn't deserve 22 years because, you know, these facts are the case. And in my case, you know, we had FBI agents embedded within the group. We had CIs that were informing about the Proud Boys before January 6th and at January 6th. And not a single one of them did the prosecution put on the stand. So just to close up here, I think them blaming. Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm just closing up. But for the most part, I think the hold on a sec. Hey, dude. Hey. Let me finish. And then you can go ahead and do your own shit. Yeah, just mute yourself for a second. So check this out. So I think in closing, I think just the narrative that went behind this seditious conspiracy with the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers, it's bullshit. You want to get some of them. You want to get Dominic. Look, you want to get Dominic Pizzola for breaking a window. You could go ahead and break a window,
were the Proud Boys the ones that
and he'd be charged for it. You know what? I'm going to mute myself and I'm going to keep talking for a second.
So much
if you want to get Dominic Pizzola for breaking a window, then absolutely go ahead. He'll tell you himself that he shouldn't have broken a window. And I'm unmuting.
The Proud Boys were the ones that broke through initially, right? They were the first ones in, right?
No, they weren't the first ones to break in.
They weren't the first one. So there wasn't, let me just be clear. So there wasn't a group of about 100 Proud Boys while Trump was still speaking that made
there wasn't even 100 Proud. There wasn't even 100 Proud Boys in the ground on January 6th. So let's start with correction.
Okay. How many would you say there were? 52. 52. Okay.
Yes.
Was there a group of about 50 Proud Boys during Trump's speech that were already making their way to the Capitol that broke through the outer perimeter, then the second one, and then eventually broke through the window with the riot shield via Dominic? Was that all the Proud Boys?
No, apparently you don't know about the Dominic Pizzola. So we'll start with the Dominic Pizzola and work our way down. So with Dominic Pizzola, Dominic wasn't the one that initially broke the window, and he wasn't the last one to pull the window. He wasn't even the one that went in. He's just the one that conveniently he was not. That window was already broken. You want to pull up the video and take a look at the cracked window?
So
I welcome you to do so.
You said cracked window, so he's the one who broke through the window with the riot shield, the Proud Boy. Yeah.
He finished breaking. He didn't even finish breaking the window because the window was still not accessible, and somebody else pulled down the window. I go ahead and I challenge you and I say pull up the video and we could discuss Dominic Pizzola.
And if he wants to, we can. So my question is when you tweeted out that you were proud of my boys in my country, okay,
yes.
Don't fucking leave. What were you referring there? You tell me. When you said you
I was talking to the crowd. So let me listen. You could hit me for a lot of things, but the things that you're talking about, you can't. Right? I had direct communications with my guys via Telegram at the time. Right? So if I didn't want them to leave, why isn't there a message from me directly to them saying, don't fucking leave, just keep going? I put that message out on Parler, which is similar to Twitter, right, to the public. I was celebrating it. If that's what I'm guilty of, then fucking lock me away for 22 years. But how the fuck are you going to tell me for tweeting when you've tweeted so much fucking worse shit that you should probably be in prison for, right?
Yeah, that's right. Okay,
So
it was the Proud Boys who were in first, right? You were tweeting out, "I'm proud of my boys and my country. Don't fucking leave," right? And they've already broken in.
Yeah, we can clear that out of the thing.
Well, let Destiny finish now. Let Destiny finish.
So you knew that they were breaking in. You were proud of them for doing so.
I did not know they were breaking in.
Really,
I did not know they were breaking in.
Okay,
no, I didn't turn on the TV.
I didn't turn on the TV. I got the video. I got the video. You can look at it.
Can you send
it
to me and I can play it?
I've DM'd it to you. You can watch it.
Give me a second.
First guy goes by Red on Red Glasses. If you want to search the Sedition Hunter hashtag, it's an Indian-looking fella.
Okay,
Red on Red Glasses.
Second.
They throw a 2x4 through the window first.
We'll see it in a moment. Just gotta. I'm juggling.
I can also throw this out there. There have been many attempts to get information from the government about who these individuals are, and little effort by the prosecution to identify these people. So I know Dominic as well. I did time with him. So I know for a fact he wouldn't be capable of planning an insurrection.
Okay, it's about a minute-long video that we're going to watch. If you click on the watch stream, we can all watch.
Can we start with the windows broken?
Okay.
Can everybody see that? It's cracked.
Right there. Okay.
Yes,
let's
I see
keep
it.
watching.
Okay.
There's 2x4.
This one.
Transfer too.
I don't know if I could use this.
And I think that's Dominic that are going in fourth, right? But he's the guy holding the shield.
So this guy right here, he's Dominic?
Yep. And
that is Dominic Pizzola. Yes, that's correct.
Yep.
Yep.
One, two. Well, 1, 2.
If that guy could get over the fucking window.
2,
3,
3. He's
he's
4 or
definitely
5.
4 or 5. 4 or 5.
But
and I want to hear Destiny. I want to hear Destiny what Destiny has to say about this.
Just to be clear, he's absolutely breaking that window, right?
Yes.
He's absolutely no. Listen, Dominic will tell you himself he's breaking that window. But I'd love to hear Destiny's take on this. Now, do you feel like you're wrong about being the first?
I never said he was the first one in. I said that the Proud Boys were involved in
you
breaking
did.
into the
You did
Capitol
say
building.
that we were the first ones in.
I knew you guys were the first ones that broke through all the barriers, which is true. The outer perimeter, the second outer gate.
You want to go through the first one?
Here.
We could do this again. Because when we're talking about semantics, you want to talk about the president not saying a single word patriotically and peacefully and not directing people to be. But now here, you're not using semantics, right? So now,
I'm not using semantics. But was he a Proud Boy involved in breaking through the window for the first people to enter the building?
Yes, and I've never denied that.
Correct.
Dominic doesn't even deny that.
And this happened. This happened right after 2 o'clock. This happened before Trump was tweeting that you guys should remain peacefully, right?
About the first, second, and third breach. Go to the first breach. Was the Proud Boys the first ones to go through the first breach?
Do you have video you want to send me? Send it me to it. And we'll just watch it. Just like
he's the one. He's the one that has the burden of proof right now because he's making the claim. So I'd like him to put up the window.
That found you guilty and convicted you of seditious conspiracy, but
yeah, a bunch of fucking liberal DC liberal DC jury, of course. Again, I hope one day, whenever you face your charges for your sexual assault and all the weird fucking kinky shit that you do, I hope that the people on that jury hate your fucking guts and put you in prison. And I hope you rot there for 22 years. And I hope that you change your mind about everything, but I doubt it. And I hope you change your mind about the justice system because you're out here simping for the fucking justice system.
I'm not simping
and then
for the
now
justice
you have been simping for the justice system.
Human filth
simping
like you guys
for the justice system is saying,
you should be rotting under the jail.
Destiny Dev, please. Destiny and Dev, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, we all know that Newsom's going to pardon you anyway, Destiny, so it's fine.
True base, my thing.
Okay, so Dev, you showed us that video. What else are your thoughts here? And then I want to get.
Well, here I think Dev can take this response. But one guy was asking why were people at the White House or why were people at the Capitol? And he said there were multi-factors. They were there because Trump called them there.
They were there because they believe that 2020 was stolen from them, even though it wasn't. Even though Biden actually did win 2020.
Because Trump spread the lie. Yeah.
No, quite a few people, and I can name a myriad of them. Christina Kelso, Scott Fairland, many of them were there because they were angry about losing their businesses. And yeah, I mean, the election plays into that because they thought the lockdowns would continue more. But these are people who lived under blue states, and they were just there to have their voices heard. They went there with signs about COVID, mask mandates, vaccines. Not everybody there was a Trump supporter either, by the way. You got to remember that when you have a large amount of people like that, you're going to get a cross section of American society. So it's not true.
Well, sure, but I mean, nobody really cares about the guy who went there to protest and just kind of stayed outside, didn't get any trouble, went home. No one cares about them. People care about the ones who are riding.
I mean, you should when they get prosecuted too.
They didn't.
Yeah, they did though. That's the problem.
They didn't. There was 100,000 people there.
Hold on, wait, back up. Before we get into this naming off every individual, because every single time these guys get looked up, all of them were doing some fuck shit. But I understand the DC jury, it's all, horrible, politically partisan prosecutions. Why do you really think that if Trump, I don't know, I'm asked this because there's no good faith engagement here. If Trump hadn't called people there on J6, it would have been a few hundred people, tops.
Bullshit. Vice did a whole they did a video walkthrough of the audience. They found 6 distinct different groups.
I'm also going to give December and November as an example. Trump didn't tell anybody in November, December to show up to DC, and we showed up in the thousands. As a matter of fact, I'd say that the November rally from November 14th was a lot. There was a lot more people attending that rally than they did on January. What was the name of the rally?
Just so I can just fact check real quick.
The Million MAGA March. I could be off. But regardless of the fact, it doesn't change the fact that the president did not tell anybody to show up in November, and they still showed up in mass. I remember, actually with Bobby that's sitting right next to me, I remember sitting on Capitol Hill and looking down Constitution Avenue and seeing people shoulder to shoulder all the way to the White House.
Well, yeah, but even then,
earlier, the point earlier was that so many people.
So, I know what you're talking about because Trump didn't even understand what was going on with the false elector plan until early December. I get it, but all throughout November, you had Ken Cheesebro talking about this. You had the First Amendment Praetorians that were talking about this. You had there was this slow boil online of riling people up to get them to believe that there was something that could be done about this. That Trump could have these 7 slates of frankly false electors to come in and then save the day in the last minute. And this was it was built up online. It was built up in certain channels in certain spheres in DC. It eventually got to Trump's desk in early December, and that's when he started pushing it personally. But it still came from a location, and it came from the right wing.
So let me ask you something.
Just actually being upset about the election.
Let me ask you something about Pence then. So you're saying that they lied to them and they couldn't. Let's say, so then why is Pence considered a hero from the left if he decided to certify the election results? What if Pence decided to go with Trump's plan? Would that make a difference?
He'd be a traitor?
Yeah, then he wouldn't be considered.
He'd be a traitor, but then there is a chance of something happening, right? There is a chance of going ahead and not certifying the election. Correct.
Yeah, if the insurrection was
so having that hope,
it's called
having that hope that Mike Pence would do something would motivate people to try to protest.
Yeah, correct.
I truly believe. Look,
you're describing an insurrection. They would hope that their pressure there would force people like
no,
Pence
it would be illegal.
It
would be illegal.
It's not legal. It would be illegal.
It would be a legal
it's not
solution.
It's not legal.
Where's the language inside
illegal?
One at a time.
I need to fix this right here.
I understand, but let Destiny finish, then you can fix it, and then I want to hear from Greg. That's older.
And I'm talking about as an insurrection.
Go ahead.
I'm talking
them unilaterally overthrowing 7 states worth of votes to pick their own electors would be depriving the American people of their right to vote.
But you're not. But you didn't argue with me when I asked if Mike Pence can do that, and that is a legal solution.
Not legally. He cannot legally do it.
He legally cannot.
So he couldn't not certify the election or refuse to certify the election that day.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Legally, yes.
Okay. Well, then if you just
well, just to be clear, do you grant them that, Enrique, that not in a legal way, in no legal manner, could Mike Pence certify or not refused to certify.
Yes, listen, I give him that.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, my argument isn't that. My argument is that people thought, we're getting in the minds of these people, that people thought that Mike Pence was able to not certify the election.
Because
maybe
Trump
Tim has more insight if that's able, or maybe he disagrees.
Because Trump told them that. Yes, they think that because Trump told them that. That's the whole point. This is why it's Trump's fault. Yes.
Listen, I believe that the president also thought that the election was stolen, along with
I don't care. He can live in his delusion. That's fine, but you're just giving an excuse then for why he was calling all those people there to insurrect the government. Because if you think
he wasn't calling anybody to insurrect the government, and let me tell you the schedule for that day.
Yeah, he was.
Everybody, he wasn't even supposed to speak. He didn't decide to speak until I think January 1st or the 31st. He decided a whole 10 or 11 days after that the rally was scheduled to be on there. And everybody thought, including my guys, thought that the president was going to speak at the Capitol, in front of the Capitol. Even the president says it, right? My guys were at the Washington Monument, which was the back of the ellipse. They couldn't see anything. They were pissed off that they got there late, that they woke up late because they got fucking sloshed the night before, and they wanted to get good seats. So that is why they moved to the Capitol so early, because they thought that he was going to go to the Capitol at that moment.
Hold on, so I actually have a question for you, because now I'm really interested. So you just said that Donald Trump believed he was genuinely stolen from, right?
Correct.
Okay. And despite this, he still wasn't calling for an insurrection?
Not restraint from
he didn't. Can you tell me when he called for an insurrection?
Well, no, you just said that he wasn't calling for an insurrection, right? Like you just said that?
He was not calling for an insurrection. That's correct.
Even though he believed he was stolen from, is he a cuck? Like, what the fuck? If he was stolen from, he should be calling for an insurrection.
He was pursuing, as he said, peacefully and patriotically, fucking protesting the election.
It's so funny. It's so funny to me.
Hold on, please. There will be order in this court. There will be order in this court. I want to give it to Grid, and then I want to give it to Gibbs. That's the order we're going.
This is something that's really annoying. That you guys keep acting like that things we know today to be more or less factual actually supports that there was massive irregularities with the election. All Trump was saying is, hey, there are massive irregularities with this election, and we should check this shit out, and we shouldn't just go ahead and stop Destiny. I've been very polite.
That's why Barr left. Then stop lying.
I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to finish. You can keep talking.
Doesn't like this point.
But I don't care what you like.
Yeah, of course.
The point is that we are looking at this, or you are looking at this through what you think you know today. Which, by the way, we're finding out every single day that those irregularities may have happened, or they're more credible. And the reality is that your rhetoric is breaking down. The rhetoric that you've been spewing for 4 years of there was no election fraud and it was Trump was trying to seize control. All that's breaking down because the reality is had they just given Trump what was he asking for, a week or 10 days to go through some of the irregularities? The fact that nobody was willing to do that, and now they conveniently forget that that's what he was asking for, is stupid. You guys can't be more stupid.
So I've heard everything you have to say. Do you know the process of actually doing that, though? Of actually having this investigated? You know what the real process is? Because it did happen in 1876. You know this, right? That there was an electoral commission that was put forward, and in fact the certification of the vote was delayed for 2 months. So all Congress had to do was to do the same thing they did in 1876. And the reason Congress didn't do that is because the riot fucking interrupted it. Like that's one big reason why the process didn't happen the way it should.
No, that's bullshit, and you know it.
No, that's completely
that is bullshit, Deb, and you know it.
They would have done it.
I think it's hilarious.
Let Dev answer the question. Let Dev answer the question.
If there was enough proof, if there was enough proof to convince the congressmen and the senators to actually have an electoral commission to investigate this, then they would have done so. There was no fucking proof. There's still no fucking proof. You're saying that new proof is coming out every day. Yeah, you're saying it's coming out every day. Are you talking about like the 350,000 votes from Georgia that went viral like last week?
Well, I didn't mention that. I mentioned the Minnesota stuff that's happened with the duplicate voters we know are on the rolls. And we can go into other stuff like in Nevada that's come out recently. There's all sorts of different examples. There's stuff in Texas. There's lots of examples.
It doesn't matter.
But I would like to just point out.
You're going to try and
just want to point out what Dev and Destiny are doing real quick. I just want to point out. I just want to point out what Dev and Destiny are doing real quick. It's really impressive. It's really impressive here, actually.
Hold on. Stop. Destiny, then Gibbs. That's what we're going to do.
Okay, here. Well, let's just work one specific example, okay? So one thing that Trump said, we can go through every single one of these if we want. He said, then election officials pull boxes, Democrats, and suitcases of ballots out from under a table. He's talking about in Fulton County. We know that that claim was a lie, and we knew that claim was a lie on day one. It was debunked. If you watch the video, they were put underneath the table when they were going to stop counting. Then they pull those same boxes out from underneath afterwards. That was a lie. They knew it was a lie on day one, and Trump repeated it at the Ellipse speech on January 6th.
Well, before we started arguing about what evidence we're going to accept here, I want to point out this game that they're doing real quick. It's really impressive how on the left over here they do this ticky-tack baby back bullshit with words. Go, oh, he didn't say peacefully, patriotically, or whatever at the exact right time. But then they go, oh, he was implying an insurrection. Well, you know, can you point to me where the word insurrection comes up? But then when you say that, they want to dismiss it, wave a hand, go, well, you know what he thinks. And it's just like there's no winning here. It's an all-lose scenario with him. They're just going to play dishonest. And it's really all propaganda because they don't really want to talk about the real insurrection, which is the stolen election via the fraud. That's really what's happening. And we're seeing it everywhere. And you just go, oh,
just
it didn't
prove
happen.
the fraud. Just prove it.
We are proving it. That's why they're opening tons of investigations and finding new shit all the time. Bro, Fox News today said there's 250 to 500 billion dollars worth of fraud, $1 billion worth of fraud going away every year right now, estimated. And then we're seeing, oh, it's funding candidates. Oh, we're seeing, oh, it's in these states where we have tons of illegals, no voter ID. Wow, just a total coincidence that's happening.
What Dev said, actually, I just want to say is actually an important observation. We wanted the debates to happen in Congress. So the fact that the riot happened and it canceled
then
that,
why the
that
fuck were you
Congress
there?
was not the appropriate forum for that
you
debate
want the
to happen,
actual
though.
answer? Because the answer is not that we went there to interrupt the process that we wanted to happen.
Of course you did.
That makes absolutely no sense. Why would we
It makes
want
perfect
to
sense.
interrupt
It
the
doesn't make any
process
sense that you think, how is Congress the appropriate forum when they're certifying the vote for a debate to happen about the electoral procedures?
It doesn't matter if you agree with it. That was the argument at the time. We're going to go there and support our brave congressmen and representatives. That was the point.
By breaking in?
To decertify the vote.
No,
to
you're
not
putting-
accept the result of the election.
No, actually,
Yeah,
you don't
it was.
even know what happened.
I do know what happened. I've read all the fucking documents. You're just lying about everything. The whole
I read
point-
some
the
shit
whole
on the
point of this
internet, which makes me a
litigation
professional.
The whole
That's
point.
what
I'm
you
sorry,
sound like.
How many people in here were convicted of what crimes? Give me a fucking break, okay?
Let him go. Let him go.
I'm trying to say, because I actually am a witness and I can tell you my experience there. I actually went there and my cell phone footage proves this. I didn't know there was any restricted area, and I'm not trying to put that on Proud Boys or Ryan Samsel or Ray Epps specifically, but I walked into an area thinking that I was just there for a First Amendment demonstration. When the cops attacked us, it incensed us, and that was that. It
Cops
doesn't mean
attacked
it
you
has
where?
to
At
make
what
sense.
part?
On the Western Terrace.
When a cop, if a cop attacks you and you're on the Capitol grounds, your first thought is, "Wow, I'm getting attacked for no reason." Not maybe I'm not supposed to be here.
Because I was present.
Yeah, because he thinks he's at a peaceful protest, which you, by the
Peaceful
way,
protest
seem to
doesn't give you the
support.
right to trespass.
I bet when the ICE agent shot that girl in Minnesota, you're on there crying for her peaceful protest.
Hold on.
Doesn't give you the right to trespass.
You didn't know it was trespassing because you're not understanding the context of people pouring into an area, not knowing that it's a restricted area. We didn't know.
This part is irrelevant. We're not even. No one's even arguing this. I'm sure there are some people that probably trespassed that weren't aware that they were trespassing. None of us are arguing that, though. The specific point. Wow. Well, it sounds like Donald Trump maybe should have clarified before he sent all of them over to the Capitol to try to disrupt the counting of the vote. Maybe
people tore barriers down before his speech.
So where did President Trump, since it was so nuanced?
I know that was my earlier claim. Thank you. Yes. Hello.
Since it was so nuanced,
we know.
where did President Trump?
Ask your question, Enrique.
We know that.
So it's funny to me that he says that the cops weren't inciting it. We had a professional witness on the stand, a use of force witness on the stand that specifically covers riot control. And when we asked these pepper balls and these rubber bullets, where are they, if there's a crowd, where are they shot into? And they're usually shot into the front of the crowd. They tell them not to shoot into the back of the crowd because the opposite effect can happen. If you look at the video from the cops that were overlooking from an eagle's nest position, they weren't shooting at the front of the crowd, they were shooting at the back of the crowd. And one of those people that got shot, his name is Joshua Black. Also, a couple of Proud Boys that were far back, about 100 feet back, were getting peppered with pepper balls. And I know that aggravated the crowd. So I'll take the word of a use of force professional before I take the word of a podcaster that's read shit on the internet. He just said that, read shit on the internet, and is a self-proclaimed professional in things that have to do with
And then to be
January.
clear, just so I understand, this was an
respond
expert
to that.
witness
Go
that was
ahead.
brought on for the side that lost the court case, right?
That witness actually was both of the
yeah.
witnesses for the government and for myself. Both of them are use of force, and both of them answered exactly the same way. So you could try that with somebody else, not here. You could take that shit somewhere else.
The case
There's
was
also
lost.
plenty of video, though. The man he's talking about, Joshua Black, was shot through the face with plastic rounds and was bleeding all over the West Terrace. People who weren't aware of what was going on were incensed by that, and there's plenty of testimony from defendants. I mean, you can disregard defendants because you think they're guilty, but there's plenty of actual
I only
eyewitness
think the ones
testimony
are
about
guilty
this.
are the ones that were convicted. You know, yeah.
You know where I find cowardice and destiny. He's saying what he wants to say, but he's still there. He still's got that fear. Just say what you want to say. You want your political opponents to be in prison. Look, if we're playing this game
people
where
that are
we're
trying
playing
to circumvent the lawful outcome of the election in prison.
Yeah.
Yes. And especially people that are planning to do it.
Okay,
Yes.
but you want
you went there
but you
to
want the
protest
person
the
trying to
certification of
run
the vote.
over an ICE
You said it
agent. You
yourself.
want them to go free.
She didn't try to run over the ICE agent. She was trying to drive away.
We could,
it's
if
pretty
you want to
obvious.
say what you
Oh
truly
my
want to say,
God.
look, I'm going to be you for a second.
Wow.
I would
can say what I
celebrate
wanna
the
say.
death.
I don't know why
I
you think
would
I won't just
celebrate the
say what I'm
death.
saying.
Like you've
Yeah.
celebrated the death of Ashley Babbitt. Celebrate the death of one of ours. We celebrate the death of one of yours. And let's stop playing this game where we pretend that we don't have a bias here, because you do have a bias. You want to see us in prison.
Yeah,
That's
my
fine. You know
bias
what?
is
I would respect you
people that are
more.
guilty of things. I like to see people that are guilty of things in prison.
When
That's
you
true.
say,
Yes,
I
that
want
is
my
correct.
political I want my
No, you're
political opponent to
projecting
prison.
your
I would.
delusion onto me. You don't have to
I
do
would
that. You
respect
can be
you
your
more.
own.
But you don't have
piece
the
of shit. You don't have to
balls,
project
you
on
don't
me.
have
That's
the
okay, bro.
decency
That's
to
okay,
actually
bro.
say what you
That's
feel.
okay.
I want to hear.
Let it out.
Real quick,
Let it out. Tell people how you really
just real
feel.
quick. Just real
I already
quick,
said how I really
please.
feel. You guys be rotting underneath the prison. Yeah, what's up?
Well, we're
I wanna
not.
hear what
And you
Destiny.
know
Hold
what?
on.
It makes you
Stop.
angry that we're not.
Okay, I'm gonna
It
have to mute
does. I
people.
am. Yeah,
have to
I'm
mute
honest about
people.
that, of
Destiny,
course.
stop. I'm about to give you the mic, Destiny. Destiny, I want to know specifically what you and Dev's strongest argument is that this is an insurrection, and then they can deal with that. What is your strongest piece of evidence that this was an insurrection on January 6th? Go ahead.
Well, me and Dev will put forth our own thing. I think.
Exactly.
I think that.
And then we'll see. Yeah.
I would say probably the. Are you going to say the false electors, or are you going to say Trump's behavior during the insurrection, Dev? Which one do you want to go with, or are you do you have a totally?
I'll go with false electors. I know that.
Why don't you think for yourself and just answer the question?
I would say that Trump's behavior. You're the actual Trump come guzzling sheep. I don't know why you would ever tell me to think for myself, sir. I think that the strongest piece of evidence is how Trump acted during the insurrection itself. So, for instance, when there were multiple family members, when there were multiple members of government that were begging him to call off the rioters, and Donald Trump was making phone calls to congressmen telling them that, well, maybe you should consider flipping your vote or changing your vote. He had even the call with McCarthy, where he was saying, well, maybe they're mad for a good reason. And Giuliani was also making similar phone calls. I think that was very evident that the things were going as he wanted them to, that he was happy to see the insurrection carry on, and rather than actually calling down the National Guard to go there immediately and to stop it, he was happy to watch it continue on because he was hoping eventually he would delay the certification of the vote or flip it to himself. I think that's one of my strongest pieces.
Okay, Dev, go ahead with yours, and then we'll get the response from all of them. Go ahead, Dev.
I mean, we've already talked about these 7 slates of false electors before in this conversation. You guys think that basically Trump was stolen from, and so this was part of the actual procedure. Basically, it was based on the 1960 election because there were dueling electors in 1960. The difference is that in 1960, the state of Hawaii actually signed off on the alternate slate of electors. That didn't happen here. We have the false elector papers. They're publicly available to see. You can see that no state government actually signed off on any of those electors. At the same time, I have now at this point read 64 full court cases on what happened during the 2020 election, all the audits, all the recounts, all the investigations. No fucking evidence has ever been produced. And additionally, everyone says, oh, it's standing. Standing's the reason why those court cases didn't go anywhere. Well, guess what? If you actually read the court cases, you'd realize that pretty much in every single one, the judges actually said, hey, even though there's no standing for this, we are going to do like an impromptu kind of look at the merits anyway, because we understand that this is actually really important, that everyone really cares about this. And so you can actually read the court documents and realize there's fucking nothing. There's no evidence of anything. In all of these cases, Trump just lost them on standing, on merits, on everything, because there is no fucking evidence. And I know everyone's talking about, oh, there's new evidence coming out right now, all these new, no, it's all bullshit. Like in Georgia, the 315,000 extra like improper votes. What that was you had like a poll worker who failed to sign out at the end of his shift, and so it turns out that the ballots that he was involved with were like were not signed off on properly, but they're still all completely legitimate ballots. And then guess what? Once that state was recounted, those were all recounted properly and recertified, and they were all signed off on. So like even these little moments where you have like technical snafus that don't actually disqualify any votes or show any fraud, none of it ever pans out to anything. It's all bullshit.
There's no chain of authority.
You guys
which
can
means
respond to that. Go ahead, Stream Rift, and I want to hear from the rest of you. Go ahead.
there's no chain of authority, which means they didn't follow their own state laws. And so that calls into question whether they were legitimate or not. And it's 2 signatures. The other thing is an insurrection. The definition I looked up, a violent uprising against an authority or government. It was an appeal to government. It was saying you're doing something that we'd like you to do differently. It was explicitly not saying we have another plan, let's have a new government. So definitionally, as an insurrection, nobody was trying to overthrow the government. They were trying to get Congress to elect. Even if you say, oh, well, Mike Pence couldn't fail to certify the election. Okay, fine. That's an appeal to government, not an overthrow of it.
Definitionally, it is an overthrow of the government. He lost, and they wanted
to keep him in office. The government. He said,
the new government was supposed to be
exactly
Biden, and you wanted to overthrow the count to keep Trump entrenched in power.
Destiny, stay here. How is saying, dear government, you did something wrong, I'd like you to do it different, an overthrow of that government?
Because when you're saying the thing you did wrong was you kept in a guy in power that I don't want, or you have voted a new guy in power that I don't want you to have in power, you're insurrecting.
That's not what they're saying. They're saying we don't think it were valid results. So they're saying government, you did the election.
You do realize. So you do realize that Trump went to Pence and said, "Hey, listen, don't send these 7 electors back to the states. Just install me as the next president." Trump said that to Pence.
So what part of the insurrection is them overthrowing the government?
It's Trump telling Pence to install him as government.
The certification of the vote was literally delayed.
Definitionally not an insurrection, Devin.
Breaking into it definitionally is. I've read so much more about this than all of you fucking retards combined. Okay, but it definitionally is. They broke into the Capitol
for the
first time. The first time in the history of the United States government, the certification of the vote was delayed. It happened because of violence at the Capitol.
And
it was the goal
and the first time in history, we had massive mail-in voting, which is the most fraudulent form of voting.
We didn't have any fraud. We did, but then, and you found no fraud. How sad is that? Just
massive.
like Doge,
hold on.
nothing.
Years later, how are we supposed to know this months after the election?
I got a question for all of you. I have a question for all of you, okay? Let's say it's 2016. Okay, and Trump wins 2016 fair and square because he obviously did. And now let's say Joe Biden, presiding over the counting of the vote, says, you know what? I'm just going to start tossing out electors and we're going to install Hillary Clinton as president. Would you guys have stood for that?
What does that have to do with whether it was an insurrection?
Would you have stood for it? Yes or no?
Why are you moving the goalpost?
Hold on. Yes or no?
I just said.
I do want to. Hold on, just please. I do want people to answer this question.
Yes or no?
No, I asked the question first, and it got dodged. How's that fair?
Well, can you?
What was the dodge?
What was your question?
A dodge that because he was like, "Oh, it was the first time in whatever that it was delayed for 3 hours." And I'm like, "Dude, this is the first time in I don't know ever that they was this volume." I'm asking how are you going to say that this was like ginned up solely by Trump when there were so many other factors absent Trump
because
that got people mad enough to show up that day?
Yeah, they all came from Trump. Every single piece of voter fraud that was brought to him was debunked by Barr. Why did Barr quit? Why did Barr quit before the certification?
I'm talking about they didn't have that much time between the decision of. There was only months. There was only months. Destiny.
That's a lot of time to find any voter fraud at all. To find one piece of voter fraud, there's plenty of time. Yeah.
No, was the voter fraud like the mail-in voting investigated?
Before you ask more questions, hold on. Before you ask more questions, Dev did ask you a question.
I asked
your question just got answered.
Yeah.
Can you answer his? In 2016, if Joe Biden had decided to get rid of the electors and install Hillary Clinton as president, would you have stood for that?
I would have gone to go protest at the Ellipse.
There you go.
Like you guys protested last time inside the building?
See, Enrique answered it. What about the rest of you?
I mean, I'll answer it. I didn't know it was specifically to the whole panel, but sure.
Yeah,
I'll
everyone,
answer.
go ahead.
Okay. So had Biden installed Hillary Clinton just because, or are we talking about we think that there's massive election fraud, or what?
A whole bunch of Democratic officials cooked up a whole bunch of alternate electors and said, "Hey, Biden, use these."
You mean like a
Yes,
Steele
sir.
dossier to try and smear Trump of Russian collusion and all that?
Were there any
Exactly.
false electors in that dossier?
I mean, there wasn't, but I mean, I'm shocked she missed the
That's
trick.
not election interference.
That was a really good point. That Steele dossier, how many fake electors were cooked up as a result of that? Can I hear an answer from the panel for that? How many?
Give me 1 minute.
Wait, you're asking the wrong question. Is that election interference?
Didn't the Steele dossier, wasn't it published after the election happened?
I'm just asking you a question.
Well, if it was after the election happened, then definitionally the answer would be no, if time only goes in one direction.
So Russiagate was before all of that, before
no, so Russiagate was after the election. That's why it's such a stupid fucking conspiracy theory, because the person that hurt Hillary the most.
No. It wasn't.
Yes.
It wasn't. There was a PR campaign in 2016. I remember because I was there. I was into the 2016 campaign. So don't tell me that there was no Russia before 2016. That's election interference. That's exactly what it is. That the report came out after that. That's fine.
Year, the election after the election was when the Steele dossier was leaked. Well, BuzzFeed published it, but it was after the election.
The report was published. The propaganda was started in 2016.
It doesn't really. Yeah, you keep saying that whole year. 2016 is a long. There's like 12 months, 365 days.
Yeah, and the election was at the end of the year.
And the Steele dossier was published afterward. Yeah,
arithmetic, dude.
Well, we talk about stolen election. I can give you an example right here. We have what's her name? We have the executive director for Wisconsin's election commission, Claire Whittle-Vaugh. She was convicted of voter fraud in 2024 in May, right? And we just got an email that was released that
I
says
have a fact check for the Steele dossier. It was published on Mother Jones on October 31st, 2016. So it was just before the U.S. presidential election.
Okay, so we have an email just today from this person who's been convicted of voter fraud, saying, quote, Xerox 64,000 ballots in the back of the conference room in Milwaukee City Hall, room 501 at 3 a.m. Guess what? They won a percentage by in Wisconsin, 0.63%, and that's how much Biden won by. So it looks like, we are starting to find examples of the election being stolen, like this example. So when you're saying there's no evidence, there's evidence coming out.
What was his name again?
The Election Commission Executive Director Claire Woodall-Vaugh. So and it's pretty crazy.
We're still waiting.
I guess if you stopped reading,
how was the election stolen?
She was convicted before this email was found out about just now.
How was the election stolen in 2016, 2017? You said Russia. How was that used to steal the election? You guys brought that up as an example of trying to steal an election.
No, I said that's election interference. That's attempting. And attempting is conspiracy in its own nature, so it should be prosecuted. And the person, all the people involved there should get 22 years.
So many mainstream media companies had this dossier, and it was Mother Jones that eventually published. Was it Mother Jones or was it? I thought BuzzFeed was the first one that published it
on October 31st, 2016, just before.
Are you sure it wasn't?
It was
I'm
first
positive it was BuzzFeed.
Publicly.
So it shouldn't.
Wait. Reported on is different than published in its entirety. My understanding is that BuzzFeed published it. Oh, you mixed it up for reported on.
Okay. That's correct.
That's correct.
The full 35
January 10th, 2017. Okay, thank you. So I was correct. Thank you. Jesus.
Okay, I got to make a little money, so let me read some of these super chats, and then we'll get back to the show. $10 from Artemis Fowl to say, didn't the ellipse speech have specifically peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard in it? I see several video and an NPR article saying it happened. Weird. Thank you for the $10.
Yes.
Artemis, start showing up to these again.
Zero fucks for 10-month membership. Thank you, buddy. Peacefully and patriotically hit like and subscribe. True. $5 from Mr. Wise Guy Plays. When Trump sees violence, he said, stop being violent and be peaceful. Destiny says that's just nonsense. Good one. Cope.
Stop being violent? Wait, he tweeted that? Was that a tweet that he said?
Remain calm, remain peaceful.
Paraphrasing.
Paraphrasing? Oh, because when somebody says remain peaceful, that makes it sound like there's no violence happening. That's what I would assume.
Well,
but okay.
Trump did tweet this. He says, "I know you're
Fantasy,
paying."
just real quick. Quantum Fantasy member for 15 months. Wow. Gibbs being so well behaved up there in the corner. Well, let's see. The soy pill for $5. And this is to Enrique. What did "do what must be done" end quote mean, Enrique?
Are we answering it now, or are you going through the super
answer
chat?
it now, please.
Okay. I was excited. I was excited about what was going on at the Capitol. I was watching it on TV, and I said, "Do what must be done."
So
I was celebrating. I was celebrating the shit out of what happened that day. Yes, super fucking guilty of it.
Yeah, but what did you want to be done?
I wanted them to keep going.
Okay.
Keep
going how?
I wanted them to stay there. I wanted them to protest. I wanted them to stay there. Yes.
Okay, so
Inside
I didn't want them to
building?
leave.
Okay.
Inside the Capitol building. I wanted to occupy the Capitol building. Yes.
Yeah, we know. It was on
And
the
do
inside.
what with it?
Just real quick, $5 from Mr. Wise.
To disrupt, to insurrect. That's what that means. That's definitionally an insurrection, right?
No,
Destiny-
no,
That's he
no.
wanted to, not that he did.
Definitionally it is. You're using threat and
For me to
intimidation in
answer,
order to
Destiny
disrupt
to
the
sit
lawful
here and
government
fucking-
process. Yeah, it's definitionally an insurrection. Jesus.
Let me get through these. Okay, we got more. I promise.
But
We'll get there. We'll get there. I promise. Mr. Wise Guy Plays for $5 says Destiny doesn't care about things that's not framed in his anti-Trump worldview. Change my mind. $5 from Audacity. This is fun. It's like when Dad used to put on Boomer Radio and they would play greatest hits. Makes my basement reno easier to do. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thank you for $5. $20 from Josiah from Pondering Politics. If January 6th was mostly peaceful because only a small number of attendees engaged in violence, each of these fine MAGA fellas would agree every individual BLM riot, not protest, was likewise definitionally mostly peaceful. Do you guys agree with that?
wait, I didn't.
Sure.
I didn't get that.
If
The vast majority of the BLM protests and even the riots themselves would be peaceful if by that definition, because every riot only has like 1 to 5% of people actually rioting. There's no riot where
So Destiny,
every
would
single
we
person is
agree?
breaking shit.
All of the
and
BLM
gunshots?
protests, all of the J6 protests, everybody gets a pardon if you weren't violent. We all agree on that, right, Destiny?
No, we have more
Same
crimes
policy
in this country
on both
beyond violent
groups?
crimes. What a stupid
No.
point. There are plenty of crimes you
Oh,
commit
okay.
that
So we
involve
don't agree that
violence.
nonviolent protest is equally pardonable. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Non-violent protest? I'm talking about occupying a Capitol building with the goal
I
of
literally
disrupting
just
the
fucking
government.
asked you.
That's
if
the
we say all
definition
the
of
Occupying
occupying. Occupying a building is
non-violent.
nonviolent.
Occupying definitionally
You're aware
is
of
not
sit-ins,
nonviolent.
right,
Just
Destiny?
fucking say it.
Yeah,
you just
you're
want
aware
us
that you
all
can
in
get
prison.
arrested. It's called
You
civil
want all Trump
disobedience.
supporters in
Yeah,
prison.
Yeah,
Just
civil
fucking admit it.
disobedience.
That's
Yeah,
it.
at this point, hell yeah,
You
I do.
fucking-
Hell yeah,
you-
100%.
That's not insurrection when you do it, Destiny.
100%
I
at this
respect
point.
you for that.
Thank you, and I would
Please.
respect you more if you admitted that you guys were attempting an insurrection. You failed, and that's why the
It wasn't
opinion
an
changed afterwards.
insurrection. I would
I'll agree
respect
with
you if
All
we
I
could
wanna
consider
see is
any
you
other
guys in
alternative.
prison. I want you to see. I want you to suffer. I want you to suffer like my family
Damn, every
suffered.
day I'm
I want you
suffering
to
right now.
pay like
Mhm.
my family paid. I want you to do exactly what we did. If I could right now, how I feel and the shit that I went through, not before. I didn't feel like this before. I would have heads on pikes at this moment.
We know
right?
one of you guys were
Because of
screaming
what
it.
you
Hold on,
did
just
to
real
everybody.
quick, please,
Yeah.
Enrique. Whose heads would you like to see on pikes specifically?
The people who did
All the
this,
liberals.
the people who
deep
did
state.
this deserve that. Yes.
The imagined enemies.
did
Yes.
what?
Was
Yeah, who-
schizophrenia
I
a pre-requirement to joining the
believe-
Proud
I
Boys, or
believe
did you guys
the
kind of want to choose
prosecutors-
your
What's the
members?
question? Who
I
did
believe
what?
that the
Unbelievable.
prosecutors in this case, I believe all the aides that helped fucking the suffering of 1,600 people and their families, I think that they should be investigated. I believe that they should be investigated for treason, and I believe that they should get the proper punishment for what treason is. That's what I believe that they should do, because they're nothing less than treasonous pigs, and that's all they deserve.
Oh,
If
I
I
would
may,
not.
Tim.
I would
Tim-
not like to see Destiny endure what we endured.
So-
I would just wish he would change his mind about his political opposition. I wouldn't want you to have to.
Tim is a better
wear
person than I am.
No, I know. I know the consequences of weaponized government, and I don't want to see it. I'm not a Republican, you know. I was a labor leader. I'm not far right. I understand
center left or far left. Yeah.
I don't want. I'm not in favor of it. I don't believe in returning evil for evil, even though I got pissed off that day. But I'm sorry I interrupted.
So
but,
magnanimous.
it's about all pikes, all heads. It's
Okay.
about.
$5 from Adashura to say, for the traitors of America, what was peaceful about chanting "Hang Mike Pence"? Also, if you think that didn't happen, Why didn't Mike run again?
Was that as a serious threat as people supposedly wiping feces on the wall, which didn't happen? There's a couple clips you can find of people chanting stuff, but I mean, where was the rope? That was never going to happen. You had people
Disavow.
That was the thing, something that they didn't have the rope for it.
Obligatory disavow. Disavow.
Disavow. Disavow. You shouldn't do this. No hanging of anyone.
Good one.
Unless a proper trial, Enrique was talking about.
I find it interesting that Destiny and the this is from Mr. Wise Guy Plays, another $5. I find it interesting that Destiny in the beginning said that Trump never said anything about people needing to be peaceful. Completely walk that back.
Nope. I said there wasn't an explicit call for people to go walk peacefully. He did say they needed to fight like hell, or they were going to lose the country.
They didn't have the rope.
Near the end of the speech.
They didn't have the rope. He didn't say
I mean,
explicitly.
they did have a rope. Like, we literally saw the picture of the
I get
gallows built the morning of. Like, that actually was there, but, you know, I know we're
And-
not...
Dude, a gallows for midgets? You couldn't even hang a fucking midget on those fucking gallows.
It's not our fault you guys are
Look at the real
actual
size of
fucking
it. Come
gallows.
on,
I can't
stop
help with that.
pretending.
Jesus.
Stop bullshitting. Look at this.
You're gonna hang him with this? They need a better
Guys, look at that. You're playing Destiny. You're playing the violins here. Look at the size of that thing.
Okay.
Be realistic.
$10 from Pondering
Fuck.
Politics. Just real quick. $10 from Pondering Politics. Trump had weeks and months before the election to challenge the alleged election changes this dude is complaining about, in addition to the time after the election. Thank you for the $10. 5 Canadian dollars from Ace Chrome Cheetah to say, so you're just admitting Trump is planting and fabricating evidence in his second term to prove voting fraud occurred in 2020. £5 from Riz What the Fuck to say, I'm not sure insurrection quite covered how disgusting and unpatriotic it was for these people to attempt to overturn the result of an election. $10 more from Mr.
He shouldn't say
Whiteside.
anything from the country he's from. He'd probably go to prison for fucking saying some stupid ass shit. That's probably insurrection and fucking.
You know what? Anyone who wants to give me money to say things is okay in my book.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Okay. $10 from Mr. Wise Guy Plays to say, will you guys ever bring up the BBC News completely fabricating and editing parts of Trump's January 6th speech to make it sound like he was telling his supporters to fight down at the Capitol? I want to hear Dev and Destiny address this one, please.
They used it on my trial. Let's start with that. They used it at my trial. They used a BBC clip at my trial. So go ahead.
No, they didn't, because the edit happened in 2025. The trial was what, 2022? They didn't use it.
Well, they're on that time travel shit, bro. Come on, you should know this by now.
No. Listen, not.
The reality is they didn't completely fabricate anything, but they spliced together something from the beginning and the end of his speech, which they shouldn't have done. It was stupid.
It together.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done it. It was a bad edit, but like using it now to go back 5 years and claim something is fucking stupid.
Okay.
Well, notice how, because I'm not a partisan fuck, I can say that's bad. I shouldn't have done that, right? But you can't concede a single fucking thing, despite the fact that all the evidence. You guys can't even answer. What were people there for? What were people at the White House for?
They were there.
There
to
was plenty of reasons
protest
to be
the
pissed.
stolen
There was plenty of
election.
reasons
How many
there.
fucking times are
Donald
we going
Trump
to
had
say
been
this?
calling them there
Stop
for
playing
almost
these
a
fucking
month.
violins,
Donald
dude.
Trump had been
You're
calling
asking
there for
retarded
almost-
questions.
If you're not
to
partisan,
protest the
Hold on,
certification
let
of
Destiny
the
go, please.
vote. They were called there for Donald Trump called them almost a month earlier to protest the certification of the vote. That's what they were there for.
well, hold on.
They didn't like the outcome of the
If
election.
you're not partisan, can you admit?
Yes.
Can you admit that? Like,
Protesting.
say,
They didn't like
if they actually
for protesting, you just said it.
Well, hold on. If he's
Fuck.
not partisan, can you admit that if they actually subverted the election with voter fraud and there's other stuff that the Trump administration is alleging, then that would be equally as bad, if not worse, than the insurrection that y'all are alleging occurred on January 6th. Would you
I'm
agree?
literally an American whose country was born from rebellion. Yeah, if the election was actually stolen, I think you have plenty of reason to insurrect and rebel, of course, which is why it was all the more disgusting that Donald Trump lied to you guys, and then you guys continue to propagate the same fucking lies over and over and over again. Every single lie that Trump told the day of the ellipse speech, Barr and other members of his government had already debunked to him. That's the issue. Just like the State
So do
Farm.
you trust-
You didn't need Trump to say anything. They didn't need Trump to say anything to believe that the election was stolen. Don't you get
Donald
it?
Trump
They
was
didn't
the
need
one
Trump.
spreading that lie. He spread it for 6 months
Yeah,
before the election
sure.
even fucking happened.
Absent Trump, there was
Hold
still
on,
a bunch
I mean,
of fucking shit going on.
No, there wasn't.
Yes,
but there
there
really
was.
wasn't.
Or he just
No,
read
there
the
really wasn't,
room.
though. No,
A
there
lot
really
of people
wasn't,
thought
though.
it was fraud.
Hold on,
So
did you
Donald
forget
Trump ran
COVID?
in
Did you forget
DC?
what COVID was like?
Hold on, I want to hear from Grid. Grid, go ahead, please.
Yeah, man. I mean, so Destiny, come on, man. Trump doesn't run NBC or Fox News or any of the other major networks that were carrying the stories of potential election fraud. It's literally so disingenuous of you to say that Trump made this all up and he was the one that was promoting this, when literally every news agency in the country was not only covering it, they were looking for it. And I mean, come on, man, stop it. That's bullshit. You know it.
Let me just be clear. Was Fox News knowingly propagating lies about voter fraud on behalf of Trump's campaign? Was that a thing that happened?
I don't know. Can you tell me?
Yeah, they settled
100%.
the largest.
You're 100% sure that they were propagating lies. That you can prove that
the
Fox
Dominion,
News lied.
yes, the whole Dominion machine voter fraud. That was Fox News propagating things that they knew were lies from Trump's campaigns and campaign surrogates. Yes, they settled the largest defamation of all corporate history.
Then you just proved yourself
wrong.
wrong.
Hold on, please,
$1.2 billion.
Please, everyone stop. Grid. Do you acknowledge that that's true?
I don't know that Fox made that up themselves. I don't know that they were. I don't remember that.
You don't know about the largest election-related defamation case, one of the largest election suits. Then you don't know anything about
this. Tucker Carlson getting fired from Fox. I mean, yeah, I remember it, but I don't know that all of that was 100% factual either. Again,
pretty crazy to not know anything about any of that, but okay.
Well, a
lot of shit about.
I don't say I know something unless I fucking know it. I'm not guessing.
So just for everyone's notification, there was a conviction. There was a not a conviction. I think that's a word.
Finding.
They settled. I think
finding.
There was a settlement. There was a settlement by $2 billion companies.
Yeah. I think the settlement was for like $700 million.
But that doesn't support your claim that Trump did this. Your claim is that Trump
people like
put this out there and he was the guy doing it.
People in his group were the ones going
Trump
to
people now. Okay, all right. Okay.
Yes,
who are
the
President
of the United States himself was not personally driving a car.
Who are the Trump
people? Wasn't hopping on it. People like Sidney Powell, people like Rudy Giuliani, people like Mike Eastman,
but
people
this is
like
double standard. You say if he doesn't say enough of what you want him to say, it's Trump's fault. But then when we're like, well, he didn't actually do it, and you can't give us direct evidence, you're like, oh, but in this case, it's implied. Like you're doing a double standard here. Which is it, bro?
Okay,
like,
how about this?
It's the ultimate goalpost.
I will actually ask you this question.
Goalposts are on the moon now.
What goalpost do you think I've moved? Hold on, just to be clear, what goalpost do you think I've moved?
You initially said that Trump
spreading
you
lies
literally
about the
said
election,
that it was Trump who was out there saying that the election was rigged, and he did all of this, and he put it out there. But it wasn't him. It was Fox News. It was CNN. CNN was covering it. I mean, this is dumb, Destiny. And now you're Trump didn't do it, but Sidney Powell did it. Does Sidney Powell reach 20 million people? No, Fox News does. And Fox News reported on it.
Okay. The lie. Dev, go ahead.
So you guys are asking for examples of when Trump himself did it, right? Okay. Do you guys know what happened at the White House on December 19th, 2020? Are you aware of the timeline at all?
He met with Sidney Powell, Mike Lindell? No. Another attorney, yes. And that night was when he tweeted, "Be there, be wild."
On the 19th, there was a 1-hour meeting between Trump, Eastman, Pence, around 20 people from Congress and about a dozen senators, where they planned out what they were going to do on January 6th. Everything was laid out in that meeting on December 19th. And by the way, that's the reason why.
The first time that they made a story about the election interference or potential election fraud was that the first time we heard about it?
Not the first time. No. But it was the big.
It wasn't Fox News. It wasn't CNN. It wasn't the BBC. It wasn't any of these other news agencies who were finding irregularities with the election.
For when Trump
did it. There wasn't all of these news agencies whose job it is to cover the news who were finding the irregularities and Trump pointing to it and going, "Hey, we should look into this." That's not what happened.
No, that's not what happened. That's not what happened.
Then you live in a very special kind of world.
Well, let Destiny. What did happen?
Is people from Trump's group? Remember the Kraken? I know you guys like the mind wipe and memory hole, all the stupid shit these people said.
Oh yeah, I remember the Kraken.
Trump's surrogate,
but that didn't happen when
evidence of voter fraud, and they presented this to state legislatures and to city councils and on TV and on Trump's fucking social media, and then the media looked into it.
That was months after the story broke in the news. Destiny.
No.
It was literally a month and a half after the first iterations of election fraud. The Kraken wasn't even mentioned. It wasn't mentioned in November right after the election. It was late December when the Kraken was going to be released.
Before the election even happened, man.
Yes.
Okay, here. I have a question for Mr.
I could be wrong
Tarrio.
about
He's there. What's he doing? Is he walking around a lobby?
He's talking to somebody. He's in a lobby.
I don't know
That's
what he's
not
doing, man. But
That's not a green screen. He's in a
yeah,
lobby.
he's actually somewhere. No, give him what you got, Dev. Ask him the question.
Are you back? Yeah, you. Yeah,
you. Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening. Sorry.
Yeah, no problem. No, I have a question for you because earlier in the debate, you said something along the lines of that Trump didn't tell you to go there and he didn't tell you to do what you did, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. I decided to go look this up. I didn't want to say it without confirming it because that's not the kind of guy I am, but I decided to go look it up. You do realize that in your trial, the defense you gave was that Trump told you to go there, right?
No, that was on the closing arguments, and it was very clear. If you go ahead and you go through the transcripts of it, we're saying that we were there because of the event at the Ellipse, not because the president told me to stop the certification of the election. Those are two different things.
What your attorney said was Trump told these people that the election was stolen. Trump told them to go there on January 6th, and it was Trump with his speech on January 6th that unleashed this mob on the Capitol. That's what your lawyer said.
Okay, and if you keep reading through the context of that, he's saying that event being there, right, and switching over to and saying, hey, we're going to go to the Capitol, and I'm going to go through and say peacefully and patriotically, made everybody go over there, right? And that's what happened. It was a riot. Look, nobody disagrees. It was a riot. It was a riot that gone bad. But to go and say that it's an insurrection, it's bullshit. Come on, dude. Like things go bad, and it went bad. And look, there was a big no. Trump did not.
I get it, man. I get it. Things go bad, but Trump told you.
Trump said on December 19th that there was going to be a rally. I was already at the November one. I was at the December one, and I wasn't going to miss a January.
Can you answer the question real quick though, Dev? Can you ask it again, just directly? Just I want to get
because Trump did tell you to go there. Then you did say that.
Trump put together. So Trump put together. Trump said to be there on January 6th. Yes, I was there. I don't think anybody would disagree.
Cool. Okay.
He put the event together. He didn't tell me to go.
No voices in your head or anything?
Yes, there's no voices in my head telling me. Trump wasn't in my head telling me to go.
That whole Kraken thing, that started in November. Sidney Powell was fired in December by Trump.
Yeah, just real quick. Jezdiah from Pondering Politics for $10 says, a Wick fact-checked the fella in the upper right-hand corner. Powell publicly talked about releasing the Kraken on November 17th. So there you go.
So if we know that Trump was calling people there at least a month ahead of time, or around a month ahead of time, if we knew that he was telling people that the election had been stolen, that we had to fight like hell or we're going to lose our country, and then he sent a whole bunch of people to the Capitol.
Because that's what people believed at the time, yes. And I still believe that.
Because he told them, yes.
Because it's true.
Yes, because he told them, right? So what? And then a riot just happens to break out, I guess, since we're saying who could have possibly seen that. And then a riot breaks out. Why is it not until after Ashley Babbitt is shot and killed that Donald Trump finally tells people to go home?
You mean the person that you celebrated her death?
Why would him and Giuliani be making phone calls to congressmen telling them to change their electoral certification votes? Why wouldn't Trump call on the national?
Because they believe it was stolen and that they should. That's called lobbying. It happens every fucking day.
So it was an insurrection.
You lobby somebody to change their vote. Welcome to Congress. Why is there a whip? Why is there a whip in Congress? Why is there a whip in somebody that counts votes? It makes no sense.
You're just defining insurrection.
It's like you don't know how the fuck this thing works, and you're short-hearted because you know exactly how it works, and you're playing the fucking part. You're fucking
own it. You thought the election was stolen. You guys showed up.
Yes, I did think that the election was stolen, period. The election was stolen, period. Period. By you people. By you people. You people stole the election. That's it. That's what it is. You promoted the Steele dossier. You went ahead and you fucking went ahead and you demonized Trump's order for so fucking long.
If the election was stolen, there will be order in this court. There will be order in this court.
Win any of the cases, any of them. He lost every single
Ask the judge. Ask the judge.
Order in the court.
$10 from Ace Chrome Cheetah to say, kind of ironic, since for Tarrio, I'm sorry, I know I'm mispronouncing your name. Forgive me. For Tarrio to accuse Destiny of simping for the Justice Department, since there's evidence that he had been an informant for federal and local law enforcement, Were you
That
an
is correct.
informant for federal and local law enforcement?
Yes, I took down an entire sex trafficking ring in 2013. Yes, I put 30 people in fucking prison because they were a bunch of fucking pedophiles and sex traffickers. And if anybody has a problem with that, then I tell you what they're protecting, right? They're protecting fucking pedophiles and sex traffickers. So yes, I am very proud that I put 30 fucking people in prison and 2 of them are serving life terms. And I do it again. And every time that I find somebody that does some type of sexual assault shit or some sex crimes, like my buddy up there, Destiny, we'll put them in prison. And you know what happens to people like Destiny in prison? It's not nice. It's
you know
not
how they
nice.
say like 30
It's not nice.
So you know how
See,
they
I
say
think
like
you're
basically
misunderstood,
Batman.
by the way.
You know
You
how
got
they say
fucking
like
civil lawsuits.
Hold on,
you know how they say
You
36
better hope you
federal-
never go to prison.
We gotta
When
let
they
You know what they
say
do to
36
sex
Go ahead.
when they say
offenders in
36
prison?
feds, when they say 36, probably shit that you enjoy, I'm sure. When they said that 36 feds then were at the January 6th insurrection, you would have been counted among those, right? If you would have actually stayed overnight.
I mean, I guess if you want to count me in
No,
there,
you
yes.
could have
But
been,
I did
yeah,
not
but okay,
inform.
cool.
I went to
Just making
trial.
sure,
I did
that's
not
cool.
inform
All right,
on
yeah, just
anybody
making sure. All
on
right.
January
Right.
6th. You know what I did? I strapped my fucking balls in and I sat there with my fucking brothers and I went to trial and I got offered a sweetheart deal to lie about the president and I took 22 in the face. And you'd never do that for any of your friends. You'd
Right.
fucking
That's
throw them
cool.
under the
You
bus.
did the Roger
You'd
Stone
throw
meme.
them
You
under the
kept your
bus
mouth
the first
shut.
chance
You
you
didn't
get.
say shit. That's crazy. So did you just admit that you had stuff that you could have given about Donald Trump or Roger Stone or whoever the fucking
I don't
freaks
know.
you were talking
I
to
thought
on
you
that
were.
day and
I thought you
decided
were
not
versed
to
in all of
because you were
this.
gonna get
I thought you were
rewarded
versed in
for it
all
by
of this. I
Donald
thought you were the
Pardon?
professional.
That's great.
You
Thanks.
read
That's the
shit
new
on
thing
the
I can add to my
internet,
fucking dossier.
right?
I read your
Yes, they
indictment.
try to make
I
me
read the
fucking
filings in
lie.
court where you
Yes,
got convicted
yes,
of seditious
yes.
conspiracy. for the
Wick, you're
first
You know
time.
welcome.
what? I
How many
hope.
fucking
I
years
hope
in this
one
country?
day. I hope one
Unbelievable.
day
Yeah,
that
keep
you get
hoping.
persecuted for your
Yep.
fucking views and you go to prison
Yep.
because
Well, if my
people like
views
you
are that I should
don't
get to
survive
insurrect the
prison.
government because I'm too
People
fucking
like you
retarded
don't
to read a
survive
voter roll
prison,
because I'm too fucking
right?
retarded to
They'll
not fall
put
for
the
fake
balls
news
off
on
and put them
Twitter.
inside
I
your
hope I
mouth
go to
and you'll be
prison
found
too,
in the
okay?
shower.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
sure. Is that what you would be doing in prison? Is that what
okay.
You'll
you
be
would
found
do all the time?
in the shower.
Hold on, we gotta
Okay,
we
hold
gotta
on.
take it from a we gotta take it from an 11. We gotta bring it down to like an 8. Okay, just that's all I'm
Okay. So
saying. Okay?
just
I
real
want
quick.
my- I
Let
want
me know
my
when you
channel-
want 11 again.
I want
Actually,
my channel
I wanna
to
talk about what you
remain
just said. I wanna talk-
monetized. That's all I'm saying. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
I kind of
mine
want
too,
to
I-
about what you
you
just
know.
said because you mentioned that
Speaking of monetized,
you
So
had
go ahead, Dev. Go ahead, Dev, please.
you had put away some pedophiles in 2013, which you got, good job, by the way. Fair enough. With that being said, why do you still support Trump considering that he's obviously in the Epstein files?
This is a red herring. What the fuck? Let's get back to the topic. Dev or Destiny, can either of you guys answer, like, out of the thousands of people that showed up that day, can you prove that they were all there because Trump directed them there? Do you have any proof of that?
Because I got a whole lot of proof. A lot of people were talking about the election being stolen and didn't
Think
need
he
Trump to tell
froze.
them shit.
How could we possibly prove that? What kind of proof are you looking for?
There you go.
That's
You made
your
the claim.
allegation. Hold on. You made the claim.
Sorry, guys,
It's
I'm
on
back.
you.
I got disconnected.
Well,
You're
so
fine.
if a guy were to say, "I want 10 people to come to my house,"
Don't ask me a
tomorrow
question.
night,
Answer
if
my
I'm
question.
answering you, fucking retard. Let me finish
Let
speaking. Okay,
Destiny
I'm
No, that's
sorry.
not an
This is
answer.
more
That's
than
not a
7
fucking
words.
answer.
You get fucking-
I asked if
I
you have
say-
proof.
fucking angry
if
You
out.
have proof. It's yes
if
or
I
no.
say
You get
10
yes or
people-
no.
Oh,
Hey,
angry
fruitcake,
out.
shut the fuck up and let me finish. If I say 10 people come to my house tomorrow and 10 people show up at my house, maybe 11 or 12, maybe somebody brings a friend,
10
and you
dudes
say,
to
"Can
go
you
to your house."
better than 10 dudes come into your mouth, you disgusting fuck, okay? You're telling me that I can't prove. How am I supposed to prove that every
You're
single
the
person
only one
that
that
showed up was there
sucked dick in here,
because of
bro.
shit? Maybe on camera.
Let him
okay?
answer this.
Phil,
Hold on,
all
hold on.
right?
Let
Yeah,
him
let me ask the
respond
fucking
to your
question,
question,
okay?
and
Let me
then you
answer the
can
question,
respond.
okay?
Crazy.
Let me ask the question. It's not crazy. I know it sucks. Dealing in the world of fact is hard for you motherfuckers, okay? How are you possibly supposed to prove that every single person shows up because, like, Donald Trump, he announced the event and people showed up for the event and he was a speaker for the event and then they went there protesting under his name? I think it's safe to say that the vast majority of them, 99%, showed up because of him.
Is
Okay,
that
that's a total
unreasonable?
But I
dodge
didn't.
on my
Hold on.
question.
My
That's a
invitation
total
did not
fucking
say
dodge.
insurrection.
Just real quick.
My
just real
my
quick.
invitation
Hold on,
said, "Hey,
just real
come
quick.
come to a rally."
Just real quick. I want to make sure Kung Fu Joe, did that answer your question? Why or why not?
Fuck no. No,
Okay.
it didn't. That was a total fucking
Well,
dodge.
here,
That's
you know
just
what?
like,
In that
oh,
case,
don't you
in that
think?
case, Renee
Don't you
Good
think? Don't you
deserved
think?
to get
I asked
punished
you very
out of the way.
straightforward.
Kung Fu Joe, I'll answer for you.
Right,
if you
right,
don't mind.
Destiny?
I'll give you a hand.
Because your people are hyping up this whole
Okay.
ICE thing. So by your own account, Renee Good, it was good that she got shot in the face, that she deserved it, right?
Why would I say that?
Because of how you framed everything right now is, well, the president told everybody to go there but he never pointed at anybody, but now you're demonizing ICE and now the same thing happened on the other side.
Wait, he
Because
literally
you said the
pointed
same
at the
thing about
Capitol.
Ashley Babbitt. You said the same thing about Ashley Babbitt.
Was trying to break into a secured area where there were congressmen at the other end of the hallway.
Well, Renee Good tried to run over an ICE agent, and she got popped in the face.
She was trying to escape the scene. It's very obvious. She was trying to
run over.
Very obvious. She was trying to.
And she wasn't even armed. At least the other one was armed with a fucking Honda.
Babbitt was trying to get away from an Antifa member named Zachary Alam. That's why she punched him in the face before going through the window.
That's really.
Yeah, really. His name is Zachary Alam. Yeah, he was an Antifa member. He broke the window that she crawled through. She was trying to get away from
and she was forced the entire way. I heard there were 3 Antifa people that carried her all the way to the front of that protest, and they were all pushing her through that window. That's crazy, bro. That's insane. How many Antifa? It's so crazy that we've got thousands of different angles of video footage and everything else, and the best thing you could do is the Zach dude and Ray Epps. It's crazy how many instigators there were that just aren't on camera for some reason. It's crazy that Enrique Tarrio here never mentioned anything about an instigator forcing the Proud Boys to go there. Isn't that kind of weird? It's kind of crazy, huh?
You can stop freaking out, and I can address the Antifa thing. Landon Copeland, an Antifa member, he actually gave a signed confession saying there were hundreds of Antifa there that he met with before.
Who?
Landon Copeland.
No, who the fuck asked, retard? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. She tried to climb through the window on her own. We can all see it on fucking video footage. Nobody's pushing her fat retarded fucking ass through the fucking window. You're retarded. Sorry. Done. You're done.
Okay. Was she more dangerous than the woman driving the car?
I want to give Dev wanted to answer Kung Fu's question. If we can get back to that for a moment, go ahead, Dev. Answer the question if you'd like.
Just refresh my
memory.
Do you remember
the question?
What was your question? Go ahead.
I want to know that if he has proof of like what percentage of people showed up there because Trump told them to be there.
So I can't give you a percentage.
Trump announced the event.
So you can't.
No. Hear me out. Because Trump did announce the event. Yes, he announced it several times on social media, and also more importantly, he retweeted. This got like over 100,000 likes. He retweeted Ivan Raiklin's tweet, where Ivan Raiklin said, "America, Mike Pence must do this tomorrow to defend our Constitution from our enemies. Big tech censorship, MSM censorship, corrupt officials at the federal, state, and local levels." And then it says, go to the, so yes, he's promoting these things. He's retweeting these things. At least some people who saw that ended up going. Yes, there's a connection.
You don't know how many. You don't know how many.
Hold on. Just let me ask you this.
More than zero?
Kung Fu Joe.
Obviously, yes.
Just real quick.
There were plenty of other motivations for people to be there than Trump.
Yes, but Kung Fu Joe, can you just acknowledge that perhaps at least a majority were probably there because Trump invited him? Can we just infer that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely
Why
not.
not?
I think there's plenty of.
Why is that unreasonable?
Because I have a list of reasons why it's unreasonable. There was a lot of expanded mail-in voting. That's sus. That's one. The heavy-handedness during COVID under Democrats mostly. This list is things that mostly Democrats are responsible for. So in a way, you could say Democrats were responsible for January 6th because they pissed off a lot of fucking people. They pissed off a lot of people.
So,
changes to election procedures without legislative approval, restricted poll watcher access in some urban counting centers, high voter turnout, and record vote totals. Are you going to tell me that all these other things on top of like a year of COVID, like heavy-handedness, is not going to make people suspicious, right, of the Democratic Party when they were pushing
we're not asking
the hardest?
Why are they suspicious of the Democratic Party? We're asking how many do you think, and you don't have to give us an exact number, percentage-wise, showed up because Donald Trump announced an event and said, come to this event?
Actually, let me ask you this, okay? So, Kung Fu Joe, are you aware that Turning Point USA was in contact with the Trump campaign to actually facilitate bringing people to DC for the event? And Charlie Kirk himself said this. He said that they were busing people in to attend this fucking event. How is that not them being brought in directly by Trump?
My point is that there are thousands upon thousands of people there, right? And the thing that you guys are alleging is that they're all there because of Trump. I'm
never
saying
said
that's
all.
bullshit. We don't fucking know that. I
never said all.
What?
Right.
Okay, you can't even put a percent. Okay, put a percentage on it. What do you think it is? Can you even put a percentage on it? Honestly, no. You have no way of fucking knowing that.
Of course, if Donald Trump had made the calls to be there, if Donald Trump had made the calls to be there, the people wouldn't have shown up.
They're
Bullshit.
pissed anyway, dude.
I would have.
Absolutely
A lot of
bullshit.
people would stop.
Absolute
Stop.
fucking
Stop.
bullshit.
They were,
Stop,
you keep saying
stop,
this,
stop.
They were
Hold
pissed
up.
anyway. They were
I could
pissed because
talk.
of
I could
lies that
speak
Donald
from
Trump was
experience
telling.
here.
They were pissed because of
I
lies
could
that
speak
Donald
from
Trump was
experience
spreading.
here.
Yes.
Destiny, you
Go
don't
ahead.
know what the fuck you're talking about. Even if Donald Trump
then
didn't say
tell me one
anything,
lie.
he said
Tell me
on
one lie
November
then.
14th,
Yeah.
November
Time, baby,
14th and
shut the fuck up.
December 12th was not promoted by Trump, and there was tens of thousands of people on the ground on DC without Trump saying a fucking word. So we
Thank
could stop.
you.
We could cut that shit off. We could cut that shit
Yeah.
off. That
Bunch of
has no
bullshit.
merit. That has no merit whatsoever.
I also think it's,
And
I
he
still think
needs
it's
that. He
completely
needs
beside
that
the
as
point,
part of
because
his narrative. It's part of his
It's still-
narrative. He needs that. He can't prove it.
Destiny
ignores
already.
the
Look,
fact that
I'm
you
counting
You guys
them here.
literally already said
Destiny-
nobody even knew about the January 6th date until Trump called people to protest there. A November 14th protest on the night of the election. Makes
People were
sense.
talking about this all over the place, independent of Trump, and they were pissed about
No.
the stolen election. Trump
No.
said, "Oh, I'm upset about,
Yeah.
or we're worried about mail-in voting," and everybody's like, "Oh, well, let's keep an eye on that." And then, wouldn't you know it, a bunch of mail-in fraud. We're all like, "Oh, now we know what to look
But
for."
there
Now
was
you're
no
like,
mail-in
"Holy
fraud,
shit,
right?
we're
Never
only
found
there
any of that
because
mail-in
Trump came
fraud,
down."
right?
Okay,
Oh,
so
they
just real
found
quick,
it.
$10
Goodness
from
knows.
Josiah, pondering politics, to say multiple convicted January 6ers and many who pled guilty said they were there and did what they did for Trump. Check the court records. Dev can probably quote it verbatim.
Can I address that? Because
Go ahead,
Um,
address
yes.
it, please.
that's what's called it. People do that during what's called an allocution. It's basically throwing yourself at the mercy of the court. It's basically, I'm sorry, I was a bad boy. When it comes to federal sentencing, you have a sentencing guideline based on an arbitrary number system. If you accept responsibility for your crime, you typically get a 3-point reduction in your sentence. But if you show no remorse, then you can get a 3-point enhancement. It might sound arbitrary, it is, but that's a 6-point difference in your sentencing, and that can be a huge disparity in how much time you do. And especially when you consider most of these guys were like blue collar guys, or they had wives and families to get home to. They were trying to do whatever they could to get home the soonest. It's also why even more people took plea deals than actually put the government to its burden at trial.
It's a humiliation ritual, not law.
Yep.
It is.
So it's not a humiliation.
Yes, it is when you're
ritual.
doing forced
And an
wait,
allocation
you know what?
statement. And an
I wanna
allocation. An
ask-
allocution
I wanna
statement.
ask-
No. When you're doing a
hold on.
forced-
Blame on somebody
Let
else.
Destiny respond to this. Destiny,
Trying
go
to
ahead,
put the
please.
blame
I
on
wanna
somebody
ask
else
a
is like the opposite
Yeah,
point of a
after
fucking
Destiny
allocution
responds,
statement. The
okay.
whole point of allocution is that you're supposed to show you're taking responsibility for whatever the fuck else. So if you were to do an allocution statement, you would say, "Well, it was just because of Donald Trump," the whole fucking time.
Welcome to
You're
DC.
probably-
Welcome to the DC circuit. Yeah,
83%
welcome to the federal
blue.
circuit in Washington,
So if-
D.C., where they want you to
Yeah,
throw Trump
of
under the bus.
course.
There was a snitch in the
Oh,
jail
of
with me
course.
named Tom Civic.
Yeah.
He got released on bond because he wrote a letter to the judge saying, "I'm sorry, I supported Trump. I'm Antifa now. I'm a good boy. I
True,
won't
I'm
watch
sure.
Fox
I'm
News."
sure.
And
Yeah,
they
all
let
those
him out.
corrupt judges, all the Antifa, Transtifa.
Why
yeah,
didn't they?
bro.
Why didn't they charge people in their hometown? Destiny.
Can I ask a question here?
Why didn't they charge people in their
Hold
hometown?
on,
Why would you
just real
charge
quick,
people because the
quick.
crime happened
I'm
in
giving
DC?
you
Hold on,
his name.
quick,
Look it up.
quick.
I'm giving you his name. Tom Civic. Look it up. I don't need to make this up. I have enough experience with this. I'm not making it up. I'm giving you a defendant's name. It actually happened. Look it up. Actually, according to NPR, yeah, but well, look it up. Tom Civic wrote a letter. His judge released him out on bond. His restrictions were that he couldn't watch Fox News and far right content. But yeah, he was saying that we were cult members in the jail because we sang the national anthem at night. Yeah, that's what they expected. It was a humiliation ritual. Suck it.
Yeah. So I got a question for Destiny here. Since he said that, I got tried by a member of my jury, I want to go back in a time machine really quick, and I want to give him the same example, and I want to see if he feels the same way. Pre-civil rights era, and even after civil rights era, in the South, specifically in Alabama, there was a lot of black African-American defendants that got sentenced to not life in prison, they got sentenced to death. And they went to trial, and ever since then, a lot of them have been overturned. But because the reason why they were overturned, it was because it was a white racist jury as members of the jury, which were clearly, and they had said that they hate N-words. So in that case, can you say that those people that got death sentences in the state, we'll focus on the state of Alabama, would you say that they got fair trials too?
I would say probably not.
Okay.
Do you have evidence that the jury came out and was making statements like, "I hate all Trump supporters and I'm going to convict all Trump supporters," or?
Destiny, I have a couple of those exampps that are worse. When the judge in my case asked, and 3 individuals did the same
I
exact
asked for the
thing.
jury. Did any of the jury come out and say anything like this?
Did the jury? Yes, they did. As a matter of
the jury
fact,
came out and said that we hate all Trump
dude,
supporters.
listen. No, they said worse than that. They
Okay.
asked, do you know about Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys? And they said yes. Do you have strong feelings towards Enrique Tarrio and the Proud Boys? Yes. What are those strong feelings, and describe them? Nazis, anti-Semitic, racist, all sorts of things. Okay. Based on those strong feelings, can you, as a member of the jury, judge this case, set those feelings aside and judge this case by the evidence and the evidence alone? Do you know what those three people said? They said no.
Yes.
They said no.
Oh.
They said no. And the very next day,
thrown out.
we did. We tried. Believe me, when somebody says that, we did try. The very next day and the day after that, those three members of the juries were put right back on the stand and asked the same question. And if you've ever been in that position, the judge sits on a podium this tall with a black robe, very menacing, and asks, "Are you sure?" And all three of them said yes the very next day. After already saying no, they said hard no. There wasn't no ifs, ands, or maybes. And they were allowed to sit in my trial. During the trial, the foreman of the jury, we protest Drag Queen Story Hour all the time. We asked if he was politically active. He said no. After the trial, actually months after the trial, months after my sentencing, we find out that this gentleman puts together Drag Queen Story Hours in the DC area, an area known for Proud Boys protesting Drag Queen Story Hour, and specifically one of his events. So people can hate me all they want, but the process wasn't fair. And this happened many, many, many times over. So I'd encourage you to rethink your position when it comes to
I'm going to
my conviction.
I'm going to let Destiny and Dev respond to that. And then I have Josiah really wants me to read these out. So once Destiny and Dev respond to that, I'm going to read something from Pondering Politics, Josiah, and then that's the order we'll go into. Go ahead.
Well, I'm trying to find information about this Thomas Sibick guy who assaulted the police officer.
Yomsibick.
No, yeah, but are you saying you're saying that he got out on bond because he wrote some letter saying that he was Antifa now or whatever?
I said Antifa facetiously. He said he was no longer a conservative or Trump supporter. He was a liberal, and that was I believe it should have been September. Would have been in September of 2021. He wrote a letter
to find this letter or whatever.
I can look it up. Hold on.
While you guys are looking that up, so here's what Josiah has to say. He says, Tarrio said Trump had nothing to do with the November 14th, 2020 Million MAGA March. But here he is, the day before, hyping it up and saying he'd show up. And he made an appearance with his motorcade. The tweets he's referring to is on the 13th of November, 2020. He says, heartwarming to see all the tremendous support out there, especially the organic rallies that are springing up all over the country, including a big one on Saturday in D.C. I may even try to stop by and say hello. This election was rigged from Dominion all the way up and down. And then he also, that's what he says on the 13th of November.
Hey guys, sorry to cut in here. And sorry to cut in on your thing. I got to run. I got another event that I got to go to. I really got to say, I appreciate you for putting this together. I appreciate my brother, Tim Hale, everybody else on this. Destiny, thank you for being here. Dev, thank you guys. Appreciate you. I'll be back. If you guys want to do this again, I'm open.
Okay. Have a great day. Thank you for coming.
Keep in touch with yourself.
I will touch myself.
No, not on screen.
Take it deep. Hey, I got a link to that letter. I'm trying to put it in a chat, but it's not pulling up. Can I do the screen share, or is that what I should do? Or
send me the link and I will put it on screen.
Alrighty.
Just DM it to me directly, please.
You got it.
And now he freezes.
I'm opening it up.
Hamster internet at its best.
I'm going to share. What am I looking at here?
Oh, that's the handwritten.
Walk me through it.
Back up there.
Yeah, see it on screen. You should be able to read.
Yeah, if you don't see it, click on the share button, bro. Or view stream or something.
Read it, Wick.
Okay. This is from Julie Kelly. There's one get out of jail free card. Write a letter to Trump loathing judge like Amy Berman Jackson condemning Trump and have the defense lawyer accuse January 6 detainees of acting like cult members. Tom Civic, charged with same crimes as many others in D.C. Gitmo, first detainee. And this is, he writes, it's cursive. Give me a second. Your Honor, my name is Thomas Civic. In an attempt to provide an understanding of who I am, I felt compelled to write because my conduct on January 6th was unequivocally an aberration of the high moral standards I hold myself to. What happened at the United States Capitol that day does not provide an adequate representation of my character. Although I strive for excellence, I will be the first to admit that I am not perfect. My life has been full of joyful times, However, there have been a fair share of growing pains, none more significant than what I am currently experiencing. The shame, dishonor, and regret endured are without question the worst emotions ever experienced. I disagree with what occurred that fateful day, especially the trauma suffered by Officer Michael Ferrone? I'm not sure the name. It is without question unconscionable. January 6th was a disgrace to our nation that felt a sea of, I don't know this word, Trump is ultimately responsible for, but we are strong and will heal from it. While many praise Trump, I loathe him. His words and actions are nefarious, causing pain and harm to the world. He is not a leader and should be ostracized from any political future. What he honestly needs to do is go away. Throughout my incarceration, I have had ample time for self-reflection, which has enabled me to grow and become more cognizant of my being, ultimately having a profound impact on my core values. I have vowed to never attend another political protest in my life. That was my first and last. In addition, I will never allow myself to be consumed by the mob mentality. It is dangerous and undoubtedly out of character. I give irrefutable assurance to the court that if I am released, I will without hesitation abide by any and all conditions set forth. All I desire is peace, reconciliation, and unity. We must all work together to build back a better nation. And sincerely, Thomas Civic.
And then what was the date for this letter?
Filed. It was filed on October 18th, 2021. I don't.
Yeah, there was. It would have been sometime. I believe it was in September that he was.
I don't see a date.
He was a jailhouse snitch, so he was gathering information on people. He ended up going to the hole for sexually assaulting another man, and then he got bailed. Funny enough,
it's a yikes.
A big yikes.
It's a yikes.
As long as he renounced his own feelings and thoughts and paid tribute to the left.
So what? I'm just out of my curiosity, and maybe I got lost reading that. What was the point of the letter? Like what? Where?
So his claim was that this guy was able to get out on bond. So this doesn't mean that he got out of any charges or anything, but because he wrote a letter saying he hated Trump and he's Antifa, or he threw Trump under the bus, basically. It sounds like he's writing a letter to try to say that he's not a public threat anymore, and he recognizes the wrong of his actions, and he's not going to, I guess, try to be a threat. He's just trying to get out on bond. He's not escaping his actual court case.
It also served a secondary purpose of framing those of us who were still in there as creating a radicalized environment. So another part of this is the pleadings of his lawyer, who was saying that because we had a tradition in the jail of singing the national anthem at 9:00 every night, it created a toxic environment, and he was being bullied and compelled to sing the anthem. And the judge wanted to save him from this toxic environment, and she appreciated that he was going out of his way to avoid radicalism. So that was that. He did end up getting a lower sentence than his co-defendants. Head.
Well, fuck, dude, you shouldn't have rioted then.
What's that?
You shouldn't have rioted then.
What's that in response to?
Every single thing that I've heard for the past 5 minutes. Like, I don't care about the sob story. You were there. You fucked up. You should still be in jail.
You talking about him?
What do you?
Yeah, I mean,
well,
I'm
so,
talking
yeah,
about
so
you.
I'm just
It's actually
curious. Who
solving the
initially
problem.
who
Well, I
published this?
mean-
How did they get this letter? Who published this letter?
Well,
It's
that's a
in
court
Pacer,
filing.
dude.
If you look, you could see the case file number at the top of the letter. So it usually would go on something like
Oh, so if you
Pacer
write a
or
letter for
Corpus.
bond or whatever, it'll be a part of your court proceedings. Okay. just
Yeah,
curious.
yeah.
Okay, gang, we are kind of circling the drain just a little bit here, just a little bit. Is there anything like that you guys think that we haven't covered yet that we should?
I have a
in
question
regards
for
to things?
Dev.
Oh, go ahead.
So,
please.
so Dev, I've been thinking on this a lot, and it seems like obviously this is a controversial issue. It's hot. Would you agree that anybody who was nonviolent in either the J6 or the BLM or any just politically motivated, we just say, guess what? If you were in a politically motivated thing, we value free speech. We don't like people getting run over. We know things can run hot. So anybody that hits a cop, burns a building down, breaks something, okay, we're not putting that in this bucket. But would you agree to like a universal, if you were nonviolent, you didn't break anything, everybody get pardoned on that? Is it an untenable position for you?
Yeah, it's retarded because there's lots of nonviolent crime. What are you talking about?
All
Like
right, I have
trespassing
you
is a nonviolent
covered.
crime. You should be charged with that.
All right, I understand your crazy position.
How is that
crazy to
fucking
charge?
crazy?
Wait, is it crazy to charge for nonviolent crimes?
It's crazy to try to say that we value political protests and that we're going to turn a blind eye on some of it, and we're not going to have a threshold that we're going to apply across everyone.
Well,
and generally, I've been out there talking to a lot of fucking people during the last election cycle. I knocked on 7,000 doors. I've talked to tons of people, and nobody thinks it's okay to hit a cop. Nobody thinks it's okay to disrupt an election where you think something went wrong. Nobody thinks that's okay. And the one sort of plan that virtually every moderate would go for this plan, by the way. And even most of the folks on the extreme say, well, you know, we want to have civilian participation in government. We don't want to shut this down. We want to be able to have speech. Why don't we try to be soft? Because this is the argument on the BLM riots. There wasn't the same level of follow-up on those, for all of those nonviolent ones. So what you're saying is, fuck the right, but the left gets a free pass. And you don't want that because you think it's crazy.
I'm not
okay,
saying
I
that.
get it. You think it's crazy.
I'm not saying
you just
that,
said the
dude.
policy was crazy. And I explained how it would apply and how it benefit each side. And now you're saying it's not crazy. That's great.
Yeah, listen, just because your specific idea is stupid does not mean that I'm saying the left has a free pass, all right? I think that all trespassers should be charged with trespassing.
Decouple that.
What do you
My
mean?
pardon idea is stupid. How?
Because you're saying that there should just be a blanket pardon for all nonviolent crimes. No, there shouldn't be.
So
If
the
you
FBI has been
trespassed-
following up on
No, no,
J6
let-
for like
let-
4
let me
years.
answer it. Let me answer it.
Dev,
Let me
go
answer
ahead,
it.
please.
So if you trespassed, you should be charged with trespassing. That means a whole bunch of people on J6 should have been charged with trespassing, and that's a good thing. But also, if there's like lefty protests where there's trespassing happening, charge them too.
Yeah, if they knew that they were trespassing and they qualified for the mens rea, yeah. But it's again, I feel like a lot of this is people just kind of memory holing the fact that it developed into a riot because the crowds were attacked.
No.
Why were the crowds attacked?
Hold
Why
on.
were they
Wait.
being attacked?
Were the crowds attacked before Dominic broke into the Capitol?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what led him up there, actually. There was a northwest scaffolding area that people poured into, and then I actually have video showing that you had people warning the police saying, hey, if you keep shooting through the scaffolding through the tarps, people are going to have one direction to go, and that's up because they were bottlenecked.
People poured into the northwest near that scaffolding. People were pouring into an area that they weren't supposed to be in.
Northwest scaffolding was an open area that people went into because they had nowhere else to go. Yeah, they poured up there.
They couldn't go back.
They could have gone
where they came from.
The amount of people,
do you run
when
into
the cops were
pepper
shooting at you?
balls?
Yeah, do you want me to show you some video of what the cops were doing?
To people that were trying
I
to
don't think I
break
can
into
handle
the
it.
Capitol,
I wanna
right?
see the
They
video.
were trying to break into the
Absolutely.
Capitol, right?
No,
Why
because
they were
there was
so the
supposed to
only
I know what you're
direction they
talking
could
about.
go was forward.
Listen.
Hold on, wait. So just to be clear, you have video showing that the crowd of people that was on their way to the scaffolding was so dense they couldn't just turn around and walk away when the cops are saying, "Hey, don't come here." You talked about mens rea earlier. Don't you think it's a decent state of mind to know you're not supposed to be in an area if a cop is saying, "Hey, go back"?
Hey,
They're
you're
shooting
assuming a lot of
behind you.
things there.
What do
Like
you
the
do?
cops are saying, "Hey, go back." You know, a riot was actually declared before they used any PA system to actually tell people that it was a restricted area. And like I said, and I'm not look, we can get into the Proud Boy thing, which you're incorrect about, but the barriers were removed from the outside, meaning people like me show up a half hour later not knowing there's a restricted area. So, Wick, I just sent you a
They
video.
were
I
removed
got
by
it. It's
by
up.
previous rioters, though.
Let's roll with
Okay.
it. Let's
Let's
roll
see
that
what
beautiful bean footage.
Let's see what it has to say.
Yeah, those guys are violent. Look at that. Yeah, hold
Lots
that
of room
cell
to
phone
walk
like that.
backward, though. They could just go home.
Yep, those are hardcore criminals right there.
What am I looking for here? Just FYI.
Terrible. We're looking at
I
how violent
apologize
they
for
are.
the sound quality. I had to record this in the jail using a Discovery laptop off
Yeah,
of
what am I
an
looking
evidence
for? Yeah.
tablet. You have to listen. Basically, this guy right here in the well, I guess it's a Carhartt. I don't know what that is, but with the black face mask, he's telling the cops as he's watching it that when they're shooting. So there's this northwest scaffold and it's covered in a tarp. When people go in there for cover so they don't get sprayed or shot at, the cops start shooting through the tarp and they start
Okay,
hitting
I
random
can't.
people.
I'm gonna be real with you. I can't hear a thing this guy's saying.
Okay, so if you pull up the tweet that it's from, it actually I wrote out the transcript there.
So
And
I do know where this is, and like this is at the third barricade. You do realize like the crowd has already gone through 2 barricades at this point, right?
I'm aware of that, yeah. But what I'm
So they
what I'm
shouldn't
trying
they
to
shouldn't even
relay.
be here then, right? They shouldn't be
But
here.
what I'm
They're trespassing?
instead of jumping ahead, let's rewind. What did I say? People
did you say?
didn't know it was a restricted area. People didn't know they weren't allowed to be there. I showed up, for instance, a half hour after those barriers, the first 2 were taken down, right? So a lot of people are there with different mindsets and different perspectives of what's happening. I have my cell phone footage, and it shows that we're just standing around singing "God Bless America." I had no idea there was any breach at all. And so when they start shooting at people, not even at agitators specifically, but in the middle of the crowd, when they start body slamming old ladies with riot shields, people get incensed. Not saying January 6th was good. What I'm saying is there's a broader context here for people who had no idea.
I understand. But I have a question about your situation though. So when you went through those first 2 overturned barricades, you didn't think to yourself, "Hey, something's going on here"?
I didn't see barricades. That's the problem. There were so many people there. It was like an ocean of people. I didn't see any barricades. And keep in mind, for the first crew that came through, a lot of them were removed. They actually threw some over like these stone walls that were through the walkways that connected Peace Circle to the West Terrace. So if you weren't looking for it, you very often were not going to see it. I mean,
Okay.
there's no other explanation than that. I mean, that's the truth.
Yeah,
Nobody
let's
wants
see
to hear
what. Yeah, Dev gave me some video too. Let's see. And Dev, what am I looking for here?
Oh, we're just gonna watch it. Just play it for a few
Okay.
seconds. We're good. Yeah. Turn on the audio too. Yeah.
49 hours declaring it a riot.
So this is them breaching the third barricade.
Cal Police 1 advised they're trying to breach and get into the Capitol.
Yeah, third barricade's down. And they've now broken in. I mean, like, the entire narrative about this event on the right is fucking ridiculous, guys. This is not some peaceful protest.
Easy for you to say because you're conflating a bunch of shit, and this is what you've gotten away with years, is just using a bunch of compilations and shit. This is what the J6 committee did. This is what they did at the trials. They create these giant compilations, and they create a grand narrative and ignore the individual experience. I mean, like, so for instance, the second clip is on the east side of the Capitol. That's where Pam Hempfield was rushing the police. That has nothing to do with what happened on the west side. You have the northwest scaffolding, what I just talked about, the third thing. The Senate wing door area. There are different individuals involved in these things, and there's a sequence for how this happened. The first thing, how do you think it got to that point? Again, that's the area of the front of the northwest scaffolding, the first part. I don't know if I can be heard.
Yeah, you can be heard, but I'm just curious.
Okay.
Like, to me, it's looking like the people here are attacking the cops. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, and I can provide some context for that. And I'm not defending
what is the
attacking the
context?
cops, but
What is the context? Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. What's the context?
I'm trying to find a clip that I could show you that would enlighten the audience a little, especially for a lot of the people that I was locked up with. Basically, along that front end there, along the front west terrace, you have police who are using excessive force on people who are along that police line, right? So for quite a while, before that first perimeter collapses, you have people who are coming up to the barricade. Maybe they're chanting some stupid stuff or whatever, the waving flags. But a lot of them are trying to talk to the police. What you have is people like Padilla, for instance, Jose Padilla. He gets bashed over the head with riot batons to the point where he blacks out 4 different times. You have people like Jeffrey McKelliff, who was there at the front in the first clip. You see that area. That's the front. That's the west terrace, right? He's there peacefully protesting, and then he sees an old woman get smacked down with a riot shield. Right? This incenses people. These are grown men. They're seeing old women being attacked. I have video of people. Michael Curgio, I have video from him. People were getting hit with gases. Weren't even
Can
close.
you just play from here and then Tim, I want you to tell me if you see anything that this goes through that you disagree with for how they're characterizing stuff. Also, just the scaffolding that you're talking about at the northwest part or whatever.
Okay. You watching? Everyone got it? Everyone good? Everyone eyeballs on? Ears up? Okay.
Of Biggs's arrival, over a dozen Proud Boys are now trained on that entrance. And they attack the police. They've unleashed.
Is this the scaffolding?
Again.
Yeah.
Okay,
this
so
white
for
area
the
here,
scaffolding, this is where the police are being attacked for them to gain entrance to this area. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, this is the white area here. This goes around. This is like a construction site. They're getting ready for the inaugural address. All right, so people pour into here. Okay, and when
after the cops are attacked, here,
cops start shooting through the right here, this tarp here. All right.
Okay. After people are breaking in because they're attacking the cops to fight through this, yes.
And a lot of them are pouring in there because they're getting sprayed and maced.
You ready for me to continue?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
Kicking off a fierce 20-minute battle for the scaffolding. It's the closest yet the mob has come to the lawmakers inside, who are still in session. Again, Proud Boys stay at the front. When police start using weapons here, Joe Biggs retreats again with a small team. They stand to the side and watch from the lawn. Some of them peel off and head for the east side of the Capitol, where Biggs will meet them later.
So pause for a sec. So where is this video footage of the cops just randomly shooting tear gas or whatever into the crowd, where an area hasn't already been breached, or there aren't people who are literally fighting with cops?
First, I just sent Wick. I sent you a video of them body slamming an old woman.
Okay.
And then,
give me a second. What's the timestamp on this so we know? 1309. I'm gonna have to juggle here. Well, you know what? I can just open 2 different tabs. Duh. Okay.
Go.
Wait, real quick. Can you go back for a second? Did that lady run up and shove the cop? Is that what just happened? I just want to make sure I saw that clearly.
Let's watch.
Did she walk up and shove the guy forward? Yeah, just checking.
Yeah, let's watch.
Okay.
She comes up. They shove each other.
No, she shoves that cop back. Yep, and is standing there in an area she knows she's not supposed to be, and she gets pushed back. That was the body. Was that the body slam? Or was that her getting pushed back? Is there another body slam, or?
I guess we'll find out. We got 15 seconds left. So.
Riot shield.
Well, she fucking deserved it, dude.
She's getting pushed back again, and she's fighting. This is our body slammed old person that you were getting so upset about. Okay.
I was getting so upset. I didn't even see that. I didn't get upset about that, but lots of other people did. Again,
gotcha.
Well, this is really interesting. What they're saying is really interesting, because that's the point that Mr. Tarrio was making to Destiny about the woman that was shot today or yesterday with the car, right? It's like, oh, well, this person drove into a cop and they got shot. Oh, good for them breaking rules, stupid games, stupid prizes, right? That's kind of what you're doing now. I feel like
hold on, real quick, Dev. Hey, Dev, can I ask Dev a question?
What's up,
Dev? If the cops were to arrest that woman because she had, let's assume that one cop hadn't put himself in front of the vehicle. Let's say the cop asks her to get out and she flees the scene. If the cops had driven, followed the woman, and then arrested her eventually, do you think the cops would be in their right to do that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay, me too. Do you see the difference there? We have no problem admitting when somebody's doing something bad, and they probably should get arrested for it. So I don't know what the fuck your point is.
So right here, I'll say if this lady just pushed, she gets arrested.
Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, oh, cool. She got body slammed. Place to the game, place stupid prizes.
weapon.
I'll take both of them. What's the difference? Except she doesn't have a car. This lady couldn't hit the guy with the car. That's much more damaging. And we see
She's
the
trying
body
to
cam
break
video.
in a right. She's trying to push her way through where there's 10 cops saying, stop, don't come here. And she pushes her
And
way
there's 10
forward. She
cops,
assaults
right?
the cop.
And they took her down, right? Okay, cool. Stupid game, stupid prize. I'm okay with that, right? But whenever we apply that same logic over here to the other one, you're going, well, she didn't deserve getting shot. Like,
Yeah, because this lady didn't get shot. You see the difference?
Someone did get shot at this event, though, didn't they?
Eventually, somebody was climbing through who was climbing through a door to get the congressman where there was a guy
it's the same metric. See the double standard?
It's not really the same metric at all, though. It's not a double standard. It's two different standards for two different situations.
It's the same standard.
So just to be clear, just to go back, because this is all a fucking lie, because all you guys do is fucking lie, which is fine, I get it. This is the world we live in now. There is no video footage of cops randomly shooting off disbursement ordinance or any kind of pepper gas or whatever else randomly into crowds or whatever, and that's why everybody's coming forward. All of the fighting, all of this was happening before the cops were shooting anything, so that you can't possibly use that as blaming why the people were trying to break in. That was all just a lie.
By the way, Wick, I sent you a 7-second clip of literally state police Capitol Police rather, opening the barricade and waving people in. That could have confused at least some of the people that were there.
This was after the Capitol had already been breached.
So look, here's the thing. There are people that got charged showing up after it had been breached. So you moved the football.
Well, to be clear,
when a Capitol Police officer
quickly
waved forward.
Just real quick, Stream Rift, you haven't sent me anything. I have no DMs from you in the last hour.
I put it in the group chat, but I'll send it.
Okay, send it to me directly. This is something that Tim just sent to me. It's 28 seconds long. What are we looking for, Tim?
You're going to see the midget fella on the left with the bullhorn. The police attempt to shoot him through the face again like they did to Joshua Black, but it ricochets off someone's flag. I just want to provide more context to the kind of things that were happening between all the clips that people see.
Let me watch it. Yeah, let me watch it.
Yeah. Well, look, I work this week. I got a paycheck. I got to go fuck up my fellow brother. Yeah.
Where's the midget?
That's pretty much it for that.
Okay. That's terrible. That's crazy.
They should have shot more, dude. Disperse those crowds. Get them the fuck out of there.
Okay, and this is from Stream Rift. There's no audio on this that I can see.
I don't think there is. It's very brief. She's literally waving them in. Waving them in. How do you...
Oh, there is.
Yeah, come on in, guys. Come on in. We hear you.
I've seen this clip. Do you know what that is? Do you know, do you know what that is?
The Capitol Police waving them in.
Like 50 million times, but when you're
I want to believe my own
fucking
eyes.
Retarded shit.
No.
Yeah. Is this the vertical one where she's waving? Is this the one where she's waving at other cops? But this is cut vertically, and these guys don't know what aspect ratio is. Yeah, that's good. It's all right.
So I'm sure nobody there was confused.
It's got to be so nice to be propaganda for retards. Holy shit! It's like lying to a 3-year-old. Jesus.
And she's waving cops that are now behind the lines to come forward and go to the new line. Basically, she's not waving in protest.
So there's no way anybody would have been confused on that one. That's the fucking point. When the crowd is going in thinking that it's okay, and then you're waving them in. It leaves the impression
that no one. That's not what the debate is.
You're literally talking about it right now.
What's
give us
okay,
just as easy as anyone else could misunderstand it. Somebody could
every single person that walked in was not charged with or convicted of trespassing.
Thank God.
Okay.
What does that have to do with the Capitol Police waving people in?
Because not every single person who just waved in was charged with trespassing.
What were you charged with, Tim?
I was charged with a misdemeanor cocktail, like picketing and trespass and all that. I also had a felony charge called obstruction of an official proceeding, an Enron scandal era charge. It had to do with destruction of documents. That was overturned by the Supreme Court.
Tim?
3 years.
Damn.
Okay.
Did you actually enter the building? Did you go inside?
And
Yeah, I
Did
walked
you end
around
up
there for
needing that?
about 20 minutes.
Did you end up? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, shit. That's probably why you were charged with it. You shouldn't have been in there.
No, it was a
Tim?
fake statute. It goes back to the Enron scandal for destruction of documents. I should have got a year max, and nobody even does that with a federal misdemeanor. I would
How
have
is
done
it fake?
85% of the time.
How is it a
Ray
fake
Abbott
statute?
got charged under it.
Oh,
Tim,
if you want to understand,
Did you not
the
win
Supreme
your?
Court.
Tim,
Well,
did
hold
you
on.
not win
You're
your
all trying
appeal?
to talk at once. Just let Tim answer the question, and Dev can ask the question. But yeah, let Tim answer.
Actually, I was asking the questions.
Well,
I've had
you were both
Go ahead.
asking questions, but fair.
I'll answer both questions.
Yeah, Tim. So, and I've heard this, but it's been a year, or almost a year now. Remind me, you did not actually need the pardon that you got. Why was that?
The pardon for me only wiped out the misdemeanors, which I would have, whatever. The felony charge I beat after I served my sentence. I beat it in appeals at the appellate court. It was based off of the ruling in the Fisher case, which showed that they improperly prosecuted people for 18 U.S.C. 1512, obstruction of an official proceeding. So it took a few years, but I beat that after sentence. So
Okay, Dev, if you had a question for it. Otherwise, I have one more question for Dev and Destiny, and then maybe we might wrap it up.
Go ahead, Wick. Go ahead.
Well, real quick. Well, I'll ask a question. Tim, you knew that you were in the building when you shouldn't have been, right?
Actually, I did not, and so this became a huge contention during all this. I didn't know where the fuck I was. I followed a crowd. One of the big things that got me in trouble is they tried to say I was lying.
Were you not?
Did you enter the back rooms, dude?
Wait,
what the fuck?
Weren't you one of the first people in?
No, they say that because of proximity in terms of chronology. A lot of people poured in before I did. So
When you say a lot, you're saying
happened,
I can't find a video of you minutes or within a minute after the very first breach. I can't find a video
I'm
of you.
trying to address the time. Yes, you can. I came in at about 2:14 p.m. The breaches happened at 2:12. So within 2 minutes, I entered the Senate wing door area. I was not one of the first people in. I mean, I guess you could you look at the totality of people who came in, but I wasn't one of the first people who broke the window or kicked the doors open or anything like that. I walked through an open door. I stopped actually on the scaffold and picked up a flag, and then I just kind of wandered around and I followed a crowd in the building. I didn't know where I was, and if you watch the CCTV for the camera for the Senate wing door area, you'll actually watch me take a right. I go down a hallway, I turn back, I go down the other hallway on the left, and then I turn right back. I didn't know where I was.
What were you looking at?
I have a question for you. Actually,
Did you ever? Were you ever saying words like a revolution was coming to Capitol Police?
I cursed off police on the outside after they were spraying people. I said, "The revolution won't be televised, cunt." Yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then were you telling other people to continue going into the Capitol?
You think I was talking about an actual revolution? Or you think I was referencing something from the civil rights era?
Were you challenging other people to go into the building?
No, I didn't challenge people to go into the building. What does that even mean? No.
Encouraging people to go into the building, asking people to go into the building, telling people to
No.
advance on the Capitol? No?
Well, that came from an NCIS recording where I was talking shit drunk a week after the fact to my friend, who I thought was my best friend, but NCI strapped a wire on. I was talking shit. That didn't happen.
Okay. But you just were in 2 minutes after the breach, walking around with a flag, making statements to Capitol Police saying things like a revolution won't be televised.
That was on the outside towards
origin?
the scaffolding where a cop was mocking me and making mocking gestures towards me because.
Oh, so you were already outside on the scaffolding, so you were near all of the initial breaching, and you had no idea that you guys weren't supposed to be there. So there was a cop outside on the scaffolding where you knew people were, and then you went in through the crowd and into the building. That's crazy.
The initial breaching.
That's
crazy. Not near the initial breaching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's crazy that you can't listen. I wasn't near the initial breaching.
That's just crazy that you were so close to all of the initial breaching. You had no clue. You were just being carried along with the crowd. It's insane.
I do have just one question for you. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I say now. You should tell the truth. Yeah. Oh, that's crazy. Now I can't believe that. Yeah.
Okay, Tim, I have one question. This is just for me personally. Okay.
Sure.
What are the strength of the maglock doors in the Capitol building?
So I actually know where you're going with this, and you're actually right. I actually did some prep on this. I watched your previous debates. Those doors are. There may be some magnetic element to it, but yes, I know that it's a fire lock. If you push it, yeah. If you push onto those doors and you hold onto them, they'll open up. That's
okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Oh
yeah.
man,
I would say to provide some other context, the man who does that, I'm not alluding to him being some fed or anything. He's a man named George Tenney, and in a previous stream I've seen you guys on. It was alleged that he was probably talking to another rioter. He was actually talking to Capitol Police on the level above. There's a crosswalk above, and we don't have the audio, but in George Tenney's trial testimony, he says that he was speaking to the police and they informed him on how to open that door. And there is CCTV, again, no audio, showing one of the white shirt officers right in that same area. So that did happen. I agree, though, and you are correct. Magnetic thing, that was some early, I'm not going to say disinformation, but that was an early rumor. Even my lawyer believed that. My lawyer represented one of the Oath Keepers as well, so that was something that people believed. It's not a real good talking point, though. It's not really relevant.
Well, yeah, I mean, it came from the Twitter account called Swank for America, who was a lawyer for the Oath Keepers, so that guy probably just made it up and then it spread around. But are you claiming that the person that he was talking to above was actually like a Capitol Police? Was he the insider? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying the police officer's the insider?
Is he there? Hello?
Broke up there. You said, was he?
Oh, he froze. Okay.
Yes.
Welcome back.
Are you claiming that like the police officer who was on the level above talking down to him, he was the inside job guy that was letting him in?
It was no. Well, it was a woman. I'm not claiming that. George Tenney claimed that in his trial, and CCTV corroborates that there was a woman there. And then if you look at it, yeah, I mean, it does look like that. He's not able to do it. You know, what's the do? He points up, he talks to someone, and then suddenly after that, he knows how to open the door, even though, granted, there's the sign there. So yeah, I mean, I believe that that's what happened. I have no reason to deny.
But that's someone's police officer, though.
The Capitol Police officer. I don't know what her exact rank was. She was a white shirt, so I imagine she was some form of upper brass, not a patrolman.
Okay. I do have a question for Destiny and Dev, and then I want to let the rest of you ask questions to them too, if you have them. But I'd like this to kind of move it a little bit to what we were initially talking about. So, do we see? I guess it's a two-parter. Do we see a problem with the official White House website putting out their version of events like this is? And if you do, what needs to be done about this? Like, what exactly is the problem, and what do you recommend or advocate is done? Go ahead.
Well,
I mean, the whole narrative is just a lie from start to finish. Trump wanted it. He called the people there. When they were there, they marched. They were violent. They insurrected. They managed to delay the vote. When the vote was delayed, him and his little cronies were making phone calls to congressmen in order to try to get them to change the outcome of the election. They refused. Pence refused. Eventually, Ashley Babbitt gets shot. The National Guard finally shows up. Trump, who shows himself to be so strong and able to deploy the National Guard to states that don't even want them there, for some reason was impotent for hours, watching everything unfolding on TV, was tweeting out, basically harassing tweets towards Pence and everything else. And it wasn't until after Ashley Babbitt was shot, hours later, Trump finally tells people to go home, and he realizes his little insurrection plan failed. I mean, all the evidence of the day supports this 100%. I don't know why. What is the answer to, like, why didn't Trump immediately demand the National Guard go there to stop the rioters? Was he not worried that it might make him look bad or anything else? Because he wanted it to succeed.
Didn't he ask for the National Guard beforehand?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He made that as a slight suggestion, but like, I mean, this was weeks
before.
before.
Not a slight suggestion.
But this is the thing again. This is the thing. It's a slight suggestion when Trump does good, but when Trump does things bad, the implication.
So it's
we got Dennis Reynolds over here or what? Come on,
man.
man.
It's called understand anything. Doesn't Donald Trump have the sole authority, the ability to deploy the National Guard to DC if he so wants, if he demands it? You think bringing this up casually in a conversation is the same thing as saying the National Guard will be there? Can anybody say no to Donald Trump on that? Because I thought we just watched Donald Trump forcibly deploy the National Guard not to just DC, but to several states. You're saying at the point in time...
It didn't happen on a snap of the fingers, but sure, fair enough. But wasn't Pelosi the one that stopped those National Guard?
No, it was Bowser.
No, I feel like we have video of her saying that it was her. Like, I feel like there's a video.
It was Bowser.
I feel like that she took total responsibility for
Bowser. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you saw a 1 minute clip of her saying we have responsibility.
I mean, we've seen a lot of 1 minute clips today, haven't we?
Hold on,
a little bit
videos because I don't think you guys have the memory to store anything even more in your brain.
So Gibbs, I'll lay it out to you. So what you have is a clip from the HBO documentary on the Capitol where she says, "We've totally failed. I take responsibility." That's her in the limo at the end of the day, and it's not like her officially taking responsibility. It's her basically saying,
"Holy fuck, how have we transcended to this point as a country.
English is
But more
different
importantly,
now.
no, hear me out though. Hear me out, because more importantly,
why was Trump? Wait, hold on, and then
If I send a private email saying it's my fault,
why was Trump making calls while the riot was happening, when protesters were in the Capitol building trying to get people to change their vote? Why was he making those calls?
Well, hold on. I
He was
just
trying
want
to
talk about
save the
what Deb just
country.
said.
He thought the election had been
we're not going to just slide by. He goes, if she says this in
So he
private,
didn't care that there was.
it doesn't matter.
So
we measure everybody else what they say in private.
He was making calls.
Hold on, one at a time.
He was making calls under the threat of violence to get congressmen to do something different, to change the outcome of the election. Yes.
Yeah, there's no proof of that. I really like.
No proof of what? Wait, no proof of what?
That he threatened violence.
No, under threat of violence. There were violent protesters in the building.
What threat of violence? What threat of violence?
The violent protesters that were inside
the rioters
Capitol.
that were there. The rioters were there. And you think Trump somehow projected that he controlled that?
Considering they all left after he tweeted for them to go home.
No, you already failed on this.
Hold on. You're trying to tell me that Trump projected such strength, and yet every single congressman he called said, "Nah, I don't think I'm going to change my vote here, pal. I'm sorry."
Wasn't that his goal? Didn't he say multiple times they were there to give the strength to the congressman?
I don't know what his goal was. You don't know what his goal is either.
But I do, because he said it in the ellipse speech multiple times.
He said, "We're here to give the congressman strength to change their vote." He said that during the ellipse speech.
Yeah, that means backing. That's not threatening them. What do you? I mean, you guys speak English, right? English is your first language.
Well, no. I just want to point out the standard Dev is passing off again. Once again,
violent people are inside of the Capitol rioting, and then you're making an ask for them to change their vote while violent people are inside the Capitol. Yes,
but he doesn't control those violent people. The problem that you're saying is that this is a very interesting thing, because let's just say for a minute that I am a violent person and I control violent people, and those violent people have a gun to the head of someone's loved one, and I say, you're going to change your vote, or else my violent person is going to do what my violent self tells them to do. That's what you're alluding to. And yet Trump had no direct connection to anyone in the riot. There's not one shred.
Didn't Trump tell all of them to go to the Capitol, and then
they
went to the Capitol? No, at the end of the speech, he told them, do
you have a single shred of evidence, which I know you don't, that he tweeted Enrique, who was just here and said that this didn't happen, that he tweeted Enrique, hey, go and lock down the Capitol for me. I'm going to threaten these congressional assholes. You have one shred of evidence.
We're going to the last part of his speech. Yeah, I can read it. The last part of his ellipse speech. So we're going to walk down Pennsylvania Avenue.
Because you keep using the same innuendo over and over again, and I'm sick of it. Give me the fucking evidence.
I love Pennsylvania Avenue, and we're going to the Capitol, and we're going to try to give, the Democrats are hopeless. They never vote for anything, not even one vote. But we're going to try and give our Republicans, the weak ones, because the strong ones don't need any of our help. We're going to try and give them.
But he didn't say any of that, Destiny.
He said all of this. This was all at the end of his speech. You just haven't seen any of this because you don't know anything of the speech beyond the one propaganda line that they
he didn't call up a congressman and say, hey, you are going to vote my way or the riot will continue.
No, he called the congressman, and he was calling them saying, don't you guys want to reconsider your vote now? When McCarthy said, call off your goons, they're rioting, Trump was like, well, it seems like they might have a good reason to be mad, right?
That's not taking responsibility for the goons. That's just making an observation.
Hold on. Here. How about this? Let's say.
Go ahead, Dad.
Let's say that like a friend. There's me and another guy, right?
It has to be.
We walk up to you, and the other guy says, "I'm gonna fucking shoot you." And then I say, listen, I'm not connected to this guy at all. I've got nothing going on with this guy. And then you ask, well, what does he want? What does he want from me? He's like, well, he wants you to do what I say, but I'm not connected to him. If he shoots you, it's not on me. Like, that's what you're alleging is that's what's going on here, man. That's what's happening. You didn't understand a single word of that, did you? You just kind of all
I think that's the longest. I think Michael Phelps can't make that fucking reach.
It was a word salad.
Okay, hold on. How about this?
Sure.
Here, you asked for a more direct connection. Okay.
Yes, please.
Do you know about the whole Michael Flynn thing?
Yes, I know about the Michael Flynn thing.
You know that Michael Flynn had basically a paramilitary group around him called the First Amendment Praetorians, and they were there on January 6th. And Michael Flynn was part of Trump's.
Yes, and you know that and we know that the Oath Keepers were there to protect Roger, whatever the fuck his name is. What does that have to do with the price of geese in fucking China? Nothing.
You're asking for a direct connection.
I'm
Between
asking
the
for a
rioters
direct
and
connection
Trump.
between
And
Trump
the people who control the
threatening-
rioters were in Trump's inner circle. That's the fucking connection. Listen,
you're so
it's just
stupid.
what
Okay,
you
so
know.
produce a single
Oh my
cell
God.
phone call, text, email, note, X post,
this is the
anything
problem.
telling Michael Flynn, get your boys
just
over
making
there
it
and
up.
do
This is-
fucking work.
Well, this is the problem is when we do have evidence of like the opposite, like the Pelosi clip, right? Okay, boom. You go, oh, well, that was something said in private. Well, okay, cool. What's the fundamental difference between somebody
That's
recording the
not what we
Pelosi
said.
clip?
Say it
That
was in
is what he
private.
said.
Okay.
Oh, he said it's
Hold on.
it's in the back room.
Yeah, you
and
know
someone
what? I
taking
didn't
Go ahead,
even
Devin.
get a
Hale.
chance.
Like, there's no
I didn't
fundamental
even get a chance to finish what I was saying about
okay.
Pelosi. You guys think that it was Pelosi's fault, but do you even know why you fucking think that?
Tell us why.
I don't actually think it's
I'm ready to
Pelosi's
hear the straw
fault. I
man.
just think that it's disingenuous to say Trump had control over the National Guard when there were no executive orders, which he installed this time, so that he did have control of the National Guard. You motherfuckers
So
are
we
literally
failed,
making
then.
shit up as you go along to
federal
fit the narrative that you
terrorist.
want to have.
Washington,
You
D.C.
fucking know that the
Donald
National
Trump
Guard
is
was not under the
commander-in-chief.
direct
He's
control
the
of
ultimate
President
final
Trump.
call
Making it
of
up.
the
You know
National
that.
Guard
You
to be
goddamn
dealing
well
with
know
any
it. And you're
opposition
just fucking
whatsoever.
up every
The
single
federal
time. I
government
love
is
you
fucking
guys
retarded.
because you can't get away from your rhetoric.
So
You just
retarded.
can't. I love you guys.
shit,
You're
you're so
wonderful.
retarded.
Thank you for
Okay,
showing
so-
up. It's awesome.
So
That's
so
Chain
just
of
to be
command
clear-
with the DC National Guard ends with Trump.
Yes. Just to be clear, everyone on the right who talks about Pelosi being responsible, Pelosi's not actually responsible for the National Guard at the Capitol. This talking point comes from the fact that the Capitol Police are controlled by a three-man board, which consists of the Sergeant at Arms of the
That's
House,
not the
the
foundation
Sergeant
of
at
the
Arms of the
claim.
Shut up, the Sergeant at Arms of the Senate, and the Architect of the Capitol. Pelosi, as House Speaker, can appoint one of these three positions, only one, not the other two. And after she's appointed him, she can't actually control what he does. So no, it's not.
Yeah,
even
the
if we were to
leader
say,
of the
oh, it's
party
somehow-
that she doesn't control it. She's the leader of the party and it's her appointee.
Hold on,
Yeah,
hold on,
who
hold on,
holds the
hold on,
leash?
hold on.
Who holds the
Gibbs,
leash?
Gibbs, just real quick. Gibbs, please. Do you
The
understand
three-man
what
board
you're
holds
saying?
the leash.
You're
If
saying
you
that.
guys
Hold
don't
on.
mind.
You're saying.
I mean,
Hold
this is-
on,
this is
please,
stupid.
Gibbs, please. My God, you're saying that. Oh, obviously Pelosi didn't have to directly ask him to do it.
That's what
It's
y'all are
obviously
saying
he had
about
control.
Trump.
But when we go to Trump, it's
That's
like,
my whole
where's
point,
your
Wick.
direct
Thank
access?
you.
Obviously,
Thank
they don't have any
you.
direct
That's
control.
my whole point, Wick.
You're trying to eat your cake.
No, Wick. That's the whole point
Doesn't
I've been
work.
trying.
No,
Hold on, Wick. I know that
doesn't
you're.
work.
Hold on, Wick. I know that you're
Gibbs,
trying to
hear me
preempt the point because they haven't been able to get
What do you
past it.
preempt?
I
What
have
point?
been making this point the whole time. That is a double
Make your
standard.
point, make
It
your
is a
point,
double
make your point,
standard that they keep holding these people to. With Trump, it's got to be specific. We have literal direct tape with Pelosi in this situation, taking some responsibility for this. We don't have any of that with Trump. But however, we're supposed to imply these things about Trump. And it's a double
because
standard.
he's a
Yes,
moral
we can
leper.
imply
That's
it about
why.
Trump. We don't need video of Trump taking
We
responsibility.
don't
No
need
shit.
it.
Trump doesn't. No, we don't need it because it's in his job title. You fucking retard.
Oh, come
he doesn't
on
have
now.
to say I have responsibility for this. He's the commander in chief. It's federal
Except he
territory.
still,
and
once
it's the
again, had to
National
write the
Guard.
executive
He
orders.
doesn't need to say anything. Also, Trump
doesn't
wouldn't have
need
to
to
take fucking
now.
responsibility for literally anything. No, he's
He
never
takes
needed
responsibility for
to.
Operation
Now.
Warp Speed.
Okay,
He
$5.
doesn't need to
He's
take- he
in
doesn't
his
have to
job
say.
title.
Let's
Yeah,
make a
now.
little more money. Now I'll try to get. Look, I don't think I
Okay,
get to all the
Gibbs,
chats
listen,
tonight,
Gibbs.
but I'll get to some of them. $5 from Soy Pill to say the revolution will not be televised. The revolution is also a peaceful protest, and we are all allowed to be here, not hurting cops or trespassing. $20 from Pottering Politics to say the DC mayor nor House Speaker are in the National Guard chain of command. They can't order the National Guard's deployment nor prevent it. MAGA. Why did Trump not order the Guard to be deployed during the 3 hours we watched the riot unfold?
My understanding.
I don't
is
know
he
who's
did and
MAGA
got
on this
interfered with.
panel. I'm not specifically MAGA, but maybe somebody else is.
I'm 90%, 70%.
Anybody
MAGA.
Hold on.
Oh, God.
Who here voted for Trump?
I mean,
Three
I voted
times,
for Trump,
one
but
every
that doesn't
time.
make me
Okay,
MAGA.
then you're MAGA. Go ahead, answer the question.
That's the definition they
Oh,
use.
so you voted for Trump, you're
I'm
MAGA.
sorry, so bullshit.
I'll just ask you a
Wick,
question directly then. I'll ask it to you directly. How come Trump didn't deploy the National Guard throughout the entire thing?
Well, they actually have the timeline. Hang on, I had that up. Where was that? I think it's here.
But why didn't you do it though?
All right, so I don't know. I'm not Trump. Why did? Okay,
Yeah, oh, okay, fair enough.
Hold
Do
on,
you
fair
think
enough.
it was
Hold
a
on.
failing
So-
on his
so-
part to not do it.
hold on. So
Do you think it was a failing on his part to not do it?
I think it was a failure on Nancy Pelosi and the rest of the organization who
It's not her
prevented it
responsibility
from
to
being
deploy.
the National Guard from even being there in the
Can you
first place.
take a guess?
No, how can she prevent it?
What do you mean prevent? How can she prevent
How
it?
can Nancy
What do you
Pelosi
mean?
prevent the National Guard from being there?
At that time, Trump did not have the executive authority that he does now to order the National Guard out, which is what one of the first things he did when he got into office this time, because he saw what happened the last time. Chief,
And why didn't he
was
have
it
it?
Bowser? Mayor Bowser requests National
Well,
Guard
why
for
didn't he have it,
traffic management on 12/31. On the third on
Hold on. Do you
January
think if Trump
3rd,
wanted,
President
if
Trump
Trump, hold on,
agrees with
can I
6
ask?
million to activate National
Grid.
Guard to support law enforcement.
Can I just ask you, Grid?
Yeah.
Do you think if Trump had asked for the National Guard that they would have come?
I don't think there was time. I mean, I personally don't think that there was time to mobilize them. Depending on, I don't
You don't
remember
think there
where
was
they were
time to
staged like
mobilize
offsite.
between
What
when
if
we
he
knew
asked
the
the day
violence was
before?
happening and it was happening? So
What
just
if he
I
asked the
could
day
only
before?
hear one of you. I'm sorry.
just yeah, that's fine. Just from the website here, and I'm reading directly. It says this authority to activate the DC National Guard has been delegated by the President to the Secretary of Defense and further delegated to the Secretary of the Army. The DC National Guard is the only National Guard unit out of all the 54 states and territories which reports only to the President. And this
I got a
has
question about
been
this
the
National
sense
Guard thing
since
I-
like the 1800s. So,
Dev,
So-
can
so
I
yeah,
ask you something?
Well,
Can I ask you
no,
something about this
I want
National Guard?
hold on, wait. I want my initial question answered first. Then, so was it a failing that Trump didn't do it?
If they were close enough to respond, I think so. Yeah, I think he probably should have.
Okay.
I have a question though,
It was
Dev.
a failing that they weren't there in the first place. I've heard the rhetoric that they didn't expect the attendance they had, and that's why they weren't really prepared with the National Guard. I don't know. Tim, who was actually there, could speak better to that than I could. I wasn't there. So I don't know. I think it was a failing not to have the National Guard there with as many people as they had on site. I don't think the Capitol Police were equipped to do it. I think that even the Capitol Police were not there in sufficient numbers for the amount of.
does anyone else want to take a crack at this question of why didn't President Trump, who again, as we just saw, has sole authority of the National Guard, why didn't they call up the Why didn't he?
Just to be clear, the answer is they didn't for the same reason why there were no National Guard there when there probably should have been. It's because nobody knew that Donald Trump was going to tell all of his supporters to go march on the Capitol after his speech. They didn't know that, and Trump knew that, and Trump wanted that. That's what he wanted him. Trump wanted to go to the Capitol afterwards. That was the whole goal. That was the plan. He was happy they were there, and he was happy that they were rioting.
If Trump had called in the National Guard and then they had taken like a long time to mobilize and get there or whatever, would that have saved him from what you guys are accusing him of?
It would dramatically change the outlook. If as soon as the riot
bullshit.
started,
No, you know
Donald
what
Trump
they would
was
say?
taking
I don't
action.
believe
You know what they would say? They would say he mobilized the National Guard to throw the coup officially. That's what they would say. They would say he mobilized the National Guard to guarantee.
right.
That's what they would say.
That's
so let's
the
not
angle.
play the game. They would say just like they do every time. It's a no-win situation.
Yeah, you guys are all getting hyped up on imaginary positions.
No, I don't have to imagine this position. I don't have to imagine this position. You'll make that your position.
And you're excited. You think
Hold
he's
on,
own
hold
the
on.
position that nobody
No,
holds
that is your position already. Because you go, oh, he's implied that we're going to have all these people go down and take the Capitol. If his next thing is to go, let me call the National Guard, y'all are going to go, well, I wonder why he's doing that. He's probably doing it to guarantee that those guys are safe and make sure that they get pets. We all know they would do that, and you're lying if you're saying that you wouldn't be doing that. Come on.
You would have cried
We
harder.
all know.
You would have cried way harder.
No,
yeah, it's clear.
I mean,
even your own side knows you would do that. Right?
I'm not lying to you. No. Listen. If Trump took steps as soon as listen to me. If Trump took steps as soon as violence broke up to try and stop it, I would give him credit for that.
Bullshit.
Absolutely.
He did.
Absolutely.
They shut him down on X. The fucking Twitter files make it very clear that our government
what do you mean he shut him
agencies,
down
the
on
fourth
X?
branch, the deep
What do you mean
state
shut
that
him down
doesn't
on
want
X?
to go. Well, they terminated his account. They wouldn't let him continue to.
Oh, I thought you meant. Oh, yeah, because he encouraged a violent insurrection.
Yeah, because he said go peacefully and patriotically, and that's fucking retarded. We had to shut
Why
that
do you
down. 'Cause
only
then they
quote
wouldn't have
that
this
one
narrative.
part of the speech? What about the
Why
fight
do you
like
ignore
hell?
that they shut down his ability to speak when he was being peaceful? So
He
you
was
guys
banned
could
for
deep throat
inciting
this
a
narrative.
violent insurrection.
You deep throat this narrative. I don't know why you can't give it up. It doesn't make any
because
sense.
it's the truth.
Because we
and,
say that
and
he invited, he incited a violent insurrection for inviting everybody to the Capitol because that's what happened. We don't have
You're
the narrative
so
is just
delusional. You think that they needed Trump to say, you needed Trump to go protest. Fucking people were angry. They were angry.
Why were they angry?
Because
The
of lies
election
that
happened.
Trump told. Because of lies that Trump told. Yes, that was part of
Why
the
do you
plan. No
think-
shit.
Can I ask you one question? Can I ask you one question?
Yeah.
Why the fuck do you collapse every person that agrees with this protest into a one caricature monolith? Why?
Because
Because
he's the one
almost
spreading
every
the
single
lie.
different
lie,
reasons, people?
because almost every single lie originated with Donald Trump. Give me an example of one that didn't. I'll wait.
Of lies that didn't originate with Trump? How about I give you a better I'll
No,
stay on
no.
point.
Give me an
No, I'm
example.
not- You said 95% of people.
Give me
I
one
don't know
reason
about
that
this.
didn't come from the Trump camp.
95%.
Give me
you
one
said
reason that didn't come from the Trump camp.
95% of people went there because Trump said so. And your argument for it, and I'm saying, look, I don't even need the evidence. What's your argument? Let's weigh out the argument. Destiny's a bright guy sometimes. Maybe he's right about this.
Sure.
But
Here's
the
my
entire
argument.
social
My
media
argument
communities
is
were
that
fractured
he
into
said,
a bunch of different groups. I'm almost
give me an
done. And then
example.
I'll
One
listen.
example. Give me one example.
Look, come on, man.
Give me an example. Just one
So
example. You
there-
have so many. You should have one example. Just one.
One
You
example.
got a folder full of 4chan memes. You don't have an
Yeah.
example of
Give
evidence?
me one example of a reason why
thanks for
somebody
paying
went that didn't originate from the Trump camp. Just one. One example.
Jake Chansley. The QAnon shaman. That's the one. Is that a good one I can use, or do I have to use another one?
The
What was
QAnon
the
shaman
line?
was
Why'd he go
calling
there? Why'd he
people
go
to the he was calling people to the Capitol.
What? So your claim was that Trump was telling people they had to go and protest, right?
My claim, and you said, well, people were there for other reasons, and I said every reason is a reason that ultimately came from Trump. So when you guys say, well, they were just
No,
they
they
were
didn't
mad
have
about
to. No, I'll answer. Everybody that is concerned about mail-in voting didn't learn that from Trump.
They did,
and a lot of folks were concerned about
Where did they
mail-in
learn it from?
voting.
No,
and there's
because
a
of
whole
Trump.
wide.
Because of
Where
Trump.
did they learn it from?
The
Not
only
just
way
because
anyone
of
can
Trump.
learn about.
Yes, because of Trump. Yes, because of Trump.
Not
Trump
just
made
Well, can I
the
just
Trump
ask-
said
hold
that
on, just-
mail-in
Are we too
ballots were
retarded
gonna
to
be
think for
rigged
ourselves?
6
Hey, we
months ahead
can
of time.
short circuit this real quick.
Yeah,
Hold on,
no,
just real
MAGA
quick,
can't
please.
think for themselves. That's why you guys repeat every single
Please.
fucking
Oh,
talking
there
point
we,
you get
there
from
we
Trump.
go.
Please,
Yeah,
please.
there we go.
Okay, order in this court. If you guys, this is to Kung Fu Joe's Dream Rift, to that side, to Tim, all of you. Can you show me someone in the right-wing influence sphere, or just anyone who was crying foul about mail-in ballots before President Trump was? If it did not originate with Trump, there
Wait, what?
should
Like,
be
you're asking-
someone, a
are you asking-
predecessor, a
Isn't it
precursor.
crazy? We can point to.
Wait, are you asking if anybody like other than Trump was saying the mail-in ballots thing before Trump said it? Yeah, lots of people have been saying that for like decades.
Can you? Okay.
Okay, can
Like,
you name
do you remember the Bush
one?
election? Like
Yeah.
Gore and all
Oh,
that?
this is
Yeah.
perfect. Wait, no, Gibbs. Are
Bush
you
and
aware
Gore,
that
that didn't
Roger
have to do with
Stone?
mail-in
Roger
ballots.
No,
Stone.
they,
See,
that was
this is
the
exact-
no, it did
wait,
come up.
Destiny,
It did
let him
come up,
talk
but
about
not
this.
for the fraud.
No, yeah,
No.
Admiral Gibbs. Roger Stone orchestrated the Brooks Brothers riot to fucking storm and like stop the certification in the exact same way, and registered Stop the Steal way back in 2016 because they knew this was a narrative they were going to go with before any of this fucking happened. So yeah, if you want to go back to 2000, this has been their plan and their MO the entire fucking time. Yes, to delay like legitimate elections. Like Roger Stone orchestrated both of these things. Do you even know what the Brooks Brothers riot is?
No.
Are you asking me?
Yes, you.
No, yeah, I know. I don't know the Brooks Brothers riot.
Okay, yeah, you've never heard of it because you don't know anything. How about you?
Well,
Kung Fu
I
Joe?
do
you
know
what the
things.
Brooks
Listen,
Brothers riot
I
is?
could just take a random fact and be like,
Oh,
you
sorry,
know
go
this?
chat
Of
GPT it
course.
and go learn about
No,
it.
I'm not
Fucking
going to go
useless
chat
prick,
GPT
all right?
it. That's
Kung Fu
not what
Joe,
I'm
go
going to
ahead.
do here. Listen, I can pick something random and go with that. But yeah, we've had
That's not
issues
random.
with
That is the
mail-in
man
ballots
who
for
orchestrated
longer than
the
2016.
election stealing of 2000 and
Sure,
tried to do
Roger
it again
Stone
in
did that. Okay,
2020.
let's just grant
Okay,
your
just real quick,
story's 100% accurate.
heads
I
up,
still
Emma,
brought
it's
something
okay.
up before
You guys are implying that
2016.
we need
Hold
somebody
on,
to
I'm
tell
going to
us.
give.
Like,
That's
Yes,
You
because
need
you're a
somebody.
fucking
Yes.
dipshit.
No
bullshit.
shit. You
No,
guys are drones.
bullshit.
You're NPCs.
No,
You're
you don't.
indistinguishable
That's
from
I
I got
literally
it, I got
gave you a
it.
tie-in to the
Okay.
3 a.m.
That
ballot
you
finding
need
thing.
somebody
in
to
Wisconsin.
tell us
And we
how
have
to
little
think.
evidence that
Perfect time.
happened.
Perfect time.
Power to direct this
Perfect time.
conversation.
I'm not
without
controlling
using
anything,
I will
Wick.
do
Good
that.
luck, buddy. All right, now that I'm in control of the stream, everyone drop every single slur. No, I'm fucking kidding. Go ahead.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, to
Desiak, there's one
think
quick question
that
to point it on.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you guys are so
Yeah,
unique, then
this
just
is
give
what
me one
letters are-
talking
No,
point for
Destiny,
why
let me just
people went to
ask one
J6
question. I'll
that
listen
didn't
to
come
you
from
for like
Trump.
10 times when I say, how fucking stupid do you think we are, which I know it's a lot, that we have to be told if you mail a ballot, it might be manipulated? That's
Very
not
stupid.
complicated.
You guys are
That's like
fucking
saying water is
insanely
wet.
retarded, lowest
Yeah.
IQ people I've
Kindergarten.
ever
And
seen
the
in my
mail,
entire
the
life.
post
Yeah.
office says don't mail
all of these
cash.
claims, and despite
Post
all of
office
these
says
claims,
don't take a $20 bill and stuff it in an
and
envelope
despite
because it's
all
not
of
safe
these
for your
claims,
vote.
you guys weren't able to prove any voter fraud whatsoever.
Yeah, the Dems are great
Hold
at
on,
fraud.
years later.
They're
hold
great
on,
at fraud.
later.
Okay, just curious. If
They're
the Dems are so great
outstanding
at
at
fraud, if the Dems are so great at fraud, why were
Why
they
did
able
we
to
skip
rig?
2024?
Wait, why were they
These
able?
are the
Why,
fucking
yeah, yeah,
VP
no, yeah. Why were they
tickets.
able to rig? Why were they able to rig 2016, but they weren't able to rig 2020?
No, because
There's
they
no
didn't
COVID.
realize
Or
No
2024?
COVID. No.
Why were they? Why were they able to
COVID.
rig? Sorry, why were they able to
They
rig
needed
20?
COVID.
Why?
No
Why would you need
COVID.
thought they
COVID?
were
No
gonna
to rig
mass
it?
mail-in ballots.
Wait. Why
They
couldn't
thought
you?
they were
Why
going to
couldn't you
win in
use?
2016.
Oh my
They were
god,
surprised.
dude! It's the same talking
COVID
point.
excuse.
It's the same talking point. They thought they were going to win.
Why
They
is
tried
it
to
just a
rig it.
talking point?
Oh my
It-
god!
it's
Because
not
but you have no
logic? It's
proof.
not
You have no
logic?
proof of- No, it's not logic. If you rig something,
It's
you
not
rig it to
logic.
rig it. You
Wow.
don't not rig it when you think you're going to win. What are you talking about?
They didn't rig it enough.
Tell me-
What they do with these
Oh,
scams
they
is they'll
rig
sit
it
there with a
enough.
bucket of ballot.
Oh my god! All
Get a
roads
half
lead to
they
Rome. It
need.
literally doesn't matter. It's the same. I could do both sides of this debate. You're fucking retarded. It's every stupid
Bro,
talking when you
the
have no proof for
Democrats had
anything.
fucking the Democrats were on steroids during COVID because they could nerf and silence and fucking shut down
Okay,
anything
no,
they
Kung
fucking
Fu Joe,
Donald
Kung
wanted.
Fu
Trump was
Joe. Kung
president.
Fu Joe.
How could how could the Democrats do when Donald Trump was president? He was the president of the United States.
We did great, Wick.
Okay, the states, all the different states have their own autonomy. Trump is like the president, yeah.
The president has no control over what's going on in the states at all. The CDC doesn't issue guidelines. The
I didn't
NIH
say
doesn't issue
that.
guidelines.
That's not what I
Then-
said.
Then why
That's
are you?
not what
Yeah,
I
you're not
said.
making any
Then why
strong
are you
claims
gonna-
because you're going to run away
Are you
from
gonna-
anything that immediately
No,
gets
hold on. Are
debunked
you going to
because you're a
tell
fucking
me?
moron.
Are you going to tell me that the states didn't have autonomy in controlling their own COVID procedures?
I'm saying that the states get a whole bunch
No,
of
answer
autonomy
the
when
question.
bad stuff
No,
is
you
happening.
re-
But when
dodge,
a Democrat is
dodge.
in charge, apparently the president has all the
Dodge.
autonomy.
You came here to dodge and dance questions.
I'm not dodging.
Okay,
the
great.
reality is the
Great.
states
Now
have
you are
some
fucking
kind of
dodging.
I got a
autonomy,
question
but
for you,
largely
Kung
the
Fu
states
Joe.
follow federal guidance, right?
dodging.
Don't
Oh,
don't
God.
all don't the
Just
be
states
clear.
generally follow?
Kung Fu
Don't the
Joe.
states generally
Kung Fu
follow
Joe.
federal guidance? Yes or no?
There's no fucking point. Why should I
Fucking
answer your
retard. That is the
questions?
point.
Why should
I
I
just
answer
answered
your
yours,
questions
'cause I
when you
answered your
dodge all of
question.
mine?
Because that's a
No, you
direct
don't. I judge
response
yours
to your
because you're
question.
retarded. They're wrong. They're
Okay,
stupid.
okay,
You're
okay,
uninformed.
okay,
You're
okay,
retarded.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
says the
so-
guy
so
who
Kung Fu
says,
Joe.
we need
Kung Fu Joe.
influencers to
Let me-
tell
let
us what
me-
to
let me
think,
ask you a
right?
question here, okay?
You have an influencer president. What do you have a celebrity president? Of course you need influencers to tell you what to
And he
think.
tells
You
me
fucking
everything I
retards
need
like
to do.
Joe
I don't even
Rogan.
like the guy.
What major policy position do you disagree with Trump for the last year on?
Like being a Shabbos goy for Israel. How about that?
okay. There we go.
He's
Yeah,
not-
there you go. Yeah. How about you
Yeah.
fucking and
He's
but
too
that's the
right-wing.
same
He's
thing
not
you're
right-wing
you're
Oh my god.
but
so good.
hey, you're a Shabbos goy too.
I want
Destiny?
I know
good.
it's coming up on 3 hours now, and I want to give people a chance. If they need to go, they need to go. Tim, do you have anything for Trump? Or I'm sorry, do you have anything for Destiny or Dev here?
I actually think Destiny is Trump now. I think he has inherited all of Trump attributes. So I appreciate that alignment.
So
Destiny is
you're going to agree with
cute.
everything he says then, right?
Do I have
Yeah,
anything?
let you know
I mean,
what ballots are allowed and what ballots aren't. What's safe, what's not. Grid.
Also, as a quick thing, earlier, this Milwaukee voter fraud thing was brought up that apparently somebody got convicted for in March. This person was helping the Republicans rig the election. I don't know why that was even brought up.
That was
I
not
looked
the
that
walk.
up.
Yes, you was.
Is that true?
No.
If you're talking about jury finds former Milwaukee election official guilty of election fraud, Zapata or whatever, is that what we're talking about?
That is not what I was talking about. Thank you. I appreciate it. That was a good dunk, though. What was her name? It was something
that
Vaughn,
was a
if
good
we recall.
misdirect.
Yeah, good misdirect. It was, here we go. Let me just pull her name back up. I had that right here. But yeah, Vogg is her name. Yeah, very much the same as the
How do you spell it? How do you spell it?
Vogg dash Vogg. Yeah, let me find the full name.
While he's looking that up, I want to give the mic to Soy Pill. Soy Pill wanted to jump on for a little bit. Did you have anything specific to say, Soy Pill, or are you just here to fuck around?
I believe I already asked the question. I mean, these people can't answer
Claire
anything.
Whittle
Instant,
Vaughn.
there's like a very
I'm
clear
sorry, I missed your
question to go
question.
in
I
and
was
say,
distracted.
Destiny
hey,
dodged every question.
why didn't Trump send in the fucking National Guard for hours? And your answer is fucking silence. Oh, actually, I'm not MAGA. I'm not MAGA.
Here, let me
like,
talk
because
about.
you guys don't have a fucking
let me talk
like,
about
answer
that.
to this. Yeah, go ahead.
This point is fucking nothing. This question does fucking nothing. And no matter when the National Guard showed up, it would have not have saved Trump from any accusation you guys are leveling today. This point is fucking.
So I'm sorry. Your answer to this question is,
hey, hold on.
you would
let me
just move
answer-
the
let me ask
goalpost,
you,
therefore I don't have
Soy
to answer the question?
No, I didn't. No, here, let me ask you, Soy Pill. Did the National
me.
Guard show up?
Yeah.
Did the National Guard show up?
Yeah.
They did. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you. So it doesn't matter when the fuck they showed up, does it?
Did they show up a week later? Did they show up a
Hold
month
on.
later?
Who
Did
gives
they
a
show
fuck?
up?
No,
Did they show up when the
Hold on,
thing
how does
got
that make
violent?
sense? It doesn't matter when they showed
What do
up.
you mean
If
it
they
doesn't
showed up
matter when
2
they
weeks
showed
Thank
up?
after
you.
everything
It doesn't
was
matter.
done,
Why doesn't it
it
matter
would
when they
absolutely
showed up?
matter. Timing's
You're the one.
important in
You're
these
the one
matters.
saying that it's in. Yeah. That it. Okay. Oh, it
Wait, hold
matters
on.
how
Does
soon
timing
they
matter?
got
Yes, I
there.
am saying that. Why would it not matter when they showed up?
What if he called them and then they lagged it and they took some time to get there? It
They
wouldn't have
didn't
fucking
do.
mattered.
Yeah, but he fucking didn't. What do you mean?
And if he did, it wouldn't have saved him from any of this criticism right now. None of it.
No,
You would have still.
absolutely no.
You no
stupid
bullshit.
fucking
You would-
moron. If he
no.
called them the instant
Dude,
the
hold
violence
on,
broke
bro.
out and they took 2 hours to get there, I'd say, wow, it seemed like he did the exact right thing he was supposed to do, but he didn't do that.
No, they would have probably said, "Oh, see, the National
Okay, here's
Guard's
what
there
we're
to
gonna
like
do. Here's what we're
solidify
gonna
the takeover."
Here's what
Also,
we're gonna do.
fact
Oh, yeah,
that
okay.
Vaughn
You can
was the
box
boss-
the shadows and fight
Vaughn
strawman
was
of
the
what
boss of the
like, I'm
person who
saying,
got
but I'm not saying
convicted.
that.
Yes, and
That
now
Vaughn
there's
was not the
there's
person
now
convicted.
now there's an open investigation into VOG, which I was went into.
No, so not the conviction.
So,
you
so the
lied.
person, hold on, no. I was once again, I said the head of the department in which there was a conviction for multiple cases of voter fraud, and then now we have emails directly tying her to the 3 a.m. voter surge in Wisconsin where he won by 0.67%. So hey, yeah, I think it was 100% accurate with everything I just said. That's
What?
cool.
No, what happened was
Post
the
emails.
Zapata person tried to prove that there was voter fraud by fraudulently requesting ballots. She got caught, and then she got convicted for it while trying to prove it was
And
happening
there's
to Democrats.
new evidence, which has already been posted in multiple places, and it's a new investigation, which talks about
Let me make a little
67,000. It's a
money
wholly
here.
different thing.
Let me make a little money here. First of all, $20 from Jay Slice. If Trump called in the National Guard the second the violence started, it would wildly change my perception of his character. The record would show it, even if they arrived late.
That chatter's lying, Wake. They couldn't possibly be like holding himself to a standard. It's not true. They would never do that.
Yeah, the funny thing is,
He
it
would
doesn't
move
matter
the
any of the
goalpost.
fucking. It doesn't matter anybody here, but like I thought that Trump was completely in the clear. It wasn't until I argued this up till 2022. I didn't think Trump did anything wrong. It wasn't until I looked at the timeline and everything else, and I saw all the people that were texting him, his own children, begging him. Sean Hannity, like so many people from Fox News, so many other lawmakers were begging him, please call these people off, and he didn't. He just sat in his fucking room watching TV while him and his crony fuck Giuliani were making phone calls to congressmen trying to encourage them to change the election outcome.
Okay,
Yeah,
$100 from Zone.
Well, I was just gonna say, wait, like the same thing was like I just thought this was a fucking protest that got out of hand until I knew that it was organized by like Roger Stone, and it was the exact same MO as what they did with the Brooks Brothers riot, and they had planned this from the start, and there were false electors. Like if you can look at all of that and say, oh, but oopsie, he didn't mean to like have them storm the Capitol and delay the certification, like you're just fucking retarded. I don't know why we waste time with these people.
And we already had like fucking Steve Bannon said this in advance in that closed room. We hear his thing on audio recording. Roger Stone said in advance, Trump is going to declare victory the night of, no matter what, and he's going to throw out bullshit about the mail-in ballots, which he tried to do. He literally tried to do that. He tried to declare victory. You heard them all call Fox News and try to bully them out of their election call because they were so ass-pained that they called Arizona correctly because they needed to throw up as much confusion as possible. Like this is all planned in advance. And unlike you retards with your conspiracies with zero proof for fucking anything, all of this is just out in the fucking open. And all of the former Trump allies, all the people that used to be his friends, isn't it crazy that all of them now testified against him? All of them fucking hate him. That Barr turned against him. That his personal attorney Cohen turned against him. That all of his former attorneys, people like Sidney Powell and Giuliani and Mike Eastman, are all fucking disbarred over and over again. That all of their testimony died in court. That these cases all died on standing, which is the easiest fucking thing in the world to pass, by the way. That every commission he put together to find voter fraud, none of it was ever fucking found. You don't know a single positive conviction related to anything that you bring up, and the only stuff you bring up is actually convictions of Republicans engaged in voter fraud, like people like Tina Peters or the Milwaukee person you just brought up. Like you have nothing. You have absolutely nothing for any of this.
$100 from Zonia to say,
fantastic spur.
Even the videos of the protesting you retards were at, you couldn't even justify it on the videos that we watched earlier. It was just the exact opposite of what you guys were claiming, and you were there.
It's just amazing.
It says time to trim the fat. Trying to get rid of people who aren't contributing. We're not doing that right now unless you pay me a little more money. But I'm going to try to get
$100.
Look.
I think they're going to get what they want anyway. Goodbye, everybody. It's been lovely.
We're gonna close up soon, but I do want to get to as many super chats as possible. There's probably too many to get to.
I like that guy. He shouldn't have left.
He said goodbye. He said he was leaving.
I know.
Fair enough. $20 from Raging Unicorn in the year 2026. Maggot scum need to buy rope and find a sturdy beam? Question mark. Thank you for $20. $5 from
Are you allowed to read that one?
They are allowed to send it.
It's about
$5 from Odashar to say, Enrique, I want people to stay inside in Capitol and chant hang Mike Pence, but not insurrect the government. Go back to prison. $5 from the Witch's Persona. Big Brain Tarrio. Can't be an insurrection when you believe you already own the place and it's rightfully only yours. $5 from Death to Billionaires. Tarrio, did you want the protesters to kill Mike Pence? Sorry, he's not here right now, but I'll ask him next time I see him. Okay.
No, he wanted them to keep going, and by keep going, he means be peaceful, stay within the lines, and not do anything illegal.
Tim and I will see if we can't get Tarrio back so him and Destiny can finish.
Oh, I did remember. I did want to ask Tim, actually.
I don't want to cheat Destiny of not finishing.
Wait, real quick. I remember what I wanted to ask Tim. So when you said that they had no other place to go because of the pepper balls, because there was a big crowd behind them, and then in the videos you saw there was a huge gap and a bunch of people walking backwards, will you admit that you were just lying and they totally could have just walked away?
No, I was talking about people who were actually inside the scaffolding. I wasn't talking about people who were in front of the West Terrace and that...
you were showing videos of people on the tip of the spear, which is the language, by the way, that the Proud Boys used, at the front of the lines, assaulting cops, getting shot in the face, and then walking away, meaning they understood the very natural reaction to getting shot in the face with a pepper ball means, hey, don't come any further. And you, at this point, said, actually, I don't know why I'm here. I'm very confused. I'm just following all the lemmings into the crowd, but you couldn't have walked away back in that giant space where there was a huge gap of people to walk back?
You're attributing a lot more motive to my
actions. No,
actions.
that's a question. I'm just asking. Why didn't you walk backwards?
I can actually play a clip from the NCIS recording where I say exactly that, as much as you might not want to admit it or agree to it. I can actually show you exactly
what I said. You say that you could have walked away and you didn't?
Well, there actually was an attempt where I did before it got too bad. There actually is video from Jaden X in the Insurgents video where I'm in the scaffold and it's not too packed, and I actually try to leave, and I do. And then there comes a point where I actually crawl under a pipe in order to avoid getting shot, and then I have to go back up. So,
wait. Again, so you left, and then you went back.
I can create it. I'm working on a book. I'm actually working on a book.
I don't care about your book. I'm asking you, did you leave and then go back?
I exited the scaffolding, yeah, because I had no intention of going to a cap. I had no intention of going to the Capitol.
Why did you go back?
So I followed a crowd so I could avoid getting shot at.
Okay, why were they shooting? Well, they were shooting people, and the people getting shot at said, "We got to push forward into the crowd." This is what I'm hearing.
I'm telling you that I followed wherever I could go in order to avoid getting sprayed or shot at.
That's the least resistance.
And the path of least resistance was into the Capitol where people were shooting at your face, to be clear.
Those who don't understand, and you can see this on video from someone named Taylor Hansen, who was interviewing people at the time, there were people who were being injured, and I jumped to help someone who was injured on the ground. As soon as that happens, I get up, Taylor Hansen puts a microphone in my face and tries to interview me.
Yeah, there were a bunch of injured people in the Capitol. You were just trying to save them. To be clear, the other video evidence that you showed was, hey, they hit this old woman, and in the video you showed, she hit them first. So you just don't have any good evidence.
I don't agree with your analysis, neither do the people who were there and watched it happen. That's why
I know that all the people there watching it were just as retarded as you were. I guess you were there too. But yeah, like I don't agree with the people that were assaulting the police officers.
I saw plenty of stuff like that.
So hold on. Just to be completely clear then, Tim, are you saying there was no way for you to just leave and go home? You were stuck there. There was nothing you could have done.
If I were to people around me and force my way, yeah, I mean, I suppose I could, sure, but that's not really like you got to put yourself in the mind of the person who's there. I walked into the area not knowing there was a restricted area. I see people getting mason sprayed. My immediate reaction is to get away from that, and that's what I do by going inside the scaffold.
At what point did you realize they were getting mason sprayed because they weren't supposed to be there?
Never, until I left. Actually,
why do you think they were being maced and sprayed then?
What did you think the mason spray was?
At the time, I didn't really think. At the time, look.
At the time, you didn't think. No, that was pretty clear, buddy. But I don't understand.
No,
if you thought you
let
were
him answer. Let him answer.
Like, why? Because you're just gonna give some fucking retard justification.
Let him answer the question. Let him answer the question. If not, like, what did you think that they were getting maced and pepper sprayed?
He thought it was Holy Festival, you know, that like Hindu thing where they like spray everyone with colors, and he thought they were all
if he's going to keep spurging, that's fine. But if I already offered to give you the NCIS recording where I say, hey, look, I just showed up for a protest, and then I got pissed off because they started shooting at us.
I want to know, why do you think they were doing that? Why do you think that they were spraying people?
At the time?
Yeah.
You can think it's retarded. At the time, I thought it was because I was a Trump supporter and these cops were attacking us because we wanted election integrity. That's what I thought. That's how it felt. I had gone days without sleep. I was a union rep. I worked overnights. I only got to the Capitol the first day.
I was tired. I hate when I don't get enough sleep and I break into the Capitol. I hate when that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Look, maybe if you didn't suck dick, that you'd have a different perspective. Like, wait, that's your case.
Oh, you got me, bro. Yeah, sorry, you're gay, so you don't know what it's like to be tired.
I worked overnights and I was exhausted. I had adrenaline pumping through me.
I mean, you
and
bring
I
up
was
like
pissed off
sucking
because
dick. It
what I
sounds
was
to me like if you wound up in a room full of dicks, you'd suck your way through every single one to get out because you don't know how else to leave. Like, I mean, that's your story,
you'd be
right?
the expert on
Like,
that.
the
Bro, you're
reality
the only one here who
the
sucks
reality
dick.
is,
What are you talking
the reality
about?
is, the reality is, you
January
have a military background. As soon as they started fucking tear gassing people, you threw your mask up. You were crawling around. You were running around. You were giving orders to people. You were barking shit to other people. That's what you were doing the whole time. You knew that people. You were helping people advance into the Capitol. Yeah, you were helping people advance into the Capitol.
And I tried to help people who were injured.
Get into the Capitol. Yes, get into the Capitol. That's what you were running
because
around
my
doing. Yeah, I know you would do it again, of course. Trump pardoned you guys. Why wouldn't you? You should do it again. Yeah, you have no reason
Well,
not
I
to.
do got to make a little more money. $50 from Robert to say $50 to the GOAT panel host. Thanks, Wick. You're welcome, and thank you for the $50. Wow,
That's
so
enough to
nice.
make him take his shirt off. I can't believe he didn't ask.
Well, he could have. $5 from Pottering Politics. Has Mr. Election Integrity ever called for it in any state ever won by Trump in 2016, 2020, or 2024?
Wait.
That's the
I
all
think
of
you're talking
you
about
now.
you, Gibbs.
What's the question? What was the question? I heard like half.
He's asking all the MAGA folks why Donald Trump won't call for any sort of investigation into any state that he won.
Well, that's interesting because there is an investigation in Texas going down, and Ken Paxton's already arrested 21 people, I believe, from Blue Lac. They were sitting there and getting illegals to vote. So, yeah, it's signing them up. So, yeah, there is an investigation in Texas. So that's at least one.
Donald Trump called for this investigation?
I think Ken Paxton did, but
yeah, okay. So that doesn't answer the question. Nice try, though.
Hold on, he's literally running for Senate. Hold on, no. He's literally running for Senate as the most MAGA guy. That's literally his slogan right now. So
gotcha. Yeah. So that wasn't an answer to the question.
I guess. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, we already hold on. Your boy Destiny already said by proxy counts. So I guess by proxy is counting here then, right? Like let's use the same standards. Stop using double standards.
That's the same. Okay.
$10 from Mecha Notvi to say Destiny. Looks like Tim Hale is on your side by how much evidence he's providing the prosecution. $10 from Dylan Burnett. Sadly, all this debate has shown is that debate is worthless. The lines have been drawn and the sides have been chosen. Everything else is post hoc rationalization. $10 from Zero.
Well, no, because we're actually correct. Like we're in line with reality here, objectively.
No, but he's right. We are wasting our time trying to talk to these retards.
Well, you know why it's interesting. You know why it's a waste of time? Because, well, my favorite part about the 2024 election was that nobody gave a fuck about January 6th. I would say you guys are the ones wasting your time here.
Wait, are you the guy who dressed up as Adolf Hitler?
Yeah.
No, nice try, buddy.
No, it is not you, Tim Hale. You're irrelevant to me. Oh, okay.
Okay. $10 from Zero to say it didn't take long for the January 6ers to break out the I don't know about that defense. Ask them if they would look into the Dominion lawsuit case and come back to discuss it.
Which one?
Anyone, I suppose.
Well, so I actually, I don't know. I mean, obviously, I understand that nobody cares about anything but the presidential race, but there was a case, I believe there was one in Atlanta or somewhere in Georgia and another one in, I believe, in Virginia.
By which case they mean the $700 million lawsuit with Fox News that Fox News settled. That's a specific case they're talking about.
Oh,
I'm almost certain.
Yeah, I don't care. I mean, I just don't care. That's been legislated. I mean, not legislated. It's been gone over 20 million times.
You just don't care when Fox takes the biggest L of all fucking time. Okay.
With collaboration.
Yeah, I don't get my news from Fox News, so why do I give a fuck?
Okay, Josiah, you have some things to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking that Tim guy. That was my super chat too. He said that the reason for being at the Capitol is like, well, just those of us who were pissed off about election integrity and demanded it. That's why the cops are shooting at us. And I'm curious, has this guy ever called for election integrity or audits in states ever won by Trump in any election? Tim, have you called for it in 2020, 2016, 2024? Or only when Trump loses do you care about election integrity?
No, I care about election integrity in general, but
when have you ever called for it? I understand, but when have you ever called for it?
I mean, never thought besides the Bush election in 2000, I don't recall an instance where there were claims of mass voter fraud. I don't I never felt the
So
need to attend.
suspiciously, you only think that voter fraud ever occurs when it disadvantages Trump.
Never said that. I went to January 6th primarily because, as a history guy, I thought it would be a historic moment.
I thought you were there because you were demanding election integrity. And now I'm confused.
Right.
What's your fucking motive, man?
Which is you can't let him say, as a history guy, and ignore the fact that he dresses up like Hitler.
Wait, why would we think a protest would be a historic?
I'm sorry you're confused. I went there because I thought it would be my last opportunity to see Trump speak in a public speech. Either it would be his last
You
speech.
said the reason you thought that you were getting shot at and hit with like pepper spray and bullets and shit was because you're MAGA and you were demanding election integrity.
Yeah. Okay. And that happened after the fact.
So if you were demanding election integrity, when did you ever demand election integrity about any state ever won by Trump in any election? He's run for president 3 times.
No. Yeah. So I went there after the fact. I didn't know there was going to be any event at the Capitol. I went there after I went to the Ellipse. I didn't intend to go to the Capitol at all. I went there in a suit and tie. I intended to hear a speech.
Yeah. So when President Trump told you to go to the Capitol, that's when you went to the Capitol.
Yeah. After I heard that we're going to peacefully march to the Capitol.
So you were there because of Trump.
No.
I was there because I wanted to. Yeah, I wanted to have the protest. But I understand.
Didn't you spend 40 fucking minutes like joining with your teammates, saying that there was like multifarious reasons why people were there and it had nothing to do with Trump?
Hold on, you're being a little disingenuous. I'm not one of those people. I named some people who went there to protest COVID or to have a sit-in or anything like that. But I went there because I wanted to have a protest, and that's what my phone video shows.
And what were you protesting?
I believe that I was protesting a stolen election.
So you were worried about election integrity. All right. So I don't think you know what you're talking about. I think you're trying to rewrite reality in real time.
I think you're imputing motives that don't exist.
So my question to you is, if you're so concerned about election integrity and you just explained that was why you were there, have you ever been concerned about election integrity in any election other than 2020, like the elections that Trump won? Or do you think voter fraud
Bush Gore
exists in elections where Trump loses?
Yeah, Bush Gore is a good example, but I was too young to vote.
Great example.
Okay, that's great. That was, 24 years ago. I'm asking about Trump. Ever since Trump has been in play, he won in 2020.
I don't have to worry about it because literally every single time Trump runs for anything, people are going to say
I'm not talking to you, asshole. I'm talking to Tim. Hey, sweetheart. I'm talking to Tim.
I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of you going circular.
No one cares about you. Hey, listen, go back to fucking your sister, okay? Listen, Tim, I'm asking you.
Listen to your cousin fucker. Why don't you go back to where the fuck
were you concerned about election integrity in any state or election won
Nobody
by
gives
Trump?
A shit, asshole.
Tim.
Again, nobody gives a shit.
Tim, do you want somebody to answer for you?
What was the question? The same question? About fucking
yes.
Trump
Have
winning?
you ever been concerned about election integrity in any state or election won by Trump? So 2016, 2024?
I mean, the one time Tim was able to vote for Trump?
What does voting have to do with being concerned about election integrity?
I can list some other examples of election integrity.
No, Gibbs, I'm not fucking with you because listen, I'm sure you're more principled than this guy.
Oh, okay,
I'm testing this guy's principles. Yeah, this guy doesn't give a fuck about election integrity. To him, election integrity means Trump lost and it must have been stolen.
Josiah, just to be clear, this guy is like actually an avowed white supremacist. They found Mein Kampf and the Turner Diaries in his house. Like, yeah, no shit. Like, this guy's like straight up.
I don't know what that means because we know he probably can't fucking read it. He can't even answer questions.
He's actually dodging the questions, to be clear. Like, he is a dumb fuck.
Oh, obviously, because he knows
he's playing very coy right now. Like, he's like, yes, I thought they were shooting us because they hated us.
It's an auto loss. That's why he's not answering. I understand.
Okay, Tim, do you have any questions?
Dishonorable discharge, Tim.
Do you have any questions for Josiah? Because he's asked some questions to you. I think it's only fair that you get to ask some questions to him. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, no, I mean, the last thing I said. Oh, you talking to me or to Grid?
Tim, you can talk to Josiah. Yeah, you can ask questions to him now if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I always care about. I always want a election that's good. I mean, what are you asking me? If I went to protest against Trump when he won and I agreed that he won?
No. I wasn't asking. No. Listen, and maybe you didn't hear me. I'll try again. I didn't ask if you protested any other elections. You said that you were concerned about election integrity. Okay. A principled person genuinely concerned about election integrity would probably have those concerns in every fucking election. But what we all know is that Trump supporters don't care about so-called election integrity as long as they get their preferred outcome. So my guess is, my presumption is, as long as Trump wins, you think, oh fuck, perfect election. We don't need to do audits or ask questions because my guy won. When your guy loses, then it's a stolen election, a rigged election, a fraudulent election, and then you're deeply concerned about election integrity. I was trying to probe the principle behind your concern, which I don't think you have. I think you are outcome oriented. Trump wins, election good. Trump loses, election bad. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's perfect.
Wait, Tim, I have a question. When you dressed up as Hitler and went to your job and said Hitler should have finished the job, was it because a crowd of people were pushing you to do it?
No, that never actually happened. The quote never happened. I did do that though. The quote didn't happen though. That was made up by.
Hold on, what did you say when you showed up at your job?
What did you say?
It was so long story short. I can get the clip, but I was doing a satirical take on an interview Tucker Carlson.
Get the clip. No, get the clip. I want to see the clip. Get the clip. Find the clip. While he finds the clip, okay. I want to see this clip.
Yeah.
Let's give
when you said Democrats might steal the presidential election through N-word rigging in reference to Kamala Harris, was this satire and was a crowd pushing you to do it because you couldn't walk backwards and not say the N-word?
Definitely.
Okay.
Okay. Let's give it to Gibbs for a moment. Gibbs, you have some questions for Destiny or Dev while he looks up the clip that we're gonna see in a second.
Did I don't even remember. I'm so dumbfounded.
I don't know. If you're done, you're done.
Well, it's not even that. It's just I don't even know. I'm just lost after what we're witnessing now.
We know.
Yeah,
that was probably the truest thing you've said in this conversation.
Well, listen, I guess. I mean, I would be. It's funny, haha, great, good stuff. But I mean, we got to be honest. This is taking a quite wild turn here with whatever this is fucking going on. Like, are we talking about Mein Kampf? Are we talking about fucking Jan 6? What are we talking about here? Like, are we trying to divert from the conversation? I mean, the whole reason why y'all are bringing up January 6th now is because of all this fraud's coming out, all this other shit's going down. Trump's just
because it's 3
win,
days out,
and y'all want to just
because
distract.
it's 3 days after January 6th.
Nah, I mean, yeah, it's 2026, and we're still talking about January 6th.
That's not why, Gibbs.
Okay, tell me why.
It's because the White House just published a completely false timeline of what happened on January 6th. That's why we're talking about it now.
Right. Okay. Maybe I'll grant that, but maybe he gave you some ammo. I don't know. However, it does seem like it's in line with his general trend that he's been saying since almost 2016 that there's a deep state group that's got like subverting the American public's will, and I feel like there's plenty of evidence to support that.
It's part of his general
especially
trend.
when we have 250 billion,
I'm just
$500
curious.
billion.
I'm just curious.
Dude, I wish there was a fucking deep state to stop this bullshit.
Yeah, wait.
And
Can I
then
ask?
the
It's been
NGOs,
10 years.
and it comes back to us.
We've been hearing about the deep state for 10 years.
Yeah,
Who is the deep state? Where are they?
I mean,
Why don't
that's
we
a good
have any of
question.
those people?
That's a good question. I don't know what the deep state exactly
Is it kind of weird that? Well, wait. But
when I say the deep state, when I say the deep state, I'm not talking like a conspiracy theory.
You said you don't know exactly. You have no idea at all, though, right? Like we haven't seen a single deep state operative.
The Illuminati, bro. Even the lizard people, they're coming, bro. And the frogs. Like that's what's happening. No, when I'm talking about the deep state, I'm saying there's a uniparty that sat here and rigged the system against the American public, and I think there's a trend that shows that this has happened to some extent. And when y'all go, nah, that's just conspiracy talk. And just dismiss people.
Was it rigged in 2016?
Wait, I'm just curious. Wait. So maybe I'll agree with that, right? Maybe there is a deep state system that's rigging it for like all these moneyed interests. Can you give me an example of moneyed interests that would have made more money under Biden than the oil companies stand to gain right now with Trump's invasion of Venezuela?
I mean, listen, that may be true. I think, hey, based. I'm glad that we're admitting that we're there for the oil.
Can you give me an example of anybody that would have stand to gain more money than Trump's World Liberty Financial?
When we have examples of like, I don't know, Ilhan Omar sitting here writing an act and then her husband directly benefiting from it, it seems pretty sus. Would you agree with that?
Which act is that? Which act is that?
Why don't you tell me? I mean, you know all her policies, don't you?
No, you were the one who brought it up. Why?
I mean, I know.
Brought up the act.
I mean, she also
didn't the whole House? Doesn't the House have to vote on this? Doesn't it have to pass?
Yeah,
the House
she
of
pushed it
Congress
out. Did they vote on it? Yeah. I mean, it's
On her
crazy.
own, and
It's crazy. It's crazy that she started benefiting from all this stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess.
Oh my God, no, come on, stop.
Gibbs, what happened to the Epstein files?
Engage with what Steven's talking about. Engage with it. Why are you so concerned about what Ilhan Omar's family is benefiting from and not Trump? you're playing a character, bro. Come on, let's be principled. Let's be consistent.
One of them,
if you're worried about Omar, are you not worried about Trump?
What are you implying Trump is doing here with his family? Like, I mean, there's a difference, I think, with what I'm saying.
Okay,
I would prefer
Gibbs. Wait, here, Gibbs. So, like, Ilhan Omar, what is the dollar amount that you think that she's grifted? All right, what's the amount?
We'll just run with it. Give me more millions than one.
Millions. Okay.
Why does that matter? I mean,
just wait.
Why does that?
Wait.
Do you think she is, or do you think she is not? Are you arguing that she is in fact not doing that? Or you? I mean, what is this dollar amount?
I believe you. Just hear me out. I believe you. Okay. Do you know how much Trump coin has fucking rug pulled from people? Gibbs, you know how much?
Tell me. Just tell me.
It's $1 billion. It's $1 billion. It's over $1 billion that Trump coin has rug pulled.
And did he do that using the government?
Just wait. Did you know
which law did he pass to do that?
Did you know that Trump directed his own DOJ to no longer investigate any sort of crypto fraud in the United States? And he rug pulls $1 billion fucking dollars. Are you guys serious sitting here talking about $1 million that who fucking cares?
Can I ask you a question?
Trump,
hold on.
Guess what?
There
is Democrat corruption.
Dev,
I think we got
so
the
much
clip.
Worse. It's not even fucking funny.
Let me ask you a question, Dev, real quick. Here's my thing. Right. So, do all those people have free will, and did they buy the coin? Yes or no? Yeah. We know they do. Right. These people have free will.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sitting here for one. If you make a bad investment, that's on you, fam. Sucks to suck, right? Like, suck.
Trump is the worst investment you've made in the past 10 years.
Sure, whatever. But when we're sitting here, that's different. That's different. Hold on, let me finish.
He wasn't president when the rug pull happened.
So whenever he goes and gives this coin, and you all buy the coin, then it rug pull, whatever, allegedly. You know, when Trump has talked about a lot of crypto stuff, there's even talk about crypto with Venezuela being a reason why we get there. But we're sitting here going, oh, that's bad. Okay, maybe they're lost some money. But that's different than using the government directly, like the Meals Act, which is the bill that Omar co-sponsored and her husband has benefited directly from, making millions. You don't see a problem with that?
I see a problem with the guy who is the chief crypto regulator, which is Trump, benefiting to the tune of billions of dollars from his own cryptocurrency.
Who was president when the Trump coin was sold? Who was
Joe Biden orchestrated the Trump coin as president. You're right.
No, I'm just look. You're trying to say that Trump did something.
This wasn't orchestrated by the federal government. It was a private citizen making a crypto scam to fucking steal money from his constituents, which thankfully Gibbs admitted is a bad investment and all his.
Literally, Gibbs is making the point that a politician used political clout to steal money from taxpayers effectively, and you're arguing that Donald Trump, while he was not in public office, somehow participated in a rug pull, and that is your argument. That's the best argument you can come up with.
It's crazy work.
Look at this game. The best you can do is say, the politician steals from us. Oh, this guy over here is private business. He fucked us too. Whatever.
Go ahead,
do you think that Donald Trump
wasn't it the fact that
wasn't it the fact baby?
Wasn't it the fact that Hunter Biden did the whole Burisma stuff when Joe Biden was out of office?
No, actually, the Burisma stuff was wild. Joe Biden was vice president of the United States of America.
When you guys were saying that he was getting all of his money, when he was earning all of his money through all of the things that the Republicans investigated, didn't that all happen after Trump won in 2016?
For the big guy, when his dad was vice president of the United States of America.
He was vice president when the big 50% of the big guy.
Look, less drugs, man. All you guys, less drugs. It's going to help you out.
Tim, I gotta go. Tim, tell me something. What is this? What are we watching?
Halfway through it, you can see.
Sorry, I put that down. There we go.
About halfway through this, you can see the clip that originated the Hitler mustache narrative about me. It was from a satirical clip, and I mean, it's kind of cringy now, but I enjoyed it.
Let's take a gander, gang. If you want to bring it up on screen, I am curious. Let's see.
Oh my god!
Now, the Bill of Rights, as you well know, protects Americans' right and enshrines their right to practice their religion as they see fit and to congregate together to assemble peacefully. By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order?
Here it is.
How do you have the power to do that?
That's above my pay grade, Tucker. So I wasn't thinking of the Bill of Rights when we did this.
It's a police state. It's a police state. It's like, it's a state of emergency, dipshit. I'm tired of seeing everybody acting like And don't get me wrong, on some level, I'm sure there's people who would love to expand the power of the state for their own nefarious goals, but a state of emergency is not unwarranted. So that's really all it's going to be for today.
I'm sorry. What was that supposed to establish, Tim?
I wanted to see the Hitler meme, and you showed me the Hitler meme. So
Well, I have one last. I have to go with, but Tim, my last question is: if the Capitol Police had used potato guns that said "white is right" on them and shot frozen corn cobs at you like you did when you were 20, would this have been an acceptable way for them to tell you to leave?
Probably. It would have been more recognizable.
It would have warmed the cockles of his heart. So he
you're a fucking retard. I hope you rot in prison. Thanks, Wick. It's been fun.
He's already got his pardon, bro.
$10, and then we're gonna wrap it up after this, right?
Are you sure?
$10 from Max Seifert. I'm sorry, €10. Ooh. Can you ask the Republicans if the shooting in Minnesota was justified, and if so, would the police at January 6th be justified in shooting all the people that tried to get into the Capitol?
Yeah, I'll do it. Yes and yes. Shoot them both. Sorry, Tim. I love you, but you should have got shot.
Wow.
Yeah, shoot them both.
You know, I'm gonna.
Wow.
So the police officers doing their job like that, and if they're shooting people with non-lethal weapons, hey, you know, that's one of those. Shit sucks to be you.
No, I think the question was like implying like could they use lethal force against the protesters, commensurate with what happened in Minneapolis? They're trying to test again.
Well, that's a dumbass question because no lethal force was used, except by Ashley.
Hold on, no,
hypothetical. By the way, Ashley Babbitt. Hold on. Ashley Babbitt was not killed by a Capitol Police officer. She was killed by private security, and that guy's bit. And they literally leave that out of most.
Would it make a difference if it was a Capitol Police officer that shot her instead?
A Capitol Police officer probably would not have shot her because he would have proper training.
Right, no, they're asking a hypothetical.
Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed by U.S. Capitol Police Lieutenant Michael Byrd on January 6, 2021. He's not going to change his opinion.
He was not acting in it. Well, that conflate. I'll have to look that back up because I'm pretty sure he was a private security guy.
He pre-watched it. I did.
You know, he was on duty Capitol Police, but the question's a hypothetical. Are you consistent in the principle? That's what they're asking. If you believe that the Minneapolis shooting was justified.
Hold on, just real quick. Do you believe that Good was a justified shooting? Whether it was a good shot?
What I've seen, it looks like it.
Sure, yeah. We don't need to hold you to like 100%. Okay, so given that you think that it was a good,
I think
shot,
Ashley Babbitt was a bad shooting from what I've seen.
Why? What's the difference between these two things?
She was literally not a threat to anyone. She was behind a door. She was unarmed.
She was breaking through it. She was breaking through the door.
She was not breaking through the door.
She was crawling through the broken door, right?
Yeah, she was crawling through a broken door. That's not a threat to any fucking body.
Especially not for lethal. Weren't there congressmen on the other side of the door?
No, there were not.
Yes,
there
were.
Really? Who
all
did you
the
see at the end
congressmen
of the
were
hall?
out at that point.
Who did you see at the end of the hall?
Sorry?
Who was at the end of the hall?
Hold on, I have a problem with the state grid. Like, I have a problem with what you're doing right here. Like, maybe I'm going to break from my other Republicans on this one. Like, listen, if this is the people's house and they're destroying property on the people's house, and like I'm a people, and say I'm an individual private citizen, someone destroys property on my house, they break in, I'm shooting them. I'm not asking questions. Why shouldn't the government hold that same standard? Like, do you know, it's got to be consistent. Like, if you're breaking in and you're tearing up stuff, it doesn't matter if there's the congressman hiding. You're destroying shit, and that's somebody else's property. Bang, bang, bitch.
Law enforcement doesn't get that. They don't get that waiver, right? We see that all the time. Cops get tried. Cops get tried for bad shoots.
Don't they have immunity for most shit? Like,
no,
well,
they don't.
Only the president of the United States now has criminal immunity.
Oh well.
They don't have prosecute. Well.
Yeah,
it's one of those.
It's really hard to convict a cop for shooting somebody. Like, let's just go with that.
It's very, very hard.
So I rest my case. Like, I feel like it's going to be consistent here. Like, I like you're going to measure it, and I feel like you're kind of being wishy-washy on that. Like, just bite the bullet.
You got to consider the mindset.
Literally,
I think typically the standards. You can typically have to consider the mindset of the officer. At least I think in terms of this one with the.
Is it not
shooting out?
Yeah. Is it not reasonable to think that the officer who shot Ashley Babbitt was in fear for either his life or the life of those he was protecting?
That's a fair question.
An unarmed
and-
woman crawling through a door who had to like
In
literally
what context?
Well, wait,
was
couldn't she theoretically have had a weapon like in her pocket or something?
I think it was a knife.
Fuck, shut up. She did have a
Sounds
knife in her
like utility
pocket.
knife.
You
It was a
ruined
utility
the
knife.
point, Josiah.
Sorry, my dog was barking at the same time. I thought he was asking a question. My bad.
He was okay. Never
Also,
mind.
what about the other people? Weren't there other people behind her? What if more people like
they
Tim
would've come
accidentally wandered through after she crawled through? Maybe, because he wasn't sure where he was.
So you can take this I would take it with a grain of salt because obviously he's not here. Christopher Grider has alleged that one of the sergeant at arms had whispered into the ear of Michael Byrd before the shooting, and that at one point Michael Byrd said, "Who's next?" after shooting her, indicating an intent. That's not my testimony. I didn't hear it. Yeah, I didn't see it directly.
That would indicate intent to you, but Donald Trump making phone calls to politicians while his whole family, cabinet, and government are begging him to call in the National Guard doesn't show you intent that Donald Trump wanted the violence to continue at the Capitol? That's not enough?
How do you know that she meant, or he meant who's next to shoot?
I can't imagine what other context it would have been. But
No, I
mean,
need
hey,
something much more
I'm just
explicit than that,
relaying-
man. We got to apply the same standards here. We need something much more explicit. Who's next could be anything. Who's next for
that's
I don't
fine.
know.
I'm
who's
relaying.
next for the next shift. Who's
relaying
next to go like grab dinner? Who's next to carpool?
Next to Tulsa. I'm just relaying what I've heard. I wasn't there, of course. I take it with a grain of salt as well. I never even met Christopher Grider. This is from just listening to what another defendant said in an interview.
Okay, so what if
it
was reported 60 to 80 House members and staffers, including Mark Wayne Mullen, Republican senator, was inside the exact area that Ashley Babbitt was trying to break into. So that's why the Capitol Police were in there. They were protecting dozens of House members.
So what if instead of Ashley Babbitt, it was like a dude with a skateboard? And what if instead of the security guy, it was Kyle Rittenhouse?
I mean, is that like a real? Are you serious?
Yes.
So
trying to test
a guy that has
defense
literally
is fuck.
chased you down the block, and it has pulled a weapon, an actual gun. Seriously?
Yeah.
Listen,
Listen,
this
I'm
is not
some
even
terrible
close.
comparisons, I
I'm
gotta
pro
say.
Kyle
Rittenhouse,
hypothetical.
buddy.
I mean,
Absolutely.
Jesus, you're like,
I am
I've
pro
met some
Kyle
bad
Rittenhouse.
faith people in my time, but
I'm
you're
pro
up there,
Bird.
pal.
I'm pro all these guys. Yes.
You're up there,
listen,
Mr.
if
Dev.
you have a gun and someone charges at you, you fucking shoot them. Yes.
Yeah, did Ashley Babbitt have a gun?
No, if you
No, the
have
guy
a
she was
gun
charging to-
and so if you have a gun and someone charges you, you shoot them. Because if you don't, they're going to take your gun and shoot you with it. So you shoot them.
If someone charges me?
Yes, you're
If you
in a
have a
parking
gun
lot at
and-
night. There's a crazy hobo wick that comes
Oh my God.
flying at you. You have seconds to react. You have a gun in your hand. Do you fire?
Me, yeah, I would. 100%.
Yes, of course you do. Okay, so if you have some crazy chick crawling on the floor on glass, right? Like when this huge crowd's behind her, you're hearing on the radio that your brothers and sisters are getting the shit beat out of them. Do you shoot?
After
Cops
warning her
can't- Cops
repeatedly?
don't get that luxury.
What? Wait, what? What do you
Do
mean
you
they
not
don't get that
understand?
luxury?
Law enforcement don't get the luxury that I do.
Yeah, they fucking do. They get
No,
more
they don't.
luxury
They
than people. They got qualified.
They have rules of engagement that I don't have. If I am simply in fear of my life, I don't have to see a weapon. I don't even have to. I could just think you have a weapon and I can shoot you. But a cop has to see. a
No,
weapon.
they just have to have a reasonable
or
fear for
believe
their
that a
life.
weapon could be present and you are reaching for it. You are
Hold on,
actively
if an
reaching
unarmed
for it.
person
Otherwise,
comes to
then
try
you
to
have
disarm
to
a
say
cop, they
good
can
is an excellent
fuck out
shoot.
of them.
Because that car's a
There's
weapon.
an unarmed man who rushes at a cop trying to grab his gun. That cop can shoot that man. That is legal. That is illegal.
It depends on the level of force that he's required to defend himself. There's a scale. They teach this. You know that. Come on.
Okay. All I'm saying, right, is if you believe that it was a good shoot for that ICE officer to
Wait,
gun
did we
down
ask this?
good-
Wait, do you think it was a good
Get a
shoot
car
for the
revved at you.
Wait, yeah. Do you think it was a good shoot for the woman in the car that the officer decided to stand in front of in
He said
Minnesota?
yes
I
earlier.
did just stand.
Yeah, he said
I mean,
yes earlier.
well,
And
I
then I'm
don't
saying
know.
that
It
he's not having
looks
all these
so
things. Anyway,
far.
whatever. We're gonna wrap this up. Okay, thank you all for coming. This has been.
Wait, what kind of a defensive shot is it? Do we say that's a self-defense shot, or why? What was the justification there? Can you defend yourself against an incoming car by shooting at the driver? Is that how that works?
That's weaponizing a car. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, that's
you can-
codified
you
in
will
statute
defend
in
yourself.
Tennessee.
That's like
Look, I can't speak about any other state, but in the great state of Tennessee, a car becomes a weapon when you aim it at somebody, and you can shoot somebody.
So just to be clear, that's not fucking true. If somebody was standing in front of me in a parking
Okay, I'm
lot,
gonna give you the code.
that's great. Go find the code and read it from start to finish. And if you're goofing off with a friend in a parking lot, and he's in front of your car, and you drive a little bit, and he pulls out a gun and starts killing you, he would not clear that. You're absolutely fucked at that point. And forget the Minnesota law. We can look at the DHS guidebook. We can look at the federal government guidebook. You're not supposed to put yourself in front of a car, which is obvious because 1, a person can't stop a car with their body, and 2, you shooting a person driving a car is not self-defense. You're not defending yourself. You'll just get ran over.
What was that last bit?
That makes sense.
Not defending yourself.
Just
What?
Shooting a driver of a car that's driving at you is not defending yourself. You're not defending yourself. You're just going to die.
Oh, hold on. What
Did
did
he
you
die?
shoot? Hold on. You can shoot at the engine.
No,
block.
he didn't
You can
die
shoot
because
the
she
person.
wasn't aiming the
Yeah,
car
right.
at him.
Like,
No, she was initially.
If you get shot, you veer.
Okay, this
usually.
is a whole ass other debate, and
Wait,
we can
and
have it. I'd be
Wick,
happy
before-
to set it up.
Before we
Go ahead.
close, I sent one of my 10,000 super chats earlier today, and I didn't get an answer from anybody, ironically, other than Enrique Tarrio. So kudos to him for having the balls to answer. My question is for the Trumpers here, since you all seemingly were okay with Pence just certifying Trump as the winner unilaterally, would you have been okay? I'd like an answer. If Democratic vice presidents had done that in 2000 or 2016 or 2024, or is this only like a Republican rule?
Wait, done what? Exactly.
Rejected the lawful winner of the election. So in case, like 2016, I think was the example. So Biden was vice president at the time, presiding over Donald Trump's victory in 2016.
I did answer
Would you
that
have been-
earlier.
No, I don't. You did?
Yeah, I did.
What'd you say?
I said it's good to question the results. If they move to what I don't remember my exact words. Questioning results is fine. We do it all the
results
time.
is fine?
We do recounts all the time. I mean, literally, we do recount. Like you guys act like we never recount. You act like we never question results of.
No. It wasn't questioning the results and
that.
it wasn't recounts. My question is, like, because Devin and Destiny made the point that what Trump tried to do initially was just brute force, have Mike Pence just toss out the valid electoral votes and just declare Trump the winner. That was like the kind of crude initial approach. My question is, would you have supported Joe Biden in 2016 or January 6, 2017, doing that with Hillary Clinton, saying, fuck Trump, we're rejecting the electoral votes for him and we're declaring Hillary Clinton the winner? Would you have been okay with that? This is what I remember.
No, I wasn't particularly okay with the way Trump conducted himself. I wanted recounts. I wanted all of the stuff to be above board.
So
You made a bunch of dumbass. You continuously make a bunch of dumbass comments about we're all MAGA. Gibbs is certainly not fucking MAGA. I don't know about Kung Fu
But
Joe.
I don't care how you identify yourself.
MAGA.
As far as I'm concerned, you're MAGA. So what about the other two?
Yeah, okay. So fuck off then.
I'll say maybe. I would be okay with it. I like, if you believe in the Electoral College, then at some point you have to believe that they're gonna do something, or they're like a check that's there to be needed to stop a dictator or something, or like say a certified false election or something. So maybe if they present enough evidence that they didn't certify it, I might be okay with it. For both sides, I would okay. I don't know. I can't say definitively yes
Gibbs,
or no.
again, I've got
There was
a
no
soft
evidence,
spot
though,
for you because I
Gibbs.
think you're relatively principled of the four people here. We can talk about that later, but I am interested in the two that I don't know, Tim and the other guy. What about you guys?
I kind of agree. I don't think it would be nefarious for Democrats to try to do whatever they could to pull a rabbit out of their hat. I think that's the nature of politics, and it reminds me of like the election between Jackson and on Quincy Adams. People make maneuvers behind the scenes. You could call it dirty, but if Democrats did that, I wouldn't expect them not to try to win.
Tracksuit guy, what about you?
Excuse me?
Tracksuit. You're in the tracksuit. What about you?
Yeah. It's the Kung Fu Joe, that is. Anyway, yeah, if you want to try novel legal theories to challenge the system and challenge election results, go right ahead.
Okay, and then my last question is for Dev and Destiny. Do you believe them when they say this?
No, they would fight. What they would do is
Because nobody ever violates their principles. What they would do is they would fight tooth and nail, but then they would say, well, it's okay for you guys to do it, but it's also okay for us to fight against it because we understand the political realities, or say it would be some real bullshit or whatever as they would say.
Dev, what about you? Do you believe them?
Mind reader.
Not really. No.
Okay.
No, I've seen too much right-wing hypocrisy over the years now at this point.
$10
standards.
Sure, $10 from multi
What's the point of asking that question then?
Sure.
Retarded.
Hold on. The point of asking that question was to see if you were, for one, able to even engage with the question at all. Will you admit to a principle? And then what is that principle? And then is your answer believable? And what's the second part of the question? That was
I mean to be clear, because I really don't want to pick a fight over it, but like you guys hesitate, like you were so hesitant. Even my boy Gibbs, like you hedged because you know you would be very upset.
I can think of scenarios on the right. I can think of scenarios like on the right. Like I've said this several times. You know, it's sometimes better the devil you know, right? Who you're voting with and what all these kind of things. And like, say the wrong contingent of righties took power. There's a immediate like reaction that I would have and be like, no, I'm out. Like I would want this investigated. I want these people to stop.
Who's the wrong contingent of righties?
There's several groups. We don't need to go down the list, but like there's a lot of them. And so like
name one.
Okay, I don't know. They may be the fucking like Ku Klux Klan or some shit. Like they fucking snuck people in, or like you got like some like crazy fucking
supremacist.
Yeah, maybe a white supremacist. Yeah, that's a bad one. Government? Yeah, maybe or like some religious fanatic group, like somehow gain enough power to get in. I'm not exactly the most
Christian
religious
nationalist.
Okay, it would have to be a pretty fringe Christian nationalist. But I mean, yeah, but sure. I know you're trying to pigeonhole me here. There are like definitely fringe groups that.
Wait, you understand that half the conservatives on this panel right now are basically white nationalists, right? You do know that, right? I don't even know if they would deny it.
Thank God I'm not one. Nationalist. I'm not a white nationalist. I'm fucking Mexican. So, like, listen, I'm just saying, when we're sitting here saying these things, yeah, there are scenarios on the right where I would be like, oh, God, yeah, I fucking want this stopped. Like, so, yeah, I think that's fair. And on the left, I think they would be the ones to do it. You know?
Okay, this is to Multi-Rommel, or from Multi-Rommel for $10. Can you ask the Trump supporters, let's say hypothetically Trump was charged with insurrection and he was 100% proven guilty. Should he have been able to run for his president in 2024?
It's
like begging the question.
That's literally stupid.
That's question begging, because if you're convicted of like insurrection, doesn't that automatically like bar you from any future elections?
Hey, but would you?
Well, the language in the 14th Amendment doesn't require it, so I don't know. The Supreme Court might say it's not clear enough.
Wouldn't that be obvious? Wouldn't that be crazy if that was how the Constitution had been written?
Okay,
$10. No, I mean just to pointedly, I would.
Why you guys lost, but
if there was enough proof that Trump committed an insurrection, which obviously there isn't, but if there was, then no, I wouldn't vote for him. Why would you vote?
No,
for
we're not asking if you'd vote for him. So say there's a video comes out and it's entirely legit, and Trump is sitting there and says, "Ha ha ha! I actually did an insurrection, and I was my intent to overthrow the 2020 election. Ha ha ha!" And then the courts, right? Should they have barred him from even being able to run?
Should the courts have barred him?
Yes.
I don't know that there's a legal grounds for that.
Okay. So even if he had tried to steal the election and you knew 100% sure that he had committed insurrection, you don't think he should have been prevented from running for the 2024 election?
That's two totally different questions. So if he says I did this, but I got away with it, and that's all you've got is him just a casual admission, which is not an admission of guilt. If you believe it, and if there's corroborating evidence, then there's got to be then take him to court. If you can name the law that he's violated, obviously insurrection. Okay. But if you're just saying, well, nobody's taken him to court, nobody's done anything about it, and he's just said this in passing, they have a video of him saying like a joke or something.
The hypothetical is there's
I'm trying to engage with your hypothetical. Your hypothetical sucks.
Okay. You know what? We're going to ignore that. My hypothetical.
It does.
Spot on. I asked you if there was indisputable evidence, and I gave you an example of what I would consider indisputable evidence that he did it. Mainly an admission that, yes, I did it. So are you telling me that would not be indisputable to you as evidence if Trump came out and said, yes, I did this. I did it on purpose. I meant to do it. This is how I did it. and that would not be enough evidence to convince you that he had actually done it?
Wait, hold
Again,
on. That's just
again.
Am I
It would
crazy
convince
pills?
me enough to
Am
not
I
vote
doing
for
this
him.
wrong? I don't know.
But
Maybe I'm
hold on. It would convince me to not vote for him. However, you asked if it would go to court. I don't know what the legal precedence is on that.
Okay. $10 from Fun George to say, Wick, can you ask Tim how he feels about his dishonorable discharge? You're muted, buddy.
You're muted, buddy.
You're muted.
My bad. I didn't get a dishonorable discharge. I got an other than honorable. I'm working on getting that restored, but it sucks. I actually never even had a hearing for it. Never got to see a JAG officer. I was held in solitary, so yeah, I had to face a civil and military case at the same time. But I mean, it sucks. But it is what it is. I'm alive and I'm free, so that's better than nothing.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you were alive at least. And then finally, $50 from Audacity to say, here's your 50. Josiah is extra sassy tonight. With that said,
I was hyped up. That's for sure.
let's get some closing thoughts, closing statements, and let you guys all flee and disperse into the ether. We're going to start with, we'll let Josiah, and then we'll just go around, and then we'll let Dev have the last word. Go ahead. Well, we'll start with Grid, and then we'll go around and have Dev have the last word. So Grid, close us out.
All right. Yeah, I'm. I don't know. We covered a lot of ground. I don't even know where to close on this one. Everybody's going to have their beliefs and opinions on this. I don't think we're going to change any hearts and minds here. I enjoyed the conversation. I had not really. I mean, I haven't seen Enrique in this specific type of venue, so that was awesome. That was really cool to see. Always a pleasure to engage with you guys. Don't take anything I say personally during the course of the show. You can find me at Anunreasableman and Grid. I'm Grid One Motorsports, and also I have a new channel called Gun Prattle. So if you want to talk about guns and competition shooting and things like that, come check it out.
Check them out, gang. I have links to everyone here except for Josiah. Sorry, you jumped on and I didn't know you were going to. I have them in my bio. Tim, I don't have yours either, so if you can send me your stuff, I can add that to the YouTube description. I'd be happy to do so. Josiah, close us out.
I think the January 6th website was atrocious, incredibly dishonest, but totally in character with Trump. I think that the MAGA arguments here were predictably terrible. It was really painful watching you guys struggle with the Nancy Pelosi National Guard thing. That it was gut-wrenching to see you struggle with that. But I'm glad we all agree that the Speaker of the House is not in the chain of command with the National Guard. And whether you like it or not, yes, it would have been incredibly redeeming, if not, totally redeeming, if we had evidence that he ordered the National Guard to be deployed when he watched the riot unfold or made any actual attempt as commander-in-chief to suppress the insurrection, but he didn't because he wanted it to happen. And that's nobody's fault but his. So he bears the primary moral and executive responsibility. And yeah, it's a real shame that justice was not really served in January 6th. I think it's a big stain on this country. But yeah, good listening to you guys. And Wick, you made a shit ton of money today, I'm sure.
I
and
did.
50% of it came from me. So
and I appreciate
and my
your
rage
donation.
spending. So
I do appreciate the donations. It's nice to see you again. I miss you on the panels and stuff, man. So it's nice to have you jump in every once in a while. So thank you for being here.
You should come back.
Yeah, but just real quick before I let the rest go, if you enjoy this content, like, subscribe. On Monday, we're having Loner Box, we're having Jebtan, we're having Non-Smoker, and we're having Counterpoints on to debate the shooting of the ICE agent's shooting of the woman. So check that out. It's going to be 6 p.m. Tim, please give us what you got. Close us out.
Well, thank you. I don't do this very often. I really appreciate you having me on, Wick. I appreciate the invitation, Grid. I prepared for a different kind of debate with different bullet points and stuff, so I'm not going to burn through all that. But I think that January 6th has another side to it that most people are not familiar with. I'd like to see more debates like this, and there's a lot more video, obviously, that we're not going to diarrhea out onto the audience. But yeah, I'm always happy to share that kind of video. And yeah, check me out on X, Lewis of Monmouth. Yeah, thank you for having me on. I appreciate the debate, and keep in touch with yourselves.
Okay. Well, thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. And I'll add your stuff to the YouTube description when I get a chance. Next up, it's Kung Fu Joe, the tracksuit guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks, Wick, for hosting this. Want to thank Dev and Destiny for giving their time to the panel today, as well as my fellow conservatives here. I may have had a bit of a different position than some of you guys, but I think one thing we could all take from this and maybe agree on is I'm kind of glad that people like Dev and Destiny have decided to become completely politically ineffective by whinging on years later about January 6th. 2024 came and went. That election came and went, and nobody gave a single fuck about January 6th. So I just hope that they keep on crying about January 6th, and I hope they keep on picking women to run as their candidates for president. And with that, you guys have a good night.
Thank you for being here. Check him out, gang. I have links to his stuff in my YouTube description. Gibbs.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's been fun. Enjoyed it as always. Love debates. Yeah, I think that it's pretty clear that the Dems want to play ticky-tack word games, and they don't really care how they win. They just want to win, and I feel like these double standards really reiterate that fact and drive it home. In other words, yeah. Also pondering. We'll have to talk some Star Wars soon. And one last note: did anybody else think that Enrique might be John Zerga's lost twin? Like, because they look identical. I think it's crazy. I couldn't get past it. But yeah, thanks for having me. Fun as always.
Always a pleasure. And check him out, gang. Links to his stuff in my description. Destiny, please.
Yeah, I think there's two different realities. One is supported by hundreds of pages of deposition, thousands of hours of video footage, tens of thousands of eyewitness testimonies, and everything else. And I mean, countless court documents, filings, cases lost, cases that went nowhere. And I mean, the other side literally just has a ton of conspiratorial nonsense behind it. And then this desperate attempt to weave narratives out of 7-second video clips that everybody knows is bullshit. Yeah, it's pretty sad and depressing. Hopefully the next president, when he comes up, can find a way to reconvict and rejail everybody that was involved in this shit, or exile them out of the fucking country, send them to El Salvador or whatever.
Okay, well, thank you for being here. And links to his stuff, if you need it, in the description. Dev, final word, please.
Anybody who wants to know more about this topic, as always, go to my channel, watch my 4-hour video on January 6th, where I go over autistically.
Hey, wait, someone made a video on January 6th? That's crazy.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yes. I wish more people would do so, but go ahead, finish.
What you guys here, this is a message to the right-wingers on the panel, okay? What you guys need to realize is that Biden was the compromise candidate, okay? He was the one that Democrats went with when they wanted to reconcile with you. And that era of the Democratic Party is now over. At this point, when the Democrats win next, and they will win next, the only way for justice to be served now is for Trump and every single collaborator in his regime to be locked up. And then we need government programs to breed your women with illegals and then trans all your kids.
Jesus Christ. Okay, gang, wave bye-bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. I love you all. I'll see you guys Monday. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye.
All right, guys, it's been fun.